not difficult. Meng Xiang watched the two armies locked in battle ahead, unable to think of a solution, and could only continue to observe. Hee, it's my turn again. Jun Yixian excitedly took the storybook and began designing a new story instance for Yi Fan. This time, Yi Fan's storyline is set in a matriarchal world. Yi Fan is the son of the Prime Minister. Because her appearance is not feminine enough and she is different from others, Yi Fan is summoned to the palace by the Emperor and given the title of Consort Yi. This time the plot is slow, and Yi Fan successfully experiences harem life, but Yi Fan is a member of someone else's harem. In the daily grind of palace intrigue, Yi Fan managed to imprison himself in the cold palace. A few days later, the court Yi Fan served was conquered by a neighboring country, and Yi Fan, as a spoil of war, was used to reward the army. Day after day, Yi Fan finally died in a daze. The script once again fell into He Chunkyu's hands. Inspired by Jun Yixian's script, He Chunkyu designed another explosive plot for Yi Fan. This time, Yi Fan's identity is that of a maggot, swimming in a black septic tank, fighting wits and courage with his kind for food, and finally dying numbly. Having gone through countless world storylines, Yi Fan gradually became numb, his eyes dimmed, and he drifted aimlessly. After a violent death, Yi Fan's body appeared in a temple. Immortal Emperor, is your dungeon that difficult? Why are you only coming out now? Player Universe Dominator asked familiarly. Yi Fan stood there dumbfounded, not answering, as if he had been completely ruined. Seeing that the Immortal Emperor ignored him, the Player Dominator of the universe left feeling foolish. The last person cleared the level, and the main hall door in front of the player opened, revealing two kind-looking old men. Amitabh Buddha, congratulations to all chosen ones on passing the world in the palm of your hand. This is the opportunity you deserve. The guide, Jun Yixian in disguise, waved his sleeve, and various rewards appeared before the players. Thank you, Senior, the players exclaimed in unison. Amitabh Buddha, our meeting is a matter of fate. Since we have known each other, I would like to offer you some gifts. With a wave of his sleeve, the Taoist Junti, He Chunkyu in disguise, said. Several more bottles and jars appeared in front of the players, their surfaces shimmering with celestial light, clearly not ordinary items. Thank you, Senior. The players bowed in gratitude once more. Only Yi Fan stood there, stunned, with a complicated expression, as if he had encountered some injustice. Amitabha Benefactor, appearances reflect the heart. This world in the palm of your hand varies from person to person, so there's no need to worry. The guiding Taoist, Jun Yixian in disguise, explained to the crowd with a kind and benevolent expression. I see that you have a connection with the West, so I will give you this bottle of nectar. The guide, Jun Yixian in disguise, smiled and took out a delicate little bottle. Amidst the envy of the other players, the guide, in disguise as Jun Yixian, gave Yi Fan a bottle containing the water of the mother and child lake. Looking at the exquisite bottle with its shimmering light, Yi Ziu, who had been numb, felt much better. This junior thanks you, Senior, Yi Fan said with neither humility nor arrogance. Yi Fan felt incredibly bitter. His appearance reflected his inner state, and there was nothing he could do about it. Perhaps the trial he had just undergone was due to his previous experiences. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 240, won the conflict between immortals and demons, an unexpected calamity. In the center of the primordial continent, the battle between the ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, and the first Qilin has entered a fierce stage. The first Qilin was covered in wounds. Its breathing was disordered, and its condition was extremely bad. Yuan Feng was also in bad shape. He was attacked by the Qilin with all his might. A large patch of feathers on Yuan Feng's chest was blasted into dust, and the feathers on his wings and tail were also jagged. The ancestral dragon Ao Yuan suffered the least injuries, but he was still covered in wounds, with many of his dragon scales broken, revealing his raw dragon flesh. Of course, Ao Yuan was just pretending. Although the world of Primordial Era Infinite Myths is incredibly realistic, it is ultimately a virtual game world. As one of the players with the highest privileges, Ao Yuan could easily lock his health. Xiaolong Yuanfeng, if you continue to be so aggressive, I will self-destruct and take you down with me, Shikolin warned solemnly. After being besieged for so long, the first Qilin was already at its limit. The Qilin clan was also wiped out by the combined forces of the Dragon and Phoenix clans, losing its ability to compete for supremacy in the prehistoric world. Upon hearing the first Qilin's ultimatum, Yuan Feng already harbored thoughts of retreat. Even with the power of Nirvana, Yuan Feng wouldn't dare to be arrogant in the face of a self-destruction by a powerhouse of the same level, especially with the ancestral dragon standing nearby. If the first Qilin is seriously injured, the ancestral dragon will definitely take action against her. Very well, now that the Qilin clan has been almost completely wiped out, the first Qilin has no chance to dominate anymore. Keeping him alive might bring unexpected benefits in the future, Yuan Feng thought to herself. Just as Yuan Feng was about to retreat, suddenly, a bloodthirsty aura shot into the sky, and an incomparably terrifying killing formation instantly enveloped the three supreme experts. "Who?" Yuan Feng shouted solemnly. "I intended for you all to fight to the death, but an unexpected turn of events occurred. However, it's all right. It will only take a little more effort." The figure of demon ancestor Rahu slowly appeared before Yuan Feng, ancestral dragon, and the first Qilin. The demon ancestor, Rahu, originally intended to take advantage of the chaos among the three races' ancestors to secretly plot against the dragon and phoenix races on the battlefield, thereby causing the ancestral dragon and the primordial phoenix to fight each other. Unfortunately, demon ancestor Rahu failed to find the 9 sons of the ancestral dragon. It was clear that the ancestral dragon was on guard, and the plan to kill the 9 sons of the ancestral dragon and frame the Phoenix clan was unlikely to succeed. Having no other choice, demon ancestor Rahu took matters into his own hands, using the immortal slaughtering formation and the immortal slaughtering sword to forcibly annihilate the 3 spirits and end this turmoil. "Oh, Rahu brat, you think you have the strength?" Xiaolong deliberately adopted a disdainful attitude. "Luo Hu, with your demon race's meager fortune, aren't you afraid of a backlash?" Yuan Feng looked at the demon ancestor Luo Hu with considerable curiosity. The first Qilin glanced at Luo Hu, who had come out to cause trouble, but said nothing. He secretly focused on healing his injuries and waited for an opportunity. In this battle for the destiny of the races of heaven and earth, the Qilin clan is no longer a contender, and the first Qilin no longer cares who wins or loses. The sudden appearance of Rahu, the demon ancestor of the western regions, was indeed somewhat unexpected for the first Qilin, but it was only an unexpected surprise. The first Qilin did not take Rahu seriously. The 3 spirits, ancestral dragon, primordial phoenix, and primordial Qilin, are the closest beings to saints in the current prehistoric continent. Their purpose in vying for the destiny of heaven and earth is to become saints. In this era, only the ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, and the first Qilin have the qualifications. Other beings, lacking sufficient racial foundation, are unable to contend with these 3 races. Although demon ancestor Rahu established the demon realm in the western region and created the demon race, it was still a small race and could not participate in the struggle between heaven and earth. Luo Hu did not answer the 3 spirits' pointless question. He reached forward with his right hand, and a terrifying killing weapon full of murderous aura appeared in front of the 3 spirits. The god-slaying spear. A supreme innate killing treasure, its aura faintly surpasses that of any innate treasure. As soon as the god-slaying spear was unleashed, the primordial continent was instantly covered by endless killing power, drawing out the deepest killing desires from the souls of countless living beings. Chaos reigns. "Luo Hu, Yuan Feng roared in fury. From the god-slaying spear, Yuan Feng saw the killing power left behind by the Phoenix clan in their battles. "Luo Hu, how dare you scheme against my clan?" A terrifying killing intent instantly erupted from the first Qilin. Ao Yuan glanced at their reactions and murmured to himself. Were they influenced without even realizing it? Ancestral Dragon, Primordial Phoenix, and Primordial Qilin, this formation is called Godslayer, the number 1 innate killing formation. "Please, the 3 of you assess it," Demon Ancestor Rahu said softly, his spear flashing like a dragon. "Demonic power, slaughter, death, conquest. Countless top-level Dao laws are integrated into it. One shot and the world changes." Xiaolong, Yuanfeng, and Shikolin also unleashed their unique skills and supernatural powers. In an instant, space shattered and time sank. "Holy crap, what's going on? Did the sun turn off?" Player, I'm just abstract, shouted obliviously. "Are you stupid? This is a game, how could it be destroyed during the day?" Player, Malman 9527, immediately retorted. My response was abstract. "Bro, don't take it seriously, I'm just trying to lighten the mood." Yifan, standing in the crowd, looked puzzled, completely unable to understand why the demon ancestor had made his move ahead of schedule. According to the course of the previous life, the Dragon Han Great Tribulation is divided into 2 parts. The first part is the Dragon Han Initial Tribulation, and the second part is the struggle between immortals and demons. The initial calamity of the Dragon Han era was a struggle for supremacy among the three races of Dragon, Phoenix, and Killin. In the end, the ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, and the first Killin almost perished together, and the three races were wiped out. To eliminate karma, the first dragon chose to suppress the North Sea ruins, and the descendants of the dragon clan hid in the four seas, never to be born again. Yuan Feng volunteered to permanently suppress the southern undying volcano to protect the Phoenix clan, and the Phoenix clan no longer participated in the struggle for supremacy in the primordial world. The first Killin eventually died, and its body transformed into Killin Cliff, and the Killin clan hid in the world, becoming auspicious beasts. Throughout the initial calamity of the Dragon Han era, demon ancestor Rahu only acted secretly and did not actively participate in the war between the three races. In this lifetime, the demon ancestor Rahu was born ahead of schedule, and he fought against three opponents, attempting to kill the ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, and the first Killin. This is completely unpredictable. No, something must have gone wrong, causing the Dragon Han calamity and the immortal demon conflict to merge. Yi Fan quickly guessed the truth. Unfortunately, Yi Fan is only at the 4th level and hasn't even become an immortal yet, so he can't participate in the top-level battles at all. Hopefully these changes won't affect the players. Yi Fan sighed helplessly. Looking at the resources given by the two Western Saints in his personal backpack, Yi Fan readjusted his mindset. Amitabha Buddha, now that this matter is settled, dear benefactors, we will meet again someday. As the Buddhist chanting ended, the world spun around and the players found themselves bewildered in Shanxi. The ancient temple on the mountain has also disappeared. The next second, a destructive energy struck, instantly turning the Tianfu camp's resurrection point into ashes and killing all players. Ding, you have been hit by a shockwave from a battle between two super-powerful beings. You are dead. Your level has decreased by 1. Your item Bodhi transformation saliva is lost. You have lost 250 gold coins. Your magical artifact, Heavenly Poison Needle, is lost. Ding, your resurrection point Tianfu has been struck by a shockwave from a battle between powerful beings. Your entire party has been wiped out. Your level has decreased by 2, your gold has decreased by 10%, and your item, Xuan Tian Shen Yi, is missing. With a flash of golden light, all the players' bodies reformed, and most of them dropped to level 0, with only 2 high-level players standing out from the crowd. One of them is the war correspondent, Ghost Fairy Sister. The other is Yi Fan, the strongest warrior in Tianfu, known as the King of Fighters and the Immortal Emperor. Yi Fan stared blankly at his attribute panel. Nickname, Immortal Emperor. Gender, male. Age, 26. Level 144-100. Realm, early stage of body refinement. Career path, not available for selection at this time. Spiritual root, innate chaotic spiritual root. Special talent, Eye of the Gods. Chi and blood, 100-100. Cultivation level, 14. Combat strength, 444. Main cultivation technique. Supreme Dragon Transformation True Technique, high-grade Heaven rank. Auxiliary cultivation technique. Earth Circle mid-grade Earth rank. Spells and supernatural abilities. Blazing Fire high-grade Yellow rank, sealed, cannot be used. Inch of Light low-grade Profound rank, sealed, cannot be used. Ninefold Wave Sword middle-grade Profound rank, sealed, invincible to use. Secret techniques. Spirit Transformation Secret Technique. High-grade Profound rank, sealed, cannot be used. Turtle Breathing Technique low-grade Profound rank, sealed, cannot be used. Faction None. Special title, King of Fighters. Magical Artifacts. Ancient Wooden Sword mid-grade Magical Artifact. Ancient Wooden Staff mid-grade Magical Artifact. Flowing Cloud Robe low-grade Spiritual Artifact. Armor Ancient Wood Helmet, superior magical item. Blood Wolf Leather mid-grade magical item. Needle Light Inner Armor, superior magical item. Weapons, Standard Spear, Standard Attack, Standard Stone Knife, Standard Bone, Standard Bow and Arrow. Looking at his appalling personal panel, Yi Fan laughed speechlessly. Chapter 242. Zhang Hongjun leads his men to take action. Ding, you have been killed by player brother, come and chop me. Your level has decreased by 1, and your green wood armor has been lost. Yi Fan returned to the respawn point once again, his face ashen. 19 times, a full 19 times. In the past half-month in game time, he was killed 19 times by brothers come and kill me. Yi Fan's face turned green with anger. After being wiped out by the aftermath of the battle with the super-powerful being, The Tianfu resurrection point was refreshed to the opposite side of a newbie village, giving the Tianfu camp players a chance to catch their breath. After more than 10 days of resource baptism, the players' levels rose rapidly. Player Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter successfully advanced to the late stage of Golden Core. Player Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter successfully advanced to the peak of Golden Core. Player Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter successfully advanced to the early stage of Golden Core. Player Chinese letter 9527 successfully advanced to the mid-stage of Golden Core, and player Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter directly soared to the great perfection of nascent soul. Relying on the super resources obtained from the Taoist Junti and the Taoist Jiyin, the players of Tianfu camp transformed into dragons overnight, and their levels caught up with those lucky world-level players. However, player Immortal Emperor was an exception. For some unknown reason, player Immortal Emperor was chased and ambushed at the fountain by player Brother, Come and Chop Me. Player Brother, Come and Chop Me is a world-class player with incredible luck. He is in the mid-stage of the nascent soul realm and kills any undying immortal emperor he encounters, causing the undying immortal emperor to flee in terror, while his level fluctuates. Yifan was furious, but he couldn't do anything about the player Brothers, Come and Chop Me. Each time he could only sneak out, and then, with a flash of golden light, he would resurrect and reappear. Yifan had no choice. The resurrection point could only be used for pre-battle preparations, not for cultivation or advancement. Yifan tried to communicate with the other party, but the other party attacked without saying a word, not giving Yifan a chance to speak at all. This made Yifan feel like a thief, only able to sneak out and develop his skills in secret. As a result, Yifan was always found and killed by the player Brother, Come and Chop Me, after only a short time of training. Yifan was driven to despair after being killed. What Yifan didn't know was that the player Brothers, Come and Chop Me was bound to a system called Destiny/System. He only needed to chop the system's designated targets and complete the number of slashes to receive rewards. Thus, the player Brothers, Come and Chop Me embarked on a path of no return, going on a killing spree with the goal of killing the players designated by the system. Normally, players can kill a target 1 to 3 times, and very few players can reach 10 times. But this immortal emperor was killed 99 times, and a mysterious grand prize was announced. Brothers, Come and Chop Me Up was incredibly excited upon seeing the mysterious grand prize. In fact, to ambush Yifan, Brothers, Come and Chop Me Up spent all his time in the primordial era Infinite Myths world, except for eating, drinking, and relieving himself. Of course, this was also one of Chen Zhou's schemes. On the other side, in the central region of the primordial continent, the great battle between Zhulong, Yuanfeng, Shikolin, and Liu Hu has entered a fierce stage. The first Qilin was seriously injured, and the Yuanfeng was also badly injured. Ao Yuan was only half-hearted in his efforts, and the 3 spirits gradually fell into a disadvantageous position, being suppressed and beaten by the demon ancestor Luo Hu. In the life-or-death battle, Rahu was unable to defeat the 3 spirits for the time being, and the 2 sides were still fighting each other. Outside the god-slaying array, several figures arrived late. The main characters include Kaiyankun Ancestor, Yin-Yang Ancestor, Yangmei Immortal, and Hongjun Ancestor, Chen Zhou. Behind Hongjun are Nuwa Chu Yangxi, Dea Tianzan Wang Heianan, Yuanqi Tianzan He Chunkyu, Tongshan Jiaoju Jun Yixian, Heishan Shangdi Zhao Zilong, Fuxi Li Feiyu, Junti Daoran, Jiyan Daoran, Bodhi Patriarch, Hongyan Daoran, and other righteous allies. The 4 Chaos Demon gods stood together, silently examining the boundary array before them. Hongjun Luo Hu is always cautious. In my opinion, he definitely didn't use his full strength this time. The Yin-Yang ancestor stroked his long beard and analyzed the current situation with confidence. Yin and Yang, that may be true, but with so many people gathered, how could we not be able to deal with Rahu? Upon hearing this, the ancestor of Kaiyankun immediately expressed his dissatisfaction and retorted. Kaiyankun, don't forget, Luo Hu has always been treacherous and cunning. He dared to openly attack the 3 quasi-saints, Zhu Long, Yuan Feng, and Shikolin, who are at the height of their fortunes. He must have something to rely on, and he may even have taken all of us into consideration. Yang Mei Daxian narrowed his eyes slightly and analyzed the situation calmly and methodically. Why all the fuss? If you want to fight, then fight. Ancestor Kaiyankun's face showed impatience. At this moment, Hongjun quickly stepped forward to act as a peacemaker, saying, Kayan-kun, please calm down. Since I have invited you all here, this battle is inevitable. Then Hongjun turned to look at Yangmei the Great Immortal and said slowly, Fellow Taoist Yangmei, you are proficient in the Tao of space. I would like to trouble you to use your supernatural powers to break through this mysterious and unpredictable killing formation and rescue the three ancestors, Ancestral Dragon, Yuan Phoenix, and Shikilin, who are trapped inside. That makes sense, Master Yangmei nodded. He gathered spatial power in his hand, prepared a powerful strike, and instantly broke a gash in the node of Luo Hu's killing formation. The scene within the formation was instantly displayed before the righteous army. Rahu was overwhelming the three ancestors, Xiulong, Yunfeng, and Shikilin. Upon seeing a gap in the formation, Ancestral Dragon Ao Yuan fainted with a dragon tail swing, then grabbed the tails of Yuan Feng and Shikilin, instantly arriving outside the formation. Countless creatures on the ground stared in disbelief as the Ancestral Dragon held the Primordial Phoenix in his left hand and the Primordial Kilin in his right. The Phoenix clan and the Kilin clan, in particular, had incredibly interesting expressions as they watched their ancestor being grabbed by the tail by the Ancestral Dragon. Yuan Feng was exasperated and quickly shook off Zhu Long's claws, teleporting to the other side. The first Kilin also belatedly realized what was happening and teleported to another deserted location. Zhu Long Ao Yuan smiled awkwardly and said righteously, Everyone, now that the demon ancestor is causing chaos in the world, we are all powerful beings in the primordial world. We should work together to protect all living beings under heaven. Hearing Zhu Long's shameless self-praise, Yuan Feng and Shikilin's lips twitched, their speechlessness practically written all over their faces. All right, the three of you, whatever your conflicts may be, now is not the time for infighting. The demon ancestor is wreaking havoc, and the primordial continent is in turmoil. As powerful beings of the primordial world, we should set aside our past grievances and uphold the righteous path of the primordial continent, Hongjun Chen-jo said righteously to the crowd. Ancestor Hongjun's words are reasonable. We are willing to contribute our strength to the primordial continent, Yuan Feng replied, echoing Hongjun's words. As the leaders of the primordial land, our race is naturally willing to contribute to the primordial continent, the primordial Kilin solemnly promised before all living beings. Hongjun, Yangmei, Yinyang, Kayan-kun, you have indeed come. Luo Hu appeared calmly before the crowd. Luo Hu, you instigated a war between the three races, causing widespread suffering and devastation on the primordial continent. Today, I, this old man, will act on behalf of heaven and restore order to the primordial continent, Hongjun declared righteously. Then let's see if you have the ability. Luo Hu laughed wildly. Sword come. The immortal slaughtering formation, activate. Luo Hu coldly shouted, and all the powerful beings present were instantly pulled into a world of slaughter. Hongjun Chen-jo frowned and brought Yin Yang, Kayan-kun, and Yangmei to his front. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 243. The power of the first killing formation in the primordial world. An overwhelming aura of ferocity and killing intent emanated from the area, causing gods and demons such as Yang Mei, Yin Yang, and Kayan-kun to become solemn and focused. Junti Taoist and Ji Yin Taoist hurriedly took out their innate treasures. Junti Taoist held the 7 treasures tree in his hand, while Ji Yin Taoist was surrounded by golden lotuses, ready to defend himself at any moment. The other powerful figures of the righteous path also activated their accompanying magical treasures. The Jade Disc of Creation, the Teiji Diagram, the Mirror of Heaven and Earth, the Hayashin Sword, the Pangu Banner, the 12-petaled Golden Lotus of Merit, the exquisite Pagoda of Heaven and Earth, the Fuxi Chin, the Kayan-kun Cauldron, the 5 primordial banners, the primordial Yin-Yang Dao Bottle, the Chaos Exterminator. Various rays of light emanated from the sky, and the powerful beings watched their surroundings with bated breath, fearing that the demon ancestor might suddenly launch a sneak attack. The demon ancestor, Rahu, hid within the immortal slaughtering formation, quietly observing the actions of these innate powerful beings. Hongjun Chen-jo stood in the center of the great beings, summoning the heavenly clouds to protect them all around him. Everyone, please be extremely careful. Rahu is treacherous and cunning. You must not be careless. Immortal Yangmei solemnly reminded everyone. After speaking, a hazy light suddenly emanated from Yangmei Immortal's body, transforming into an illusory, chaotic divine willow. The divine willow stands 1,000 feet tall, its branches swaying in the wind as if containing endless mysterious power. Following the prearranged plan, Immortal Yangmei launched a fierce attack on the immortal slaughtering sword sect without hesitation. The yin-yang ancestor chanted incantations and swiftly formed a complex hand seal. With a dazzling flash of light, the innate yin-yang Dao treasure shone brightly. The yin-yang ancestor acted decisively, taking the innate yin-yang Dao bottle and attacking the immortal trapping sword sect. The ancestor of Kainkun had a solemn expression, his hands tightly gripping a Kainkun cauldron that exuded an ancient aura. He exhaled a deep breath of immortal energy, and the magical power within his body surged forth like a tidal wave, continuously pouring into the Kainkun cauldron. The Kainkun cauldron suddenly grew several times larger, and the runes engraved on it shimmered with a strange light. With a loud shout, the ancestor of Kainkun charged towards the immortal sword sect, stepping on the Kainkun cauldron. Hongjun Patriarch surveyed the entire scene and earnestly instructed everyone. You must all assist him from the sidelines and protect all living beings under heaven. You must not be careless. After speaking, Hongjun Patriarch took firm steps and resolutely stepped into the gate of the immortal slaughtering formation. The 4 chaos gods and demons entered the formation. At the core of the formation, Rahu fully activated the formation, injecting the destructive power of the 12th grade world, destroying Black Lotus and unleashing the strangling power of the 9 demon god towers. In an instant, the boundless killing intent of the 4 great sword sects surged. The light of the immortal slaughtering formation shook the past and present, broke through the primordial world. Countless famous mountains collapsed, spiritual veins were severed, and countless living beings instantly perished and vanished. The 3 races on the primordial continent were the first to be affected, and in the blink of an eye, all beings below the golden immortal level were reduced to nothingness. Ding, you have been affected by the endless sword power of the immortal slaughtering formation. You are dead. Your level has decreased by 1, your item Flying Great Sword is lost, you have lost 2,500 gold coins, and you have lost 100 spirit stones. Ding, you have been caught in the endless sword power of the immortal slaughtering formation and have been instantly killed. Your level has decreased by 1, your spirit artifact Purple Flame Furnace is lost, and you have lost 10 spirit stones. Ding, you were affected by the endless sword power of the immortal slaughtering formation and died from the shock. Your level decreased by 1, your defensive magic item, the Blood Wolf Demon Armor, was lost. You lost 100,000 gold coins, and you lost 1,000 spirit stones. Ding, you have been struck by the endless sword energy of the immortal slaughtering formation. Your level has decreased by 1, your magic weapon Divine Kun Quick Scissors is lost. You have lost 1314 gold coins, and you have lost 1234 spirit stones. Ding, you have been corrupted by the boundless killing power of the immortal slaughtering formation. You are dead. Your level has decreased by 1, your magic weapon Akon Horn is lost. You have lost 45,300 gold coins, and you have lost 1 spirit stone. Ding, your resurrection point has been destroyed. All players belonging to this resurrection point have had their level reduced by 2 levels, their spirit stones lost by 1%, their gold coins lost by 20%, and their herbs lost by 3%. Ding, your resurrection point has been destroyed. All players belonging to this resurrection point have had their level reduced by 2 levels, lost 3% of their spirit stones, 15% of their gold coins, 5% of their herbs, and 1.2% of their elixirs. The cold, ruthless game system announcement echoed in the minds of countless players. Players wiped out. Player World Channel. Player Winter Ghost. Damn, what the hell, when gods fight, mortals suffer. I'm. Player Virtual Machine God Currency. Brother, don't worry, it seems like everyone has been wiped out. Player General Oaks. Bro, it's not just a guess, we were really wiped out, and we've all been demoted to cannon fodder. Player Digmsk. Don't even mention it, the herbs I finally got are gone. Wah, family, the streamer's gone down again. The ghost fairy sister cried and feigned pitifulness in the live stream. Hey streamer, you're not going to lose any gear, why are you crying? Go out and check what you can find, grab whatever you can, and make a fortune while you can. Wise look in his eyes. Don't panic, host, I have a plan. Streamer, murder and arson bring wealth and honor. Now is the time to fight for it, charge. Seeing the encouragement from her longtime fans in the live stream, Sister Ghostly was both amused and exasperated. So they're gloating because they weren't the ones who got wiped out. The fairy sister shook her head and continued on her way to the live broadcast, for no other reason than a system task. At another distant resurrection point, Yi Fan was resurrected again with a gloomy expression. He's dead again. He was chased by player brother, come and kill me, grabbed and had his kidneys ripped off by player, if you don't go to hell, who will? And used as bait by player brother Jai, I don't want this anymore. Yi Fan kept changing respawn points, and just when he finally got a chance to rest, he was caught in the crossfire of the battle between the gods and died. 99 times. He died 99 times in this life, and it hasn't even reached the public beta yet. Yi Fan cried. If he didn't know what the future held, he would have quit the game long ago. In order to have a better future, he will continue to endure. Central of the primordial continent. Boom, boom, boom. The three demon gods, Yang Mei Daxian, Yin Yang Leazu, and Kyan Kun Leazu, were severely injured by the boundless sword intent emanating from the immortal slaughtering sword, the immortal trapping sword, and the immortal absolute sword, respectively. Hongjun Chen Zhou was unharmed because of the protection of the auspicious clouds of the heavens. Although it wouldn't matter whether he did it or not, Chen Zhou still put on a very convincing act. Cough, cough. Ancestor Kyan spat out a few mouthfuls of his source energy. At this moment, the ancestor of Kyan had long lost his initial arrogance. Yin Yang, Yang Mei, Hong Jun, these four swords of Juxian are truly formidable, the Kyan ancestor transmitted to the other three gods and demons. Indeed, without breaking the immortal slaughtering formation, we cannot defeat Rahu. Yin Yang ancestor reluctantly agreed. Now that Rahu is powerful, if we don't stop him, he will surely attain sainthood, the cunning ancestor Hongjun Chen Zhou warned. The three gods and demons fell silent. The three gods and demons understood what Hongjun Leazu had said. They came to the primordial continent to attain sainthood, to be omniscient and omnipotent, and to be immortal and indestructible. If that old bastard Rahu succeeds in attaining enlightenment, then they're truly doomed. Yang Mei paused for a moment, then spoke through telepathy. Everyone, I have a method that can break through a corner of this immortal slaughtering array and find the location of Rahu's true form. As soon as Master Yang Mei finished speaking, everyone present was startled. The ancestor Kyan also urgently inquired using the technique of telepathy. Fellow Taoist Yang Mei, is what you say true? If we can truly break through this array space and find Rahu's true form, then we can turn the tide of the battle in one fell swoop. Faced with the question from ancestor Kyan, Yang Mei nodded slightly and replied confidently. Fellow Taoist Kyan, I have devoted my life to studying the Tao of space and have gained considerable insights into it. If I were not confident, how could I dare to speak so easily? After saying this, a faint hint of pride appeared on Yang Mei Daxian's originally serious face. Hearing Yang Mei's words, a sense of hope welled up in everyone's hearts. At this moment, ancestor Hongjun Chen Zhou also quickly transmitted his voice and said, if that's the case, then we'll trouble fellow Taoist Yang Mei to take action quickly and try to hold off Luo Hu for a while so that the rest of us can take the opportunity to defeat him in one fell swoop. Agreed, Master Yang Mei smiled faintly. They immediately unleashed their supernatural powers, tearing open the space within the immortal slaughtering formation in an instant. The ancestor of heaven and earth and the ancestor of yin and yang exchanged a glance, then rushed into the core of the formation and engaged in a fierce battle with the demon ancestor Rahu. Chapter 244, The True Purpose of Rahu, the Demon Ancestor. Luo Hu Dai, the Kyan ancestor roared. With a backflip, the Kyan cauldron flew out, carrying boundless arrogance and power, crashing towards the demon ancestor Rahu. As Rahu demon ancestor sensed the power of the Kyan cauldron, the 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus flew out from his hand and collided head-on with the Kyan cauldron. Demon ancestor Rahu, you've fallen for their trap. Ancestor Kyan laughed loudly. The Kyan cauldron shone with great brilliance. There's more to it than meets the eye. In the blink of an eye, the 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus was absorbed into the Kyan cauldron and became unusable. With the two supreme treasures locked in a stalemate, even the ancestor of Kyan was unable to use the Kyan cauldron. However, in order to prevent the 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus from breaking free from the damaged Kyan cauldron, the Kyan ancestor had to allocate a large portion of his power to reinforce the already damaged Kyan cauldron. Ancestor Yin Yang, act quickly, don't give this bastard a chance. Ancestor Kyan shouted urgently. The Yin Yang ancestor naturally knew that the opportunity was not to be missed. while the Kaiyan-kun ancestor used the Kaiyan-kun cauldron to control the 12th grade world destroying Black Lotus. The yin-yang ancestor's innate yin-yang Dao bottle had already secretly moved to the side of the Rahu demon ancestor. Yin and yang reversed, the 5 elements overturned explode. Without hesitation, the yin-yang ancestor self-destructed the innate yin-yang Dao bottle, intending to severely injure the Rahu demon ancestor. Rahu demon ancestor was prepared. A tower appeared beside him, radiating intense demonic light. The innate yin-yang Dao bottle had just self-destructed when it was absorbed into the 9 demon god tower. Boom! The 9 demon god tower cracked but did not collapse. With some repairs, it can still be used. The self-destruction of his natal treasure dealt another heavy blow to the yin-yang ancestor, whose very essence was already severely damaged, causing his aura to plummet. Yin and yang, is that all you've got? Demon ancestor Rahu said expressionlessly. Cough, cough. The yin-yang ancestor exhaled a breath of yin-yang essence, his aura weakening. Rahu, don't be too happy yet. The yin-yang ancestor stared intently at the demon god Rahu. Without wasting words, the demon ancestor Rahu unleashed a burst of demonic light from the god's slaying spear in his hand, and in an instant, he arrived before the yin-yang ancestor. The yin-yang ancestor was forced to retreat repeatedly, expelling his original essence. Although the ancestor of Kaiyan-kun did his best to help, the Kaiyan-kun cauldron was held back by the 12th grade world destroying Black Lotus, and the ancestor of Kaiyan-kun, whose origin was damaged, was unable to launch a powerful attack. The 2 ancestors, Kaiyan-kun and Yin-yang, fought against one, but were ultimately overwhelmed by the single demon Rahu. Outside the formation, immortal Yangmei and ancestor Hongjun, Chen Zhou, continued to break the formation. The 2 gods and demons used all their methods, but they were unable to do anything to the 4 swords of Juxian for the time being. Although the 2 gods and demons have temporarily suppressed the 4 swords of Juxian without the guidance of demon ancestor Liu Hu, it is only a temporary suppression. If demon ancestor Liu Hu is free to make a move, the 4 swords will unleash their full power again. The situation was extremely critical. Beyond the array boundary, Hayashin, Junti Daoran, Jiyin Daoran, Fuxi, Nuwa, Bodhi Patriarch, Zhenyuan Daxian, Yuanchi Tianzan, Deyad Tianzan, Taisheng Leijun, Tongshan Jiaozhu, Lingbao Tianzan, Hongyun Daoran and other innate great beings stood outside the formation, each using their supernatural powers to try their best to block the remaining power of the Juxian formation and protect the prehistoric land. Yangmei Daxian glanced at Hongjun, Chen Zhou, out of the corner of his eye, and discovered that Hongjun had temporarily taken control of the Juxian sword sect and was now attacking the Xianxian sword sect. Yang Mei's words of accusation against Hongjun for slacking off died in her mouth, and she could only focus on cracking the immortal slaughtering sword sect. The immortal slaughtering formation is known as the first killing formation since Pangu created the world. It cannot be broken by anyone other than 4 powerful beings of the same realm as the one who set it up. Only by simultaneously breaking through the 4 sword gates of the immortal slaughtering sword, the immortal slaughtering sword, the immortal trapping sword, and the immortal severing sword, and seizing the 4 swords, can the formation be broken. Seeing that Hongjun had temporarily taken control of the Juxian sword, Yangmei Daxian couldn't say anything. After all, Yangmei Daxian himself hadn't taken control of the Juxian sword, so he had no right to criticize Hongjun. Within the array boundary, Yin-Yang ancestor and Kaiyan-kun ancestor repeatedly spat out their source energy. Their auras weakened to the extreme. If it weren't for the fact that the 2 divine demons had suppressed their power and burned their source energy to the extreme for sublimation, they would have been killed by Rahu demon ancestor long ago. Rahu demon ancestor's spear technique was wide and powerful, with overwhelming demonic might and decisive killing intent, forcing Yin-Yang ancestor to fight desperately and flee in a sorry state. The Kaiyan-kun ancestor wasn't much better off than the Yin-Yang ancestor, because he had to devote a large portion of his power to suppressing the 12th grade world destroying Black Lotus, making his situation even more difficult. The Yin-Yang ancestor could avoid the attack and flee if he couldn't defeat the Yin-Yang ancestor, but the Kaiyan-kun ancestor couldn't, because he had to protect the Kaiyan-kun cauldron, which was being held back by the 12th grade world destroying Black Lotus. Otherwise, once the 20th grade world destroying Black Lotus, this great weapon of destruction, breaks free, they will surely die. Hongjun Yangmei, you 2 are scoundrels, actors, complete frauds. Yin-Yang ancestor roared in anger. He fought with Kainkun ancestor and Rahu demon ancestor for so long, but Hongjun and Yangmei outside still couldn't break the Juxian formation. In fact, that old rascal Yangmei even broke the spatial rift. The Yin-Yang ancestor and the Kainkun ancestor had nowhere to retreat and were in unbearable pain. Yin-Yang Kainkun, didn't you trust those two old fogies Hongjun and Yang Mei? Why have you broken through their defenses now? The demon ancestor brandished his spear like a dragon, mocking the two gods and demons. The demon ancestor, Rahu, already knew the outcome of the war between immortals and demons, and he also knew the truth of this world. The primordial era, infinite myths, seems to have been created by beings from the Chosen One's world using something. Rahu, the demon ancestor, intercepted the memories of several Chosen Ones, some from Earth and others from other planets. These Chosen Ones had one thing in common. Their memories were all driven by the ruling class of their respective planets. From the memories of the Chosen Ones on Earth, demon ancestor Rahu obtained the beginning and end of the primordial mythology. From the memories of the Chosen Ones on other advanced technological civilization planets, demon ancestor Rahu learned about the Galactic Interstellar Federation and also learned about the public disclosure of the heart of the galaxy. After digesting these memories, demon ancestor Rahu adjusted his plans. His goal was no longer to become a saint in this world, but to break free from the world's constraints and go to the Chosen One world. To achieve this, one person alone is not enough. More resources are needed. To achieve this goal, the demon ancestor chose to strike ahead of time, single-handedly annihilating the three races of Dragon, Phoenix, and Killin, who had the strongest fortune in the prehistoric continent, drawing upon the karmic power of the prehistoric world. Then he used the ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, and the first Killin as bait to lure Hongjun, Yin-Yang, Kainkun, Yang Mei, and other powerful beings into the game. Using the 12-petaled karmic fire Red Lotus as the array's core, he set up a formation within the immortal slaughtering formation, waiting for an opportunity to steal the karmic power of heaven and earth, adding the power of the divine and demonic origins, breaking through the boundary to avoid lightning, and thus leaving the primordial world, infinite myth. To carry out this plan, demon ancestor Rahu had previously infiltrated the Chosen Ones, using rare and precious materials to implant demonic energy into them, and then creating an accident to kill the Chosen One players. Through the Chosen One's resurrection mechanism, Rahu successfully stole some useful things and also successfully released some of his aura into the Chosen One's world. This proves the plan is feasible. Boom! Yin-Yang ancestor was sent flying by Rahu demon ancestor's spear. A terrifying crack appeared on his chest, and the core of Yin-Yang ancestor's origin was exposed to endless killing energy, and endless killing demonic power began to invade Yin-Yang ancestor's origin. The Yin-Yang ancestor silently mourned, then abandoned all defense and launched a full-scale attack. As he approached the demon ancestor Rahu, the Yin-Yang ancestor, knowing that he had no hope of attaining enlightenment, chose to self-destruct his primordial spirit and origin. Boom! The Yin-Yang ancestor has exploded. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Chapter 245, The Demon Ancestor Perishes. The war between immortals and demons ends. Yin-Yang self-destructed. Upon hearing this news, Yang Mei was shocked, as if struck by lightning. Although the Yin-Yang ancestor was not considered a skilled warrior among the gods and demons, he was still a powerful being at the level of a sub-saint, with unfathomable cultivation and great supernatural powers. It was truly unimaginable that he would be forced to self-destruct. Yang Mei stood there dumbfounded, and before he could fully recover from his shock, the immortal slaughtering formation suddenly trembled violently once again. The tremor was like the collapse of the sky and the splitting of the earth, shaking the entire space as if it were about to collapse. Yang Mei's heart tightened, and an ominous premonition instantly surged into her mind. Immediately afterwards, Yang Mei sensed that another soul origin had also disappeared. The Kainkun ancestor had also exploded. The ancestor Kainkun was a figure on par with the ancestor Yin-Yang, possessing terrifying strength at the quasi-saint level. Yet now, he too has followed in the footsteps of the ancestor Yin-Yang, choosing the path of self-destruction. Just then, an urgent voice rang in Yang Mei's ear. Yang Mei, both Yin-Yang and Kainkun have self-destructed, and demon ancestor Luo Hu must be seriously injured. This is a critical moment. You must rush into the formation to hold Luo Hu back for a moment and buy me more time. As he spoke, Hongjun Leazu worked diligently to break the formation. Seeing that Hongjun was about to seize control of another sword gate, Yang Mei Immortal did not hesitate and decisively opened a spatial rift, rushing into it. Upon entering the array world, Yang Mei indeed saw that demon ancestor Rahu was severely injured. The 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus was broken, the god-slaying spear was damaged, and his aura had obviously dropped significantly. Yang Mei, did you come alone? Demon ancestor Luo Hu stared coldly at Yang Mei. Yang Mei waved his sleeve and said calmly, Luo Hu, in your current state, I alone am enough to deal with you. Ha ha ha, Luo Hu laughed wildly. Yang Mei, you call yourself a space god and demon, yet you didn't even know you'd fallen for Hongjun's treacherous scheme. Having said that, demon ancestor Rahu, wielding the god-slaying spear, abandoned his defense and charged straight at immortal Yang Mei. Seeing this, Yang Mei dared not confront Luo Hu demon ancestor head-on, and instead used her spatial abilities to maneuver around him. Outside the array, the righteous forces, powerful and capable, desperately defended this vital primordial spiritual vein, doing their utmost to preserve the primordial land. Hongjun ancestor glanced at the formation, secretly launched several attacks in Yifan's direction, and continued to attack the 4 major sword sects at a leisurely pace. Yang Mei, why are you running away? Don't you dare fight me, demon ancestor Rahu mocked arrogantly. Yang Mei the great immortal remained silent, unmoved by Rahu the demon ancestor's provocation. Using his immense advantage in space, Yang Mei Daxian skillfully kept Luo Hu Mo Zu away, preventing him from having a chance to watch over the Zhuxian formation. The 2 great gods and demons fought fiercely back and forth in the formation. Demon ancestor Rahu could not hurt immortal Yang Mei, and immortal Yang Mei could not leave any wounds on demon ancestor Rahu. Hongjun, hurry up. Yang Mei Daxian hurriedly urged Hongjun Leazu outside the formation via telepathy. Yang Mei, what are you doing? I told you to hold off Luo Hu, but what did you do? Now Luo Hu has regained control of the sword gate. If you don't put in the effort, we're all finished, Hongjun ancestor deliberately accused. What? Upon hearing Hongjun's words, Yang Mei's expression immediately turned serious. If Rahu demon ancestor were to reclaim the sword gate, given their current state, he and Hongjun would absolutely be unable to break the formation. If Rahu, the demon ancestor, were to recover from his injuries, no one in the prehistoric continent would be his match. I'll risk it. Master Yang Mei made up his mind in an instant. Hongjun, I will attack Rahu with all my might. You take the opportunity to break the formation. Yang Mei the great immortal transmitted his voice. Good, Hongjun the cunning patriarch casually chimed in. All the other innate great beings went to repair the primordial land. He was the only one outside the Zhuxian formation. Who knows whether Hongjun was breaking the formation? Hongjun Leazu symbolically exerted some of his power, then quietly sat on the mountain and watched the tigers fight, not caring whether Yang Mei Daxian lived or died. Rahu, prepare to die, shouted the great immortal Yang Mei. In an instant, Yang Mei Immortal transformed into a hollow willow branch and charged towards Rahu demon ancestor. Well done, demon ancestor Rahu laughed loudly, his god-slaying spear blazing with demonic light. The 2 great gods and demons are at war once again. This time, Yang Mei the great immortal no longer hid, and Rahu the demon ancestor didn't need to defend himself at all. The array barrier surged with waves in an instant, and countless shockwaves burst through the array's boundary, impacting countless living beings in the primordial world. Many players are unlucky and die right after respawning. Then the respawn point refreshed, and it was gone again. This cycle repeated itself, causing widespread suffering and devastation across the entire primordial continent. Endless karmic forces surged forth, engulfing the demon ancestor Rahu, who entered the formation and was completely absorbed by the karma transformation array, transforming it into another unknown and terrifying energy. Hongjun Chenzhou, the patriarch, silently observed all of this, and he also knew Luo Hu's purpose. Rahu wanted to break through the galactic power blockade, using the karma-breaking array and manifest in the real world. The original timeline also had this event, but at a point later than now. Luo Hu succeeded, successfully attaching himself to the super-intelligent computing core of an advanced civilization. Using the super-intelligent computing core, Rahu the demon ancestor created a super-artificial intelligence army, turning the Milky Way upside down and ultimately forcing the king of the galaxy to engage in a great war in the starry sky, resulting in mutual destruction. The civilization at the center of the Galactic Interstellar Alliance was affected, and the progress of Primordial Era Infinite Myth stalled. In the end, Yi Fan overtook the competition, successfully obtained the galactic power, became the lord of the Galactic Empire, controlled the entire Galactic Empire, and finally used the power of the Galactic Heart to successfully avoid the cleansing crisis. Boom! Yang Mei, the great immortal, was blasted away by Rahu, the demon ancestor, with his willow trunk shattered and his very essence damaged. Hongjun, are you done yet? I can't take it anymore, Yang Mei shouted angrily. Yang Mei, give me 3 more minutes. I'm sure I can break the formation in 3 minutes, Hongjun replied earnestly. Upon hearing Hongjun's definitive answer, Yang Mei Daxian steeled himself and continued his fierce battle with Liu Humazu. Seeing that the time was right, Ancestor Hongjun, Chen Zhou, became serious and instantly summoned the 3 corpses of good, evil, and execution. Hongjun the Ancestor summoned the heavenly celebration clouds to suppress the immortal slaughtering sword. Hongjun the Benevolent Corpse summoned the Chaos Pearl to suppress the immortal slaughtering sword. Hongjun the Evil Corpse summoned the Teiji Diagram to suppress the immortal trapping sword. Hongjun the Holding Corpse summoned the Jade Disc of Creation to suppress the immortal extinction sword. Taking advantage of the fact that demon ancestor Rahu was too injured to concentrate, he quickly refined the 4 swords of Juxian. All 4 swords are lost, and the sword formation is broken. Ha ha ha, the immortal slaughtering formation is broken. Rahu, you can't escape now. Immortal Yang Mei was overjoyed. A cold smile appeared on Rahu's face. In an instant, Rahu appeared in front of Yang Mei. Yang Mei, lend me a hand. Hongjun, save me. Boom! The physical body and essence of the demon ancestor Rahu exploded. Yang Mei died, and the power of the explosion instantly activated the karma-breaking array, using the endless karma of the primordial world to tear open a strange passage. Ha 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 ha, Hongjun, goodbye. Before leaving, the demon ancestor Rahu sent a voice transmission to Hongjun. Then Rahu, the demon ancestor, disappeared. He succeeded. The intangible influence of the chosen one Yi Fan's luck has diminished, and Rahu is more successful than the original Time Immortal. The instant Luo who left the world of Primordial Era Infinite Myths, Yi Fan, the chosen one, experienced a dramatic drop in fortune, plummeting to rock bottom. Chen Zhou smiled calmly. At the moment when demon ancestor Luo who crossed over, Chen Zhou secretly altered the strange passage, allowing Luo Hu to travel to the mainframe of the Galaxy Heart and the Galaxy Interstellar Alliance supercomputer. The powerful impact completely deprived the Galactic Interstellar Alliance of its ability to interfere with the heart of the galaxy. In other words, the heart of the galaxy has escaped our control. Chapter 246, Fate Shattered, Yi Fan Dies, plus bonus chapter. After the problem occurred with the heart of the galaxy, the High Command of the Galactic Interstellar Alliance immediately began to take remedial measures. Unfortunately, due to the special nature of the heart of the galaxy, the Galactic Interstellar Alliance's remedial plan failed. Ultimately, the League's top management kept this information a secret. The sanctuary world of Primordial Era Infinite Myths is still accessible, but the Galactic Interstellar Alliance cannot interfere with it. In short, once they enter, they will be just like those low-level civilizations, all low-level players, without any privileges or control over the location of the starting village they arrive in. If the people they sent in earlier find out about this, their status in the galaxy will be reduced to 0. Players can only participate in the evolution of the Primordial Era Infinite Myths world, and are even easily killed by other players. In order to gain the upper hand, the leaders of the Galactic Interstellar Alliance did not hesitate any longer, and began to develop around the clock using game pods, racing against time. 10 years later, Earth time, Yi Fan, dressed in rags, was trampled on the ground like a dead dog by the natives of the Primordial Era Infinite Myths. The surrounding players looked at each other in bewilderment, but no one offered to help. The reason is simple. The true secret of Primordial Era Infinite Myth was revealed on the last day before the world was two-dimensionalized, making Primordial Era Infinite Myth a place of hope for everyone. With the destruction of the real world, the chosen players who enter this 100% realistic second world only have one life. If I die, then I'm really dead. Boy, you dare to steal even the City Lord's things? You're asking for trouble. The Golden Core stage guard stepped on Yi Fan's face, his face full of disdain. Yi Fan stared intently at the bullying guard who had humiliated him. If he hadn't been constantly targeted by others over the past 10 years, how could he have lost to a mere guard? Practice your internal energy. For 10 years, Yi Fan remained stuck at level 10. which is equivalent to a chi refining stage cultivator in this world. "Oh, kid, you dare glare at me," the guard sneered cruelly. "Ta de." Several powerful kicks stomped on him, breaking all four of Yi Fan's limbs and knocking him unconscious. "Men, lift this petty thief up and feed him to the dogs as a warning to others," the guard shouted to the servants. "Yes, Commander, we'll go right away," two ordinary servants from the city lord's mansion replied respectfully. Then he walked towards the unconscious Yi Fan, dragging Yi Fan's already shattered legs, and walked away openly. After a century, game time, of relentless trials, Yi Fan's destiny and fate had long been shattered. Yi Fan is dead. Having completed his mission, Chen Zhou left the world of Primordial Era Infinite Myths and returned to the Anchor Point space. Task submitted successfully, Chen Zhou began selecting a mission. After looking around for a while, he clicked on a world of urban cultivation. Mission: Urban Rebirth of the Campus Immortal Emp. Grade: Pure Gold. Main quest luck value: 20 million. Difficulty: Not difficult. Mission objective: Chu Yi. Mission plot summary: Chu Yi, the peerless immortal emperor who roamed the cosmos, failed his tribulation and died under the heavenly tribulation. Unexpectedly, he was reborn back to his senior year of high school. After his rebirth, Chu Yi underwent a complete transformation, making up for the regrets of his past life. He became invincible across the entire Blue Star, found his family, resolved all past grievances, returned to the world of cultivation, and ultimately transcended tribulation to become an immortal, the only immortal in the entire universe. "A Mahayana ant reborn? I have to go see this," Chen Zhou revealed a rare excitement. When he encountered an interesting task, Chen Zhou quickly clicked to accept it. "Confirm. Task accepted successfully." Chen Zhou calmly opened the dimensional teleportation portal, then stepped inside without hesitation. Volume 8 Side Story and Reflections. Let me start with a reflection and summary. This volume was indeed unsatisfactory. It's clear that you can't function without a host, so let's end it quickly and move on to the next volume. Extra. After the Dragon Hand calamity, the primordial continent returned to a temporary peace. 1 month later, the open beta of Primordial World Infinite Myths began. Countless players from across the galaxy flocked to Primordial World Infinite Myths, bringing new life to the Primordial World continent, but also causing conflicts to erupt rapidly. After the first month of the open beta ended, the new Creation of Humans event began, and countless humans emerged on the primordial land, officially taking center stage in the primordial world. In the third month of the open beta, the Lick Calamity broke out. Because the Chosen Ones could be resurrected, they also became one of the main materials for the demon race to forge the Lick Slayer sword. Conversely, many players' hard-earned levels are now almost wiped out. After the Lick Wars, the Chosen Ones and the primordial beings suffered heavy casualties. Although the Chosen Ones could be resurrected, their levels and items dropped significantly. At the very end of the war between the Lick King and the Demon King, Mount Buju collapsed, the primordial continent tilted, and Nuwa repaired the sky. With the merits of the two incidents combined, she attained sainthood. Haodu transformed into a being through reincarnation, received heavenly merit, and attained sainthood. Peace was restored to the primordial continent once again. Version updates slowed down. The 6 primordial saints successively attained sainthood. The primordial order began to stabilize, and players were finally able to develop normally. Then the 3 sovereigns of the human race emerged one after another, marking the beginning of the 3 sovereigns era. The war between the Yanhuang tribes, and the war between the Yanhuang tribes against the warlord Qiyu. After experiencing numerous large-scale dungeon quests, players have all ascended to immortality, becoming an undeniable force in the primordial continent. With the participation of players, the landscape of Primordial World Infinite Myths has quietly changed. Organizations such as sects and nations have matured ahead of schedule, and cultivation systems have spread. The Chan sect of Yuanqi Tianzan, the Jai sect of Tongshan Jia, the Ren sect of Dayad Tianzan, and the Western sect of the 2 Western Saints, all the major human emperor forces, have been severely impacted. To maintain balance and help the Jade Emperor rebuild the heavenly court, the 6 sages of the primordial era orchestrated the investiture of the gods, sending players to the investiture of the gods list to protect themselves. After the investiture of the gods ended, all forces benefited greatly, each ruling over the 4 primordial continents shattered by the Tongshan sect master, and the sages retired. Hayashin rules the heavenly realm, Haodu rules the underworld, and the earthly immortal realm, mortal realm, is ruled by a cultivation alliance formed by various forces. Thus, the basic structure of primordial era infinite myths was established, with each continent and realm interconnected yet independent. Then the player's resurrection privileges disappear, and they become a member of primordial era infinite mythology, where the native races of the primordial era intertwine with the major civilizations of the Milky Way, competing on the same stage, with constant battles of varying sizes, all within a controllable range. After Yi Fan's destiny was shattered, Chen Zhou withdrew the dozen or so clones he had placed on the player, allowing the player to return to peace. Players like Ghost Fairy Sister, Brothers, and I Am Ben Bowerba were bewildered by the sudden unbinding of the system, but they had no choice but to accept reality. Of course, none of these people joined the multiverse chat group. As for the 8 free tool characters, after playing for a while, these 8 tool characters gradually spent less time online in the game. Apart from Wang Heianen, He Chungyu, and Zhao Zilong, who frequently logged in when they had nothing else to do, the others were all busy with their own things. Chu Yangtze was busy with her quick transmigration missions. Chu Kishwang was busy overseeing matters related to interstellar travel. Jun Yixian needed to deal with various troubles caused by the revival of spiritual energy, and Ao Yuan and Li Feiyu were busy cultivating. During this time, Zhao Zilong and Jun Yixian even had a fight. Zhao Zilong was slightly outmatched, and then kept clamoring to have a one-on-one duel with Jun Yixian. They each won and lost. It's worth mentioning that the two of them would always go to Yi Fan's location to fight one-on-one. Every time they fought, Yi Fan would die many times, and the surrounding players would also suffer. Because of Yi Fan's damn bad luck, he had to occupy a resurrection point all by himself and bear the unexpected disaster alone. Yi Fan wanted to fight back, but he had no idea who the fighters were, so he could only try to avoid them. If you can't escape, you die instantly. There are no other outcomes. Due to various factors, Yi Fan dies frequently, becoming the player with the most deaths, the most frequent deaths, and the most bizarre deaths in Primordial Era Infinite Myths, which is the exact opposite of his nickname, Undying Immortal Emperor. This volume is finished. Chapter 247, Chuyi. I'm really looking forward to meeting you, tilde. Be the first to worry about the world's troubles and the last to enjoy its pleasures. The teacher was explaining the appreciation of classical Chinese poetry and prose on the podium. Suddenly, Chuyi, who was sleeping face down on the table, abruptly stood up. This is... Chuyi stared incredulously at the test paper on his desk. Wasn't I undergoing a heavenly tribulation? How could this be? Could it be that I didn't die? Did I survive the heavenly tribulation? Chuyi's eyes revealed an incredulous smugness. Under the tribulation of becoming an immortal, there was almost no chance of survival, but he had unexpectedly survived. Chuyi, what are your thoughts on this issue? The male teacher adjusted his glasses, looking at Chuyi with displeasure. It was one thing for Chuyi to sleep in his class, but now he's openly causing trouble. He's gone too far. Ha ha ha, teacher, what insights could Chuyi possibly have? I bet he's just half asleep. Ha 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 ha. The classroom echoed with the cheerful laughter of the boys and girls. Chuyi looked around and finally realized where he was. He was reborn back to when he was 18, before everything changed. Chuyi checked his body, and sure enough, there wasn't a trace of spiritual energy. Chuyi couldn't help but smile bitterly. Rebirth indeed comes at a price. But it doesn't matter. He is the renowned Wuji Immortal Emperor of the Immortal Continent, the most monstrous genius of the Immortal Continent. In just 1,000 years, he rose from obscurity to become the youngest immortal emperor of the Immortal Continent, the Invincible Star. A resurgence is only a matter of time. Rebirth is not all bad. In his previous life, Chuyi made rapid progress, but his foundation was not strong enough, and he eventually died under the tribulation of becoming an immortal. In this life, I will take one step at a time, push each realm to its limit, lay an unparalleled foundation, and strive for the realm of true immortality. Chuyi's eyes were firm, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly, revealing a smile. Those who have hurt me, I will repay them 1,000-fold. In his past life, he accidentally offended a powerful figure from the capital, which resulted in retaliation. His mother's life's work was wiped out, and his sister was captured and humiliated while trying to protect him. But the man still didn't let him go. On a stormy night, he was beaten to death by a group of men in black, his limbs broken, and he died a miserable death in the sewers. Father, mother, sister, in this life, I will never allow anyone to bully you. Chu Yi clenched his fist. Chu Yi, get out of the classroom and stand there as punishment. Seeing that Chu Yi remained silent for a long time, the teacher angrily ordered him to leave the classroom. Hearing the teacher's angry roar, Chu Yi glanced casually at the harsh teacher on the podium and then walked out. It's impossible for him to be punished by standing. He is the Wuji Immortal Emperor, the strongest and youngest immortal emperor in the immortal continent. How could he waste his time in a place like this? On the other side, in a private estate in the capital, Beep, a healthy and suitable candidate, has been detected, meeting the system-binding requirements. System-binding 100%. The Destiny Villain system has been successfully bound. Host Shen Junlin. System. Ding, this system is the Destiny Villain system, specifically designed to help the host deal with the Chosen One. As he spoke, Chen Zhou grabbed the aura of intelligence reduction above Shen Junlin's head and instantly refined it. Shen Junlin nodded thoughtfully. He had heard of the concept of the Chosen One, or the Chosen One from TV dramas and other forms of entertainment. It's a very overpowered entity, capable of wiping out entire powerful factions. In short, it's unsolvable. I never imagined that such a thing actually existed. System, are you saying I'll offend a Chosen One in the future? Shen Junlin quickly realized. Ding, yes, the host will soon have run into a Chosen One. System, tell me quickly, who is it and what's the address? I'll send someone to kill him right now. Beep, transmission of the future timeline has begun. Hiss. Shen Junlin felt an unbearable, sharp pain in his brain. Then his legs kicked out and he collapsed onto the sun lounger, unconscious. When Shen Junlin woke up again, he found himself lying in his own medical room, with two maids sitting beside him, watching him closely. Young master, you're awake? One of the maids smiled and stepped forward to inquire about the situation. Shen Junlin nodded and calmly ordered, you may all leave. I want to be alone. Yes, the two maids smiled and bowed, then quietly withdrew to report to the butler. Shen Junlin sat on the bed, dumbfounded, his mind beginning to analyze the large number of memories that appeared in his brain. It contains his own god-like memories, as well as the god-like perspectives of Chuya's 2 lifetimes. Chuya's first incarnation from God's perspective. A month later, Shen Junlin went to Jiangbei to capture his fiancée, Tang Mingli, only to be bumped into by Chu Yi, that big idiot. Then Shen Junlin was hit on the head with a beer bottle by Chu Yi, who had just appeared to save him after drinking too much. Shen Junlin grimaced in pain. He immediately called his bodyguards to break Chuya's legs, then investigated the background of this scoundrel, sought revenge, ruined the Chu family, took away Chuya's sister, and vented his anger. Chuya's second incarnation from God's perspective. Similarly, a month later, Shen Junlin went to Jiangbei to arrest his fiancée, and in the same bar, Chu Yi, that idiot, still stood up. However, in the second life, Chu Yi and Tang Mingli became friends earlier. After Shen Junlin's sycophantic mockery, the sycophant called security guards to attack, which triggered Chuya's subsequent show-off mechanism, and Shen Junlin was killed on the spot. After doing all this, Chu Yi pretended to be profound and told Shen Junlin to let the Shen family come to him anytime if they were dissatisfied, and that he would take on anything. Then he swaggered away from the bar with Tang Mingli. After Shen Jun's death, the Shen family was shaken and sent a master of the transcendent realm who was killed by Chu Yi. Then they sent a grandmaster who was also neutralized by Chu Yi. Then they sent a great grandmaster, but it was still ineffective. Then Chu Yi arrived in the capital, and after a brief but intense battle, the Shen family was wiped out. Then Chu Yi defeated the #1 cultivator in Great Xia, becoming the undisputed #1 in Great Xia. Then, the Immortal Sect emerged, and Chu Yi single-handedly suppressed the Immortal Sect, dominating all sides and achieving the feat of one man defeating one nation. Afterward, he returned to the world of cultivation through the Immortal Path. After analyzing these memories, Shen Junlin successfully arrived at an answer. Chu Yi was quite troublesome and difficult to kill. A celestial emperor reborn, this kind of person's martial prowess far surpasses that of any martial artist on Earth. Even if he were to bring out his family's grandmaster now, it would be useless. He could defeat Chu Yi now, but he couldn't kill Chu Yi. He would only alert the enemy. Using nuclear weapons might offer a sliver of hope, but given Chu Yi's trump cards, that chance is practically non-existent. Moreover, the Shen family couldn't even get their hands on nuclear weapons, let alone use them to bomb Jiangbei. That was completely impossible. Left with no other option, Shen Junlin turned to the system for help. System, how do we deal with an enemy like Chu Yi? The feud between him and Chu Yi is irreconcilable. It's either him or Chu Yi who dies. Therefore, he must completely eliminate Chu Yi to prevent future troubles. When in doubt, ask the system for advice first. Ding, host, no need to worry. As long as you continuously sabotage the opportunities of the Chosen One, Chu Yi, strike a blow to his mentality and weaken his luck, you can quickly improve your cultivation and successfully kill Chu Yi. I understand now. Shen Junlin nodded solemnly. Killing Chu Yi outright is unrealistic, but secretly sabotaging his opportunities and affecting his mindset is still achievable. Chu Yi, I'm really looking forward to meeting you, tilde. A wicked glint flashed across Shen Junlin's face. Chapter 248 Miss Chu, you didn't want this either. A day later, Shen Junlin arrived in Jiangbei in a private plane, accompanied by 2 grandmasters and some bodyguards. Mr. Ma, please make arrangements so that Chu Qingshuan can come to see me tomorrow. Yes, young master. Grandmaster Ma Han bowed and then went to carry out the mission. Jiangbei, the place where Master Chu Yi rose to prominence in the original timeline, is nothing special. There isn't a single martial artist at the Transcendent Realm. Because of this, in the original timeline, Shen Junlin brought a Transcendent Realm martial artist with him when he came to Jiangbei. As a result, he had no power to resist Chu Yi after his rebirth, and Shen Junlin was immediately killed. This time, Shen Junlin brought 2 grandmasters with him. Although they couldn't kill Chu Yi, it was barely enough. As for grandmasters, it's unnecessary and a waste of favors. A grandmaster can't kill the reborn Chu Yi, and their impact is not much different from that of a grandmaster, so the cost-effectiveness is not high. Although the Shen family is strong, it is only strong in the secular world. Compared with those martial arts families, the Shen family only has an advantage in terms of money and power. Grandmasters are only 3 in the Shen family. Apart from the Shen family patriarch, the other 2 are only second to the family head and the eldest elder in the Shen family. Shen Junlin cannot invite them. Above the Grandmaster level are the innate realm experts, and above that are the legendary God realm experts. There are currently no God realm experts in the entire world. Shen Junlin wasn't in a hurry. According to the timeline, Chu Yi should still be worrying about medicinal herbs and wandering around at this moment. Even a skilled cook cannot cook without rice. Although Chu Yi can now unleash the combat power of a Grandmaster, it is only for a short time that he can unleash combat power comparable to a Grandmaster on Blue Star. His true realm is still at the 2nd level of Qi refining. Without spiritual energy, leveling up is very slow for a Wuji immortal emperor like Chu Yi who wants to take a steady and methodical approach. Chu Yi, why did you skip class yesterday? The beautiful homeroom teacher demanded, exasperated. Chu Yi shrugged. Teacher, this has nothing to do with me. Teacher Liu told me to get out. Teacher Liu told you to stand outside the classroom as punishment. Why did you leave school? The beautiful homeroom teacher, Qin Yun, glared angrily at Chu Yi, hoping for a satisfactory explanation. Qin Yun is Chu Yi's best friend, Chu Qingshuan. Because of this relationship, Qin Yun pays great attention to Chu Yi at school. Even though Chu Yi is hopeless, Qin Yun has never given up on him. Teacher Qin, Teacher Liu told me to go outside the classroom, but she didn't say I couldn't leave the school. Standing outside the school as punishment is still standing, so please don't slander me, Teacher Qin. Chu Yi deliberately feigned innocence. Qin Yun was one of the few people who were truly good to him in his previous life. When the Chu family suffered a misfortune, and his sister Chu Qingshuan was kidnapped, Qin Yun often took care of the Chu family and paid for his leg treatment. Unfortunately, the Qin family was later targeted, and in order to protect themselves, they sent Qin Yun to marry into the ancient martial arts Luo family. Later, his limbs were broken by the group of men in black, and he was thrown into an abandoned sewer. After that, nothing was known. Hearing Chu Yi's sophistry, Qin Yun's face darkened and she threatened, Chu Yi, if you keep trying to twist my words like this, I'll tell your sister. Hearing that Qin Yun was about to tell on him, Chu Yi immediately backed down. No, Sister Qin, I was wrong. Please don't tell my sister. Oh, Chu Yi, so you're scared now? Qin Yun looked at Chu Yi with a smug expression. Qin Yun, you know my sister's temper. If she finds out about this, I don't mind suffering some physical pain, but it would be bad if she got upset. Chu Yi quickly softened his tone, trying to persuade Qin Yun with reason and emotion. If you really don't want your sister to be angry, study hard and try to get into a good university in the future so you can share some of the burden with her. Qin Yun was completely unmoved by Chu Yi's words. She had heard Chu Yi's scumbag quotes hundreds of times. They all sounded nice, but he never followed through on any of them. If Chu Yi weren't Chu Qingshuan's younger brother, she wouldn't bother with such an ignorant idiot. There's a saying, Give up the desire to help others and respect individual destiny. Some people don't even want to save themselves, so why should she waste her breath? If they don't listen once or twice, then there will be a third time. Okay, Sister Chin, I promise I'll get good grades on the monthly exam in 3 days. Chuya quickly assured Qin Yun. The exams on Blue Star posed absolutely no challenge for him, the limitless immortal emperor. Qin Yun shook her head helplessly. In her eyes, Chuya was beyond saving. You failed every single time for 3 years and you still want to get a good grade. Dream on. However, Qin Yun didn't go too far. She glanced at Chu Yi helplessly and emphasized seriously. Chu Yi, you stay at school obediently for the next 3 days. I won't tell your sister about this. Okay, I understand. Thank you, Sister Qin. Sister Qin, since there's nothing else, I'll go study now, Chu Yi said with a serious smile. Qin Yun waved her hand. Go. After Chu Yi left, Qin Yun shook her head helplessly. I hope he really tries his best to pass the exam this time. The next day, while Chu Yi was diligently reviewing the knowledge of various subjects, Chu Qingshuan was invited by old Ma to Shen Junlin's residence. After delivering Chu Qingshuan to Shen Junlin, Ma Han tactfully withdrew and called the others out of the villa. Young Master Shen, may I ask what brings you here? Chu Qingshuan looked warily at the young man who was slightly younger than her. Shen Junlin of the Shen family is a well-known figure in the business world, the future heir of the Shen family, and one of the most outstanding young people in the capital. No reason, I just wanted to admire the famous female CEOs of Jiangbei. Shen Junlin revealed a meaningful smile. Young Master Shen, now that we've met, if there's no further business cooperation, then Qingshuan will take her leave, Chu Qingshuan said politely. Chu Qingshuan understood the implication in Shen Junlin's words. She dared not offend the Shen family, but it was impossible for her to submit to Shen Junlin. Farewell. Shen Junlin stood up and slowly walked to Chu Qingshuan. Chu Qingshuan, do you truly not understand, or are you pretending not to understand? Or are you saying that your Chu family wants the world to fall and the dynasty to collapse? Young Master Shen, the Chu family is a humble family and dares not compete with the Shen family. Please do not make things difficult for Qingshuan, Chu Qingshuan replied, forcing herself to remain calm. Chu Qingshuan, I remember you seem to have a younger brother who is studying at Jiang Academy. Shen Junlin paused deliberately, then looked down at Chu Qingshuan. Miss Chu, you wouldn't want anything to happen to your brother, causing your adoptive parents heartache, would you? Shen Junlin, what, Miss Chu, do you want to perish together with everyone else? Shen Junlin looked at Chu Qingshuan, whose delicate body was trembling with a half-smile. To a dragon, the anger of an ant seemed strangely laughable. Chu Qingshuan took a deep breath and reluctantly compromised. Shen Junlin, I can agree to your request, but you absolutely cannot lay a hand on Xiao Yi. Shen Junlin lay back on the sofa and said with a nonchalant smile, It depends on my mood. If you perform well and satisfy me, I might consider it. You, Chu Qingshuan's voice rose and fell with anger. Miss Chu is free to leave if she's not happy, but whatever happens to Chu Yi, I hope Miss Chu won't regret it later. Shen Junlin maintained his nonchalant demeanor. Chu Qingshuan bit her lip lightly, caught in a dilemma. Her parents not only raised her but also saved her life. She couldn't bear to hurt them. Chu Qingshuan's curtain falls as she walks towards Shen Junlin. Nothing more was said that day. Chapter 249, Entering the Divine Realm in One Step. Ding, the host has physically defeated Chu Yi, the chosen one of destiny, and Chu Qingshuan, the second female lead. Chu Yi's luck value has been reduced by 500,000, and the host has gained 5 million villain points. The battle ends, and villain points are credited to your account. 5 million in one go, truly worthy of a reborn immortal emperor, Shen Junlin exclaimed with delight. Young Master Shen, are you satisfied? Chu Qingshuan asked softly, dragging her tired body. Shen Junlin sized up Chu Qingshuan and said expressionlessly, Not satisfied. After saying that, Shen Junlin got up and left the room, leaving Chu Qingshuan trembling with anger and sulking alone in the room. System, open the system store. Stepping out of the room, Shen Junlin couldn't wait. Shen Junlin has figured out the system's function in the past 2 days. By suppressing the Chosen One and ruining his opportunities, he can gain villain points. Villain values are a form of energy currency that the host can use to exchange for items of corresponding value in the system's marketplace. However, the system shop requires 1 million villain points to unlock, which is a bit of a pain. Shen Junlin had no choice but to try to gain villain points. Fortunately, Chu Qingshuan was helpful, and after a day of work, Shen Junlin gained 5 million villain points. Ding, host's villain value has been successfully deducted. Congratulations on unlocking the system shop. System, open the system store. Peak external strength cultivation, 10,000 villain points. Peak internal strength cultivation, 30,000 villain points. Peak transcendent realm cultivation, 100,000 villain points. Peak grandmaster level cultivation, 150,000 villain points. Peak grandmaster cultivation level, 200,000 villain points. Peak innate realm cultivation, 300,000 villain points. Peak celestial realm cultivation, 500,000 villain points. Peak divine realm cultivation, 800,000 villain values. Peak golden core stage cultivation, 1,500,000 villain points. Peak nascent soul stage cultivation, 5 million villain values. Peak nascent soul stage cultivation, 10 million villain points. Low-grade spiritual weapon King Feng Sword, 600,000 villain points. Low-grade spiritual artifact 8 trigrams plate, 800,000 villain points. Low-grade talisman Swift Travel Talisman, 700,000 villain points. Super Practical Combat Gift Pack, 1 million villain points. A super practical combat gift pack summarized from countless cultivation worlds, countless years and countless geniuses, including Advanced Level Danger Perception, Advanced Level Power Control, Advanced Level Combat Instinct, Advanced Level Combat Experience, Advanced Level Combat Skills, Advanced Level Combat Awareness, Advanced Level Combat Talent, Advanced Level Reaction Ability. Ordinary Substitute Doll, 6,000 villain values. It can perfectly simulate any being below the innate realm that the host has ever seen. It possesses high intelligence, is extremely cost-effective, and has a wide range of uses. Grandmaster Anesthetic Grenade, 3,000 villain points. Releases a special anesthetic gas upon explosion, capable of rendering martial artists below the Grandmaster level unconscious. Excellent value for money, you deserve to have it. Fusion and Ascension Device. 3,000 villain points can perfectly fuse and ascend 2 low-tier items. Looking at the dazzling array of items, Shen Junlin's breathing quickened. System, do I need to undergo tribulation to purchase peak golden core cultivation? After browsing through some of the relatively inexpensive items, Shen Junlin calmed down. Ding, those at the golden core stage and above need to undergo tribulation. Cross-realm purchases of cultivation tribulations will automatically stack. Shen Junlin nodded and said calmly, System, let's purchase the Peak Divine Realm Cultivation and the Super Combat Gift Pack first. Ding, host's villain value has been successfully deducted. Congratulations, host, you have obtained Peak Divine Realm Cultivation and a Super Combat Gift Pack. As the villain value was successfully deducted, Shen Junlin felt a huge change occur in his body in an instant. Now he can easily smash an adult elephant with a single punch, and if he were to get serious, he could easily overturn a building. Fortunately, I also redeemed the Super Combat Gift Pack when I redeemed my cultivation level. Otherwise, I might have lost my entire family. After adjusting to his cultivation level for a while, Shen Junlin headed towards the bathroom on the 2nd floor. Exchanging cultivation points is like automatically cleansing your marrow and tendons, and even defecating through your pores. Shen Junlin was still covered in a thick layer of black mud, and the smell emanating from him was so strong that even he himself found it hard to stand. In the room, Chu Qingshuan angrily threw the cushion aside, her face extremely unpleasant. Chu Qingshuan had considered that Shen Junlin might renege on his promise, but when the moment actually came, she couldn't suppress her anger and grievances. Chu Qingshuan opened her phone with red eyes, looking at the familiar yet monotonous contact list, and tears involuntarily streamed down her face. Dad, Mom, Xiao Yi. On the other side, Ma Han and Wang Keo also visited all the major families in Jiangbei, and Shen Junlin's bodyguards swept away all the old medicinal herbs in Jiangbei. Master Ma, Master Wang, these are all the aged medicinal herbs available in Jiangbei Market, the martial arts bodyguards solemnly reported to the 2 grandmasters. Wang Keo and Ma Han nodded expressionlessly, and the 2 also bought the aged medicinal herbs from the prominent people in Jiangbei. In Jiangbei today, there is not a single medicinal herb that is more than 50 years old. How's the acquisition of medicinal herbs going? Just then, Shen Junlin, who had just finished showering, came downstairs. Ma Han, who was standing at the front, quickly stepped forward, bowed, and said, Young master, almost all the aged medicinal herbs from Jiangbei are here. As he spoke, he pointed to the wooden boxes of various sizes piled up behind him. Shen Junlin narrowed his eyes slightly, glanced at the wooden boxes filled with medicinal herbs, and a look of satisfaction appeared on his face. Shen Junlin nodded slightly, then said in a calm tone, Not bad. Let's arrange these medicinal herbs according to their type." "Yes, young master." Old Wang, who was standing to the side, immediately responded respectfully. Immediately afterwards, he turned to the others and shouted, "Black Tiger, take some men to sort and organize these medicinal herbs, and then send them to the pharmacy for storage." "Yes, Elder Wang." Upon receiving the order, everyone sprang into action. Shen Junlin stood with his hands behind his back, quietly watching the bustling scene before him, a slight smile playing on his lips, as if he had everything under control. Without these medicinal herbs, Chuyu will probably have to smile bitterly again. On the other side, Chuyu was irritably flipping through textbooks for various subjects. For some reason, starting from noon yesterday, Chuyu had a strange sense of irritability. He couldn't calm his mind, and even the efficiency of memorizing this knowledge had slowed down considerably. Strange, why can't this feeling of unease dissipate? Has something happened at home? Chuyu's gaze drifted to the window, his thoughts churning. At this time in his previous life, everything at home was perfectly peaceful. "Never mind, I'll deal with this exam first." Chuyu shook his head and cast a calming spell on himself. After casting a calming spell, Chu Yan's restlessness gradually subsided, and Chuyu quickly resumed flipping through his textbook. Chapter 250 Shen Junlin. This is Jiangbei. That afternoon, having nothing better to do, Shen Junlin, along with Wang Kao and Ma Han, arrived at the gate of the Mo family, the head of Jiangbei. Seeing that the newcomers had an extraordinary air about them, two burly security guards quickly stepped forward and asked, "Gentlemen, may I ask who you are?" Shen Junlin looked calmly at the security personnel in front of him and said casually, "Tell Mo Zhenbei that Shen Junlin of the Shen family has come to pay a visit." Upon hearing that the visitors were from the Shen family in the capital, the two security personnel were instantly struck dumb, their bodies jolting violently. One of the security guards reacted quickly, bowing deeply to Shen Junlin and saying in an extremely respectful tone, "Young Master Shen, please wait a moment. I will go and report to the master immediately." After saying that, he ran towards the interior of the mansion as if his feet were greased, not daring to even breathe. "Young Master Shen, this way please." Another security guard with an extremely respectful expression bowed slightly and extended his right hand, making a standard and elegant guiding gesture. With the utmost respect, he led Shen Junlin and the people beside him slowly toward the Mo family's villa, which was used to receive distinguished guests. Shen Junlin nodded calmly, following the young security guard at a leisurely pace as they entered the quiet and elegant courtyard. Not long after, a hearty laugh came from afar. Immediately afterward, Mo Zhenbei, the patriarch of the Mo family, the leading family in Jiangbei, arrived with his granddaughter Mo Qingwu, his steps steady and powerful. "Ha ha ha, I had no idea young Master Shen would grace us with his presence today. I am so sorry for not greeting you properly. I hope you won't mind." Old Master Mo greeted him warmly. Shen Junlin sipped his tea calmly, ignoring Mo Zhenbei's enthusiasm. Upon seeing this, Mo Zhenbei's smile instantly froze. The Shen family is powerful, but the Mo family is not a small, insignificant family that can be easily manipulated. Mo Zhenbei would not stoop so low as to fawn over Shen Junlin. Shen Junlin put down his tea and glanced at Mo Qingwu behind Mo Zhenbei. "Mo Zhenbei, is this your granddaughter?" Mo Qingwu of the Mo family greets young Master Shen. Mo Qingwu stepped forward and bowed politely. Shen Junlin nodded slightly and continued, "I recently heard that someone has made outrageous remarks, saying that they want to take your granddaughter's life." Upon hearing this, Mo Zhenbei bowed to Shen Junlin and replied in a polite yet authoritative voice, "I didn't expect that young Master Shen would also know about this matter. It is truly an honor for my daughter to have young Master Shen's concern. On behalf of my daughter, I thank young Master Shen for his care." Before Mo Zhenbei could finish speaking, Shen Junlin casually waved his hand, interrupting him. Shen Junlin's lips curled up slightly, revealing a half-smile, and he slowly said, "Mo Zhenbei, I've come to Jiangbei this time and plan to stay for a while. I happen to be short of someone to serve me. Your Mo family is the leading family in Jiangbei, so you must know this place very well. How about this? Let your granddaughter come live with me." Upon hearing this, Mo Qingwu, who had been standing silently to the side, could no longer suppress her anger. She glared at Shen Junlin, her eyes wide, and said coquettishly, "Shen Junlin, you." Mo Zhenbei hurriedly pulled back the hot-tempered Mo Qingwu, looking at Shen Junlin with a stern expression. "Young Master Shen, the Mo family cannot comply with this request." Although Mo Zhenbei was displeased, He didn't dare to directly turn hostile because he saw the two unfathomable old men behind Shen Junlin. "Oh, could it be that your Mo family has found someone to protect your granddaughter?" Shen Junlin feigned ignorance and looked at Mo Zhenbei. Mo Zhenbei suppressed his anger and replied in a tactful tone, "Young Master Shen, I have already found a master to help with my daughter's matter, so there is no need for you to trouble yourself. Then I insist on taking Miss Mo away." Shen Junlin looked at Mo Zhenbei and Mo Qingwu without any politeness. "Shen Junlin, this is Jiangbei." Mo Zhenbei glared angrily at Shen Junlin. "The Shen family is powerful, but the Mo family is no pushover either. They will not tolerate being trampled on so easily." Clap, clap, clap. Shen Junlin clapped for Mo Zhenbei and arrogantly threatened. "Mo Zhenbei, it's your granddaughter's good fortune that I'm taking her in as a maid. I advise you not to make a mistake. Otherwise, you won't even need to wait for your enemy to arrive. I'll crush your Mo family right now." Mo Zhenbei trembled with rage. He, Mo Zhenbei, the leader of Jiangbei, was actually threatened by a mere inexperienced junior today. "You're welcome to try." Shen Junlin waved his hand, and Wang Kao and Ma Han stepped out from behind him. A powerful aura pressed down on Mo Zhenbei. "Grandmaster, two grandmasters." Upon learning that Shen Junlin had brought two grandmasters, Mo Zhenbei's eyes were filled with terror. Previously, the strongest martial artist in Jiangbei was Master Su, who was in the mid-stage of the transformation realm. A few days ago, he met a young grandmaster and promised him 30 million to protect his granddaughter, Mo Qingwu. Now that Shen Junlin has brought two grandmasters to their door, even if the young grandmaster lends a hand, the Mo family is completely unable to resist. The Shen family in the capital is full of powerful figures. Even that young grandmaster would probably have to avoid their sharp edge if he came here. "All right, I agree to be your maid." Seeing her grandfather under pressure from the two grandmasters of the Shen family, Mo Qingwu stepped forward unwillingly. "Xiao Wu." Mo Zhenbei looked at his granddaughter with a complicated expression. "Grandpa, I am also a member of the Mo family, and it is my responsibility to share the burden for the Mo family. Besides, with young Master Shen by my side, those thugs wouldn't dare to lay a hand on me." Mo Qingwu forced a smile, trying to comfort Mo Zhenbei. "Xiao Wu, sigh." Mo Zhenbei sighed helplessly. "Since Miss Mo has made her decision, let's go," Shen Junlin urged in a commanding tone. Upon hearing Shen Junlin's order, Mo Qingwu suppressed her resentment and obediently walked to Shen Junlin's side, standing quietly like a real maid. "Take care, Mr. Mo," Shen Junlin said with a smile as he bid farewell to Mo Zhenbei. But to Mo Zhenbei, these words were a blatant insult, an insult to his Mo family. The Shen family has gone too far. Ignoring Mo Zhenbei's powerless anger, Shen Junlin, having achieved his goal, turned around and led everyone away from the Mo family. Mo Qingwu glanced at her grandfather, who had aged 10 years in an instant, and could only reluctantly follow Shen Junlin, leaving the home where she had lived for nearly 20 years. She was unwilling, but what could she do? If she didn't agree, the entire Mo family would suffer because of her. Not long after, Shen Junlin brought Mo Qingwu back to Tianxing Manor. Chu Qingshuan has already left. She still has work to do, so naturally she won't stay in this place that caused her so much heartache. Shen Junlin didn't care. When he was doing things, he added Chu Qingshuan's contact information. As long as Chu Qingshuan was available whenever he called, Shen Junlin wouldn't care what Chu Qingshuan was doing. Shen Junlin's goal was simply to deal with Chu Yi, destroy all of Chu Yi's supporters, weaken Chu Yi's luck, and increase his own strength. "That's all. Mo Qingwu, get everything ready," Shen Junlin ordered expressionlessly. Yes, Mo Qingwu's delicate body trembled, but she still didn't dare to refuse. Nothing more was said that night. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 251, Chu Yi's Fury. 5.5 days later. "Yi, how did you feel about the exam?" A boy approached Chu Yi with a smile. This boy is Wang Xiaodong, Chu Yi's good friend. They have a very good relationship, and he was one of the few people who stood behind Chu Yi after he fell into misfortune in his previous life. So, making it into the top 10 shouldn't be a problem, Chu Yi said casually with a smile. "Yi, you're just bragging. With your grades, you're only about 50-50 with me. If you can make it into the top 10, I'll give you my treasured study materials that I've kept for years." Chu Yi's best friend patted his chest nonchalantly. Chu Yi gave a wry smile. Sure enough, this guy was still as unreliable as he was in his previous life. Chu Yi patted his good friend on the shoulder and said seriously, "Dongzi, you should keep that thing for yourself." "Hey, I didn't expect you to be acting all serious with me." Wang Xiaodong looked at the guy who had betrayed him with great surprise. Oh, isn't this Chu the sleeping god, making it into the top 10? You're really talking big, aren't you afraid of biting off more than you can chew? At this moment, Li Qianqian's sarcastic voice rang out. Qianqian, don't say that. Maybe young Master Chu meant the bottom 10. Li Qianqian's best friend Ma Dongmei added casually. Chu Yi looked and saw that it was Li Qianqian again, the gold-digging woman who had been stringing him along in his previous life. After he was targeted by Shen Junlin, this woman completely changed her attitude and humiliated him in every way. Li Qianqian, Ma Dongmei, what we say has nothing to do with you. Wang Xiaodong angrily defended his good friend. Some people are all talk and no action. When they hear the truth, they get angry and upset. Li Qianqian continued sarcastically. Wang Xiaodong was about to speak when Chu Yi pulled him back. Brother Yi, what's wrong? Wang Xiaodong looked at Chu Yi with great confusion. Chu Yi waved his hand. Forget it, Dongzi, let's go. Don't bother with this kind of person. Hearing Chu Yi's words, Wang Xiaodong didn't know what to say. He followed behind Chu Yi and the two left the school. Brother Yi, tell me the truth. Do you still like Li Qianqian? Stepping outside the door, Wang Xiaodong asked in a low voice, sounding somewhat exasperated. Chu Yi shook his head and said, Dongzi, I have absolutely no feelings for that woman right now. I don't want to argue with her, I just don't want to waste my breath. As the saying goes, a straight body casts a straight shadow, and facts speak louder than words. When the results are in, those petty people will shut up. After hearing Chu Yi's explanation, Wang Xiaodong sighed helplessly. To be honest, Wang Xiaodong didn't think Chu Yi could get into the top 10 in the class either. Chu Yi's explanation just now was probably an excuse for Chu Yi to lie to himself. However, as a good brother, Wang Xiaodong would naturally not undermine his brother. All right, Yi, since you've let it go, let's not talk about it anymore. Tomorrow's the weekend, let's go out for a drink to celebrate. Dongzi, I have something to do tomorrow, so I won't be going. Take care of yourself. Chu Yi directly declined Dongzi's invitation. Tomorrow is the day Chu Yi made an appointment with Old Man. The reward of 30 million will be of great benefit to him now. Well, all right, since you have something to do, Brother Yi, I'll make plans with someone else. Wang Xiaodong said with some regret. The two chatted for a little while longer before parting ways. After they parted, Chu Yi did not go home to the house he had rented for him in Jiangbei City. Chu Yi arrived at a mountain peak outside the city and began his second, albeit less than fruitless, meditation practice. The next day at noon, Chu Yi slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of stale air. Qi refining level 3. Chu Yi shook his head helplessly. The cultivation environment on Blue Star is indeed far inferior to that of the cultivation world. If I want to continue cultivating, it seems I'll have to think of other methods. Hopefully, Jiangbei will have some good quality medicinal herbs. Chu Yi gave a wry smile, then ended his cultivation and began to descend the mountain. Today was the time he had arranged with old Master Mo, and it was almost time for him to go to the Mo residence. 2.5 hours later, Chu Yi arrived at the imposing gate of the Mo mansion. Young man, this is the Mo residence. Unauthorized personnel are not permitted here. Please leave immediately, the security guard warned sternly. Chu Yi glanced casually at the clueless security guard and didn't bother arguing with him. Go in and tell old Master Mo that it's Chu Yi. Chu Yi introduced himself calmly. Chu Yi, the security guard's mind raced. After thinking for a long time, they still couldn't believe that there was someone named Chu Yi in Jiangbei. Kid, I've never heard of a Chu Yi in Jiangbei. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being impolite. The security guard gripped his stun gun, watching the suspicious man with a wary expression. Upon hearing this, Chu Yi's expression immediately darkened. However, he was not a man of his word, and since he had promised to protect Miss Mo, he would not go back on his word. Kid, you'd better leave now, or I can pretend you were never here otherwise. Buzz, tilde. As he spoke, the stun baton on the security guard emitted a buzzing sound of electricity. Seeing that the security guards didn't know what was good for them, Chu Yi stopped being polite. With a few quick movements, Chu Yi knocked the security guards at the door unconscious. After finishing these tasks, Chu Yi dusted off his hands and walked in openly. Stop. Help, there's an assassin. Upon hearing the shouts, the Mo family's security personnel quickly rushed over. Brothers, charge, take this villain down, the security captain shouted. Upon hearing the order, the security guards, carrying various weapons, surrounded the area in a well-trained manner. Just as everyone was about to be beaten, old Master Mo arrived after hearing the commotion, shouting, "Step back." Upon hearing old Master Mo's solemn voice, The security guards put down their weapons and stepped aside. Old Master Mo, is this how your Mo family treats its guests? Chuyi demanded with dissatisfaction. Old Master Mo quickly explained. Young friend Chu, the servants in my household are ignorant. Please invite them in. With that, Old Master Mo Zhenbei gestured for Chuyi to come in. HMPH, Chuyi snorted coldly and strode inside. Upon entering the hall, Mo Zhenbei personally poured tea for Chuyi and explained politely. Young friend Chu, my family members are ignorant and have never heard of such a peerless genius as you. That's why there was a misunderstanding. I hope you will forgive us. Please accept this card as an apology. Seeing that Old Master Mo's attitude was good, Chuyi was very satisfied. Since it's a misunderstanding, let's let it go this time. Young friend Chu is truly an outstanding person with a magnanimous spirit. I admire you greatly. Mo Zhenbei continued to flatter him. Chuyi waved his hand and continued. By the way, Elder Mo, didn't you say someone was going to attack Miss Mo? Where is Miss Mo? Upon entering, Chuyi discovered that there wasn't a single martial artist in the Mo residence, only ordinary bodyguards. The security was lax, and they didn't seem to be facing a formidable enemy at all. Alas, Old Master Mo couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow and sighed helplessly. Elder Mo, have you encountered some difficulties? Chuyi asked hurriedly. It's not a big deal if something happens to the Mo family. But if Mo Qingwu is gone, then he won't be able to get his 30 million. Besides the 30 million, Chuyi also needs the Mo family to do things for him, so rescuing Mo Qingwu is extremely important. Young friend Chu, alas, Old Master Mo sighed repeatedly, I'm afraid young friend Chu can't be of any help with this matter. Elder Mo, please speak frankly. There is nothing in this world that I, Chuyi, cannot accomplish, Chuyi quickly declared confidently. Seeing Chuyi's confidence, Old Master Mo no longer concealed anything. Alas! Young friend Chu, 5 days ago, Shen Junlin, the eldest son of the Shen family in the capital, came to the Mo family and insisted that my daughter become his maid. My Mo family refused, but I never expected that Shen Junlin would bring 2 grandmasters and threaten the entire Mo family. In order to protect the Mo family, my daughter was eventually taken away by Shen Junlin. Now, the situation is unknown. Shen Junlin. Upon hearing Shen Junlin's name, Chuyi's killing intent instantly flared. Mo Zhenbei was startled by Chuyi's overwhelming killing intent. Don't worry, Elder Mo. I will definitely kill that scoundrel Shen Junlin and rescue your granddaughter, Chuyi readily agreed. Mo Zhenbei glanced at the murderous Chuyi and immediately understood that Chuyi and Shen Junlin had a deep-seated grudge, a grudge that could not be resolved without a fight to the death. Considering Chuyi's cultivation level, Mo Zhenbei guessed that there must be a force behind Chuyi that was no weaker than the Shen family in the capital. With Chuyi around, perhaps they could really save his granddaughter. Thinking of this, Mo Zhenbei quickly cupped his hands in thanks. This old man thanks young friend Chu in advance. Don't worry, Elder Mo, since I, Chuyi, have promised to protect Miss Mo, I will naturally keep my word, Chuyi solemnly promised. Chapter 252, Who exactly are you? That afternoon, Chuyi, who had obtained Shen Junlin's residence from the Mo family, rushed to Tianxing Manor. Such lax security, Shen Junlin, it seems I overestimated you. A hint of disdain flashed in Chuyi's eyes. In his past life, Chuyi saw Shen Junlin attempting to abduct a woman at a bar in Dunhuang. He threw a bottle at Shen Junlin, and Chuyi and his companions had their legs broken by Shen Junlin's bodyguards on the spot. The Chu family also suffered Shen Junlin's vicious revenge. The Chu family went bankrupt, and Chu Qingshuan was taken away by Shen Junlin. Shen Junlin, the humiliation you inflicted on me in my past life, I will make you repay 100-fold in this life. Chuyi clenched his fists, his eyes red. Chuyi didn't try to suppress his anger. He glanced at the lit floor and walked in with a murderous aura. So what if they're 2 grandmasters? No one can stop Chuyi from killing whoever he wants. Inside the room, Shen Junlin was personally reviewing the work abilities of Chu Qingshuan and Mo Qingwu. Chuyi's location was entirely under Shen Junlin's surveillance. A real-time holographic positioning map, a valuable item that Shen Junlin purchased 2 days ago for 200,000 villain points. Without leaving home, one can monitor Chuyi's every move at any time and even see exactly what Chuyi is doing. Of course, Shen Junlin is heterosexual and has never used this function. Apart from keeping track of Chuyi's location, Shen Junlin has been personally teaching Chu Qingshuan how to work. Seeing Chuyi enter the villa, Shen Junlin then turned on the live streaming function to see Chuyi's next move. System, view Chuyi's panel. Chuyi, the Chosen One panel. Name Chu Yi. Age 18, actual age 1036. Physical constitution, ordinary mortal body. Spiritual root, 5 elements spiritual root not fully awakened. Realm Qi refining level 3. Combat strength, capable of fighting against an ordinary early stage grandmaster. Power Chu family. Identity, prospective heir of the Chu family. Main techniques, White Emperor's reverse life method, 5 elements mutual generation foundation formula, 5 elements unceasing body tempering technique. Supplementary cultivation method, Yin-Yang Qi swallowing technique. Luck value, 19,500,000, originally 20 million. Luck level, pure gold. Current location, 2nd floor living room, Tianxing Villa, Jiangbei, Jiangdong Province, Langsing, Daxia. Ifold. As expected of a reborn immortal emperor, he has already acquired the combat strength of a grandmaster in just a few days. Shen Junlin sighed inwardly. With Chu Yi's current strength, even if the Shen family goes all out, they can't kill him. Fortunately, I was bound to the system, and a few days ago I raised my strength to the peak of the divine realm, peak of foundation establishment, and even gained combat experience from the geniuses of the cultivation world. Chu Yi, I hope you can remain this calm later. Shen Junlin glanced at Chu Yi, who was sitting in the living room on the 2nd floor waiting, but did not rush to make a move. Chu Yi arrived at the bright and spacious 2nd floor living room and glanced at the master bedroom. He could clearly hear the unpleasant sounds coming from inside. Since the incident had already occurred, to avoid suspicion, Chu Yi did not barge in directly. Instead, he sat quietly on the expensive sofa in the living room, patiently waiting for that beast, Shen Junlin. Time passed by, but Shen Junlin still showed no sign of coming out. Bored, Chu Yi picked up the fruit on the table and began to wolf it down. Chu Yi went to cultivate after school last night, and he hasn't eaten yet. Although he ate some fruit at the Mo family's house, he didn't eat much out of respect for the immortal emperor. There's absolutely no need to pay attention to Shen Junlin's things. Chu Yi was enjoying his meal when he suddenly heard, "Xiao Wu, take a break. I'll go out and get you a glass of water." Upon hearing Shen Junlin's words that he was about to come out, Chu Yi quickly put down the imported fruit in his hand, crossed his legs, and sat back with an air of superiority. Squeak tilde. As soon as the room door opened, Shen Junlin, wearing a bathrobe, came out. Upon seeing Chu Yi, Shen Junlin instantly channeled his inner actor, feigning panic and demanding, "Who are you? Why are you in my house?" Chu Yi looked up at Shen Junlin with a smug expression and said, "Shen Junlin, someone has paid money to take your life. Young Master Shen, what do you think?" Chu Yi looked at Shen Junlin with a half-smile, intending to play a game of cat and mouse. "Sir, since you know my identity, you must also know the power of the Shen family in Great Xia. Whatever that person offers, I'll give you 10 times that amount." Shen Junlin's playful spirit was also aroused. Clap, clap, clap. Chu Yi clapped his hands. As expected of young Master Shen, so magnanimous. Hearing Chu Yi's words, Shen Junlin feigned a successful defection, walked to Chu Yi's side, and said in a commanding tone, "I'll give you another 500 million. Go and bring me the head of the person who tried to assassinate me." No sooner had he finished speaking than Shen Junlin delivered a powerful kick to Chu Yi's groin with lightning speed. Bang! Chu Yi's face contorted in pain. His body trembled uncontrollably, and he was covered in cold sweat. "The egg is broken." Shen Junlin didn't give Chu Yi a chance, kicking Chu Yi away with one kick, followed by a Leo flying kick. The immense power instantly destroyed Chu Yi's danshan. Before Chu Yi could react, Shen Junlin grabbed the living room table and began smashing it down without hesitation. Chu Yi was so badly beaten that he covered his head with his hands, completely unaware of how to defend himself. The loud noise was clearly heard by Chu Qingshuan and Mo Qingwu in the room, but not knowing what was going on, neither of them dared to come out. After smashing the table for 2.5 minutes, Shen Junlin stopped his attack and casually tossed the wrecked table aside. Ding, the host has successfully ambushed the chosen one, Chu Yi, leaving him utterly defenseless. Chu Yi is stunned by the host's attack. His luck value has decreased by 100,000, and the host has gained 1 million villain points. Ding, the host has successfully ambushed the chosen one, Chu Yi, and crippled Chu Yi's second brother, causing Chu Yi immense pain and making him question his existence. Chu Yi is furious, and his eyes are bloodshot. Chu Yi's luck value has decreased by 1 million, and the host has gained 1 million villain points. Ding, the host has successfully ambushed the chosen one, Chu Yi, and crippled his cultivation. Chu Yi is furious, and his luck value has decreased by 500,000. The host has gained 5 million villain points. With a smooth combo, Shen Junlin successfully obtained a huge sum of 16 million villain points. Kid still so arrogant? Shen Junlin looked down at Chu Yi, his face full of mockery. Chu Yi looked at Shen Junlin with extreme apprehension. You're not Shen Junlin. Who are you really? It's hard to say about others, but Chu Yi knows Shen Junlin well. He's just an ordinary person. In his previous life, no one else would have been hit in the head by Chu Yi with a beer bottle. Just now, Shen Junlin's sneak attack caught Chu Yi, the dignified Wuji Immortal Emperor, off guard, and his second brother was directly destroyed. Then came a smooth and fluid combo, showcasing a level of ruthless combat experience that was unlike that of an ordinary person. Chu Yi guessed that Shen Junlin in front of him was most likely an old monster from the cultivation world who had been possessed and reborn, or someone who had reincarnated with his memories. Otherwise, he would never possess such rich combat experience and such amazing cultivation. As for being reborn in the future, Chu Yi immediately ruled that out. He himself was reborn from the future and was very clear about the future's most outstanding figures. No one in the future could compare to him, unless someone becomes an immortal after him and is reborn using the methods of a true immortal. But that's impossible. If you've already become an immortal, why would you be reborn? Moreover, if a true immortal were to be reborn, they would definitely choose their former self, not someone else to possess. What exactly is it? Chu Yi couldn't understand it at all. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 253, You Can't Change Anything. Who I am? Don't you know who I am? Shen Junlin looked at Chu Yi lying on the ground with a half-smile, his eyes showing 3 parts mockery, 3 parts disdain, and 4 parts indifference. This arrogant demeanor was half genuine and half feigned. While being arrogant, Shen Junlin was also observing Chu Yi warily, fearing that Chu Yi might be hiding other tricks. The immortal emperor has been reborn. His methods are certainly extraordinary. Be careful, it's always a good idea. Shen Junlin? Chu Yi shook his head. No, that's impossible. Shen Junlin couldn't possibly possess your level of strength. Chu Yi still refused to believe it. Refused to believe that the person in front of him was really Shen Junlin. The Shen family is powerful, but Chu Yi knows very well that Shen Junlin is just an ordinary person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to blow Shen Junlin's head off in his previous life. Whether it's possession or reincarnation of a powerful being, the person in front of him cannot be Shen Junlin himself. Even if the person in front of him doesn't admit it, it doesn't matter. Chu Yi still maintains his deduction. Who exactly is he in the cultivation world? Chu Yi kept flipping through his memories, trying to find a person in his thousands of years of memories who matched the person in front of him. Unfortunately, after thinking for a long time, Chu Yi still couldn't come up with a match for this person's identity. My friend, today's events are entirely a misunderstanding. I was unaware that you had possessed this person. Please forgive any disturbance. Knowing he was no match for them, Chu Yi also considered a strategic retreat. Regardless of whether the person in front of him is a reincarnated being or someone who has possessed another body, he is not someone he can deal with in his current state. As the saying goes, a gentleman takes his revenge even after 10 years. Since the other party is also a cultivator, their secret techniques must be extraordinary. Forcing a one-for-one exchange is not a wise move. Forget it. Shen Junlin looked at Chu Yi as if he were an idiot and asked, Chu Yi, do you really think I'm stupid? Upon hearing the name Chu Yi was instantly startled. Impossible. How did this person know my identity? Could it be? Before Chu Yi could even think, a figure he had been longing for rushed out of the room. Zio Yi, why are you here? Chu Qingshuan, dressed simply in a sexy nightgown, rushed anxiously to Chu Yi. Seeing Chu Yi covered in blood and bruises, Chu Qingshuan couldn't help but shed tears. Zio Yi, does it hurt? Chu Qingshuan knelt on the ground at a loss. She dared not touch Chu Yi for fear of causing him further harm. Sister, Chu Yi stared in shock at the beautiful figure dressed like this before him. Chu Qingshuan, his sister, is one of the people he feels most sorry for. In her past life at this time, her sister was at her company negotiating business with other companies. But now, her sister has appeared in Shen Junlin's golden house. Could it be that Shen Junlin had already committed such heinous acts against his sister at this time in his previous life? Chu Yi grew angrier the more he thought about it. He shouldn't have stayed in Jiangbei. Why didn't he go home sooner? Why didn't he take his sister away sooner? If we go back, my sister won't have to suffer this humiliation. He hated it. Zio Yi, don't be afraid, I'm here. I'll go call an ambulance right now and take you to the hospital. Seeing that Chuya remained silent for a long time, Chu Qingshuan was so anxious that tears welled up in her eyes. After saying that, Chu Qingshuan stood up shakily, wanting to go to her room to get her phone. "Sister, it's all right, I'm fine. I just suffered a minor injury, it's nothing." Hearing his sister Chu Qingshuan's words, Chuya quickly reassured her. "Zio, you don't say any more. I'll take you to the hospital right away." Chu Qingshuan wiped away her tears, and then Shen Junlin hugged her tightly from behind. "Qingshuan, my brother already said it's just a minor injury. Why go to the hospital?" Shen Junlin's devilish whisper exploded in Chu Qingshuan's ear. "Shen Junlin, get your filthy hands off my sister," Chuya shouted angrily. As a result of the excessive movement, he tore his testicles and immediately turned pale with pain. But in order not to worry his sister, Chuya kept silent and endured the excruciating pain. "Shen Junlin, let me go. Let me go." Chu Qingshuan struggled fiercely, but in front of Shen Junlin, who was at the peak of the divine realm, Chu Qingshuan's resistance was weak and powerless, and instead had a flirtatious feel to it. "Shen Junlin, you bastard. You promised me you wouldn't hurt Xiaoi. Why are you treating Xiaoi like this?" As she spoke, Chu Qingshuan broke down in tears. Smack! Chu Qingshuan's buttocks were firm enough to withstand a slap. A wave of humiliation, resentment, and anger surged through Chu Qingshuan's heart, bringing her back to her senses. Shen Junlin was the butcher, and she was the fish on the chopping block. If she really angered Shen Junlin, neither she nor her younger brother Chuya would escape. "Shen Junlin!" Chuya glared angrily at Shen Junlin, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets. "I'm here. You don't need to shout so loudly. I can hear you right, Qingshuan, my darling." Shen Junlin arrogantly hugged Chu Qingshuan, his eyes mockingly glancing at Chuya leaning against the wall. Chu Qingshuan suddenly felt a chill behind her and quickly nodded, following Shen Junlin's words to scold Chuyi. "Zio Yi, keep your voice down. Don't disturb young Master Shen." Hearing his sister Chu Qingshuan's words, Chuya was even angrier, but for his sister's sake, he had to endure it. Ding, the host has forced the chosen one, Chuyi, to submit. Chuya's Dao heart has shattered, his mentality has exploded, and Chuya's luck value has plummeted by 900,000. The host has gained 9 million villain points. Ding, the host has openly bullied the sister of Chuyi, the chosen one. Chuya's Dao heart has shattered, his anger has turned to fury, and his mentality has collapsed. Chuya's luck value has plummeted by 100,000, and the host has gained 1 million villain values. Ding, the chosen one, Chuyi, has been reborn, only to find himself powerless to protect anything. Witnessing his sister, Chu Qingshuan, being humiliated and unable to do anything about it, Chuya's Dao heart collapses, inner demons arise, and his mental state crumbles. Chuya's luck value drops by 200,000, while the host gains 2 million villain points. 3 system announcements sounded, and Shen Junlin happily gained 39 million villain points. "Young Master Shen, please have mercy and forgive Xiaoyi this time. As long as you forgive Xiaoyi, Qingshuan will do anything." Chu Qingshuan hurriedly lowered her posture and begged. Seeing Chu Qingshuan's reaction, a playful glint flashed in Shen Junlin's eyes. "It's not impossible for me to let Chuya go, but—" As he spoke, Shen Junlin gave Chu Qingshuan a meaningful look. Chu Qingshuan's pretty face darkened, and she immediately understood what Shen Junlin wanted to do. She looked helplessly at Chuyi, who was like a dead dog, and then grabbed Shen Junlin's hand. "Young Master Shen, let's go." To the room. Chu Qingshuan bit her lip lightly, her beautiful face flushed red. Shen Junlin remained unmoved, showing no sign of yielding to Chu Qingshuan's wishes. Seeing Shen Junlin's monstrous behavior, Chu Qingshuan's gloomy face turned deathly pale. Shen Junlin revealed a wicked smile. "Let him work here, and let Xiaoyi learn a bit and gain some experience." After saying that, Shen Junlin tossed his bathrobe over Chuyi's shoulders to keep him warm. "Chuyi, look at you. If you don't study hard, you'll never change anything," Shen Junlin said with a mix of disappointment and frustration. Upon hearing this, Chuya's emotions fluctuated violently again, and his luck value plummeted. Chuya clenched his fists but dared not move, only screaming inwardly in helplessness. "Shen Junlin, I will kill you. Shen Junlin, I will kill you." Listening to Shen Junlin and Chu Qingshuan's cheerful conversation about studying, Chuya closed his eyes in pain, lay motionless on the ground, and his world seemed to have lost its color. "Shen Junlin!" Chuya was furious, his anger overwhelming him, and he fainted. Chapter 254, Killing someone is like destroying their spirit. 2.5 days later, Chuya slowly woke up in his hospital bed. Looking at the familiar VIP ward ceiling above him, Chuya instantly realized where he was. The hospital, a high-end private hospital, should undoubtedly belong to the Shen family. You're awake, a young and pretty nurse walked over. Chuya closed his eyes and did not answer. If he was not mistaken, this girl was probably sent by that scumbag Shen Junlin to spy on him. The young nurse didn't even ask if the criminal in the bed was feeling unwell. She picked up her phone, sent the hospital director a message saying, "Patient has woken up," and then quietly sat down to scroll through short videos, continuing her paid slacking off. 2 days ago, Chu Yi, who had fainted from anger, was sent by Shen Junlin to the most famous private hospital in Jiangbei City. Under Shen Junlin's instructions, a professional team performed a special operation on Chu Yi. To ensure the success of the surgery, after discussing the work with Chu Qingshuan, Shen Junlin spent a huge sum of 5,000 villain points to give Chu Yi an injection of an anesthetic specifically designed to counter grandmasters, ensuring that Chu Yi would not wake up during the operation. With the full efforts of the professional team, Chu Yi had some useless tissue removed and a functional biomimetic device for assisting urination, which was enough to change Chu Yi's mindset, was stitched up. After a full day of work by the professional team, the surgery was a complete success, and Chu Yi was successfully transferred to the top-floor VIP ward of the hospital to recuperate. Recently, the Mo family of Jiangbei has been investigated and dealt with by the Jiangbei Law Enforcement Bureau for allegedly hiring someone to commit assassination. Relevant personnel have been arrested, and the specific details of the case are still under investigation. Next, let's interview the school involved. Reporter, Principal, are you aware that some students at your school have actively participated in intentional acts of violence? Principal, we are deeply sorry for the incident involving this student from Chu. The fact that such a student has such a bad record is a dereliction of duty on the part of our teachers. He arrogantly and sadly admitted to this heartbreaking event. Reporter, the perpetrator of this deliberate attack was a graduating student from your school. How will your school handle this student? Principal, the school has dismissed the offender, and the relevant teacher has been temporarily suspended pending a fair trial by law enforcement. The principal spoke righteously and sternly to reporters about the school's specific handling of Chu Yi. Watching the video report, the young nurse kept glancing warily at Chu Yi, who was pretending to be dead on the hospital bed. What a scumbag! He's wasting his prime years studying and instead became a killer like everyone else. What a piece of trash! The young nurse muttered under her breath. Oh dear, I shouldn't have agreed to the director's request. I told him I'd come to take care of special patients, but I never imagined he'd turn out to be such a vicious murderer. That despicable dean, how dare he lie to me, humph. They didn't even bother to line up a few more people, leaving me to watch over everything by myself. How infuriating. The young nurse kept complaining to herself, as if she had suffered a great injustice. Knock, 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 Tilda. Just then there was a knock on the ward door. The young nurse was startled and dropped her phone, which slid to the ground near the hospital director's feet. The young nurse looked up and was surprised to find that it was the hospital director and the vice director. Ah, Deans. Oh no, I got caught slacking off at work. What am I going to do? Will I fail my internship? Wah. The young nurse was panicking. The hospital director looked at the bewildered intern standing in the ward, his face terribly grim. I'm sorry, director, I shouldn't have been using my phone during work hours. I'll never do it again. Please don't fire me, sob. The young nurse put on a pitiful act. Upon seeing this, the dean's face darkened even more. The vice dean picked up the phone, looked at it, and saw that it wasn't broken. Then he handed it to the dean next to him, who had a dark expression on his face. The hospital director glanced at the phone, then handed it back to the nurse and asked sternly, "Which department are you from?" "Dean, I think we should let this go this time. Don't punish these life-saving angels for the sake of a criminal." Just then, Shen Junlin's gentle voice rang out. Upon hearing Shen Junlin's words, the dean's expression changed instantly. He quickly smiled and flattered him. As for what young Master Shen said, it was indeed something I hadn't considered carefully. I hope young Master Shen won't take offense. Shen Junlin nodded slightly and ordered, "All right, you may all leave. I want to interrogate this bastard myself." "Yes, young Master Shen, we'll go and inspect other places right away." The dean immediately beamed with joy. The Shen family's investment is secure. After saying that, the dean grabbed the dazed intern nurse with one hand and left with the vice dean at lightning speed. There were only 2 people in the ward, Shen Junlin and Chu Yi, who was lying on the bed pretending to be dead. "Chu Yi, stop pretending. There are only 2 of us in the room now. Let's talk." Shen Junlin walked up to Chu Yi, looking down at the man feigning death on the bed. Chu Yi clenched his fists, but accidentally aggravated the wound on his waist, causing him to turn pale and break out in a cold sweat from the pain. At that moment, the experienced Chu Yi instantly realized that one of his lovely, muscular kidneys was gone. Shen Junlin! Chu Yi sat up angrily, his eyes blazing with fury as he glared at Shen Junlin, wishing he could grind Shen Junlin to dust. Shen Junlin waved his hand dismissively, saying, "All right, Chu Yi, stop your incompetent barking. What can you do to me now besides barking in vain?" Hearing Shen Junlin's sarcastic remark that threatened to kill and destroy his spirit, Chu Yi was furious. But having lost all his cultivation and feeling weak all over, he was ultimately unable to make a move. "Shen Junlin, I will kill you." Chu Yi glared at Shen Junlin with bloodshot eyes and uttered these harsh words. "Kill me? Ha ha ha." Shen Junlin laughed wildly, then mocked arrogantly. "Chu Yi, that day your sister used all her skills to serve me in order to please me and make me show leniency. You're still spouting nonsense now, but later your sister will be the one to suffer the consequences." Chu Yi trembled with rage. His kidneys, penis, liver, lungs. Wounds in many places on his body burst open, causing Chu Yi excruciating pain. This feeling was even more unbearable for Chu Yi than when he ate shit on the immortal continent. Seeing Chu Yi's exasperation, Shen Junlin deliberately took a half step forward and added, "By the way, Chu Yi, your sister is very copyright run." Shen Junlin! Chu Yi was so angry that his eyes were practically bulging with rage. Look, Xiao Yi, you're getting impatient again. How can I not now be considered your brother-in-law? Your sister is lucky to be with me. You should be wishing her well." Shen Junlin continued to rub salt into Chu Yi's wounds. Chu Yi's face twisted with rage, and he generously gifted Shen Junlin hundreds of thousands of luck halos. "Xiao Yi, I know you have a good relationship with your sister, but you two are siblings, and I am your brother-in-law now. I am the person your sister knows best. You should be blessing us." Shen Junlin continued to comfort her earnestly, deliberately emphasizing the word "knows best" in his tone. "Shen Junlin!" Chu Yi was so angry he wanted to kill that bastard Shen Junlin right then and there. In his past life, he was humiliated by Shen Junlin. After being reborn, he was humiliated again by this Shen Junlin, whose background he knew nothing about. The mighty and invincible immortal emperor of the starry sky had never suffered so much injustice. If he weren't so confident that he would lose all his cultivation, he would have taken Shen Junlin down with him even if he died. "Oh, by the way, Xiao Yi, we had a friendly sparring session 2.5 days ago, and your brother-in-law accidentally kicked you too hard, causing you to be unable to have sex. He specially had someone install a device for you. Check it carefully and see if it works." Shen Junlin kindly reminded and comforted you. Upon hearing this, Chu Yi's expression changed drastically. He pulled down his pants, his vision went black, and he fainted from anger. Now he's really showing off. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 255 Conditions for Forgiving Chu Yi. 2.5 days later, Chu Yi's injuries had mostly healed. After 2.5 days of self-encouragement, Chu Yi readjusted his mindset and temporarily settled down to bide his time. "Shen Junlin, if you don't kill me, you'll definitely regret it." A murderous glint flashed in Chu Yi's eyes. As a celestial emperor, Chu Yi possessed hundreds of methods for repairing Danshan. He didn't take the mere destruction of his Danshan seriously at all. In the past 2.5 days, Chu Yi has not been idle. Taking advantage of this short period of quiet time, Chu Yi has repaired a small part of his Danshan. In another 3 days, his Danshan will be successfully rebuilt and become even stronger. As for that mere 2 ounces of meat, Chu Yi was in no hurry. Anyway, there was no rush to pass the exam now. He could deal with it later. Squeak! Suddenly, the ward door opened again. Chu Yi looked up and saw that the person who came was none other than Shen Junlin, whom Chu Yi hated with a passion. "What are you doing here?" Chu Yi stared at Shen Junlin expressionlessly. "Chu Yi, do you think I'm as idle as you?" Shen Junlin chuckled dismissively, then stepped aside to give Chu Yi a moment's respite, revealing 2 white-haired figures behind him. Chu Buxing and Song Shiyu, Chu Yi's parents. "Dad, Mom, what brings you here?" Upon seeing his parents, whom he hadn't seen for 1,000 years, Chu Yi's eyes welled up with tears. 1,000 years, a full 1,000 years. "Xiao Yi, it's not just your dad and me, but also your sister," Chu's mother, Song Shiyu, said, fighting back tears. "Sister, my sister is here too." Chu Yi felt a mix of emotions. The fact that my parents came means my sister must have paid a heavy price for what she did to that beast Shen Junlin. Kingshuan, don't just stand outside the door, come in and see your brother. Chu's mother, Song Shiyu, called out with a forced smile. Hearing this, Chu Kingshuan suppressed her physical discomfort and walked in with unsteady steps. Young Master Shen. Chu Kingshuan looked at Shen Junlin pleadingly, hoping he would let her off the hook. Shen Junlin's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery as he pressed the gearbox in his pocket. Chu Kingshuan felt as if she had been electrocuted, and her breathing immediately became heavier. Young Master Shen, my son has committed a heinous crime. It is because my Chu family has failed to discipline him properly. I will definitely give young Master Shen a satisfactory explanation. I hope that young Master Shen will forgive my son this time for Kingshuan's sake. Chu Buxing, the father, hurriedly knelt down before Shen Junlin and made this promise. The fact that Chu Yi attempted to assassinate Shen Junlin is now common knowledge throughout the great Xia dynasty. The matter has caused quite a stir, and even Mo Zhenbei, the patriarch of the Mo family, the leading family in Jiangbei, was promoted to bureau chief because of it. Chu Yi was outmatched and was captured on the spot by Shen Junlin, who then sent him to the hospital. The situation was serious, and Chu Buxing and Song Shiyu were kept out of the hospital. Only after Chu Kingshuan's repeated efforts did the Chu family obtain Shen Junlin's permission to enter the ward and visit Chu Yi. Father, don't beg him. I did nothing wrong. Chu Yi roared at his father, Chu Buxing, with extreme emotion. His chest heaved violently, as if the anger within him was about to erupt. Shen Junlin smiled slightly, a hint of contempt and disdain in his smile. Shen Junlin looked disdainfully at Chu Buxing, who was kneeling on the ground, and slowly said, "Spare him? Heh. Chu Buxing, aren't you being too naive? Do you think my safety is a trivial matter that can be ignored? Or do you think your Chu family is qualified to negotiate with me? Or do you think your daughter Chu Kingshuan's influence is enough to make me let your good-for-nothing son off the hook?" Hearing Shen Junlin's words, which pierced his heart, Chu Buxing lowered his head speechlessly. What his son Chu Yi did could be described as an irreconcilable feud with the Shen family. But Chu Yi was, after all, his only son, so he could only bow his head and beg. "Young Master Shen, I understand the mistake my son made, but he is my only son. Please forgive him this time for the sake of my daughter's marriage to you. I assure you, I will keep a close watch on him from now on, and will not let that unfilial son step out of the house. Young Master Shen will agree to any price as long as you promise to let Xiao Yi go." Chu's mother, Song Shiyu, also stepped forward. Song Shiyu was born into the Song family in the capital. She had never asked anyone for help since she was a child. Back then, she even broke with the Song family to be with Chu Buxing. Now, for the sake of her son Chu Yi, she bowed her head for the first time. "Oh," Shen Junlin looked Song Shiyu up and down with interest, and said with a smile, "Miss Song, I've heard of you. You were once the most beautiful woman in the capital. You broke with the Song family for love, and the Song family is still the talk of the town among other wealthy families in the capital. Young Master Shen is joking. I have long since severed ties with the Song family," Song Shiyu explained, her expression somewhat unpleasant. She disliked Shen Junlin's scrutinizing gaze, but for her son's sake, she had to endure it. "Without the Song family, where would Miss Song get the courage to negotiate with me?" Shen Junlin brazenly sized up Song Shiyu's figure. Feeling Shen Junlin's aggressive gaze, Song Shiyu suppressed her anger and said coldly, "Young Master Shen, just say what you want." Shen Junlin stared at Song Shiyu without restraint and laughed. "Miss Song, I see you still have a lot of charm." "You," Song Shiyu's voice rose and fell with anger. "Shen Junlin, come at me if you dare. What kind of skill is it to bully a woman?" Chu Yi roared furiously. Shen Junlin took out a remote-control device and pressed it lightly. The iron chains on Chu Yi's limbs and neck tightened instantly, fixing Chu Yi firmly to the hospital bed, unable to move. Chu Buxing quickly stood in front of Song Shiyu. "Young Master Shen, I, Chu Buxing, will never agree to this request." Shen Junlin shook his head, not caring at all, and said, "If Miss Song is unwilling, I will not force her. You should go back. While you are young, you may be able to give Chu Yi another younger brother." As he spoke, Shen Junlin pressed another button, and the special alloy iron chain that was tightly locking Chu Yi instantly released an electric current, causing Chu Yi to twitch uncontrollably without uttering a sound. "Chu Kingshuan, go rest next door for a while. You can talk things out slowly. I'm not in a hurry." After saying that, Shen Junlin left Chu Yi's ward and casually pressed the accelerator again, turning it to maximum power. Chu Kingshuan's delicate body stiffened, and she almost lost her balance. Seeing the change in their daughter's expression, the experienced Chu Buxing and Song Shiyu instantly understood what had happened to her. Not long after, Song Shiyu helped the weak Chu Qingshuan to Shen Junlin's room to seek help. Have you thought it through? Shen Junlin lay leisurely on the hospital bed. Song Shiyu nodded reluctantly. I agree to your request. After saying that, Song Shiyu looked at her daughter Chu Qingshuan with a complicated expression. Qingshuan, you go out first. I will talk to young Master Shen about this alone. No need, it's just treating an illness, nothing shady. You don't need to go out, Shen Junlin commanded calmly. Hearing Shen Junlin's words, Song Shiyu and Chu Qingshuan said nothing more. Song Shiyu helped her weak and powerless daughter walk towards Shen Junlin. Silence for a day. Chapter 256, Chu Yi's demonic possession. By evening, Shen Junlin, who had been busy all afternoon, walked out with a radiant face. Chu Buxing stood at the door, his eyes bloodshot and filled with immense pain. He had no idea what he had gone through that afternoon. Shen Junlin patted Chu Buxing on the shoulder and comforted him with a refreshed expression. Brother Chu, don't worry, the surgery was a success. After a few hours of rest, Miss Song and Miss Chu will be able to get out of bed and move around. Chu Buxing suppressed the urge to clench his fist in his anger and asked respectfully, Young Master Shen, what about my son? Shen Junlin waved his hand casually and laughed. No problem. I'll go and treat your son's injuries right away. You can wait here for a moment. Yes, Chu Buxing lowered his head in humiliation. After instructing the goalkeeper Chu Buxing, Shen Junlin quickly arrived at Chu Yi's ward. With a wave of his hand, a soundproof barrier enveloped the ward. Shen Junlin, I'm going to kill you, kill you. Chu Yi struggled and barked wildly. Chu Yi's eyes were bloodshot, and the 2 streaks of blood and tears on his face were still clearly visible. Shen Junlin crossed his arms, looking at Chu Yi with a good mood, and mocked. Chu Yi, I told you you can't change anything. Tusk, tusk, tusk. Chu Yi, look at you in such a sorry state. Where is the invincible, immortal Emperor demeanor you once possessed? You agree, don't you, immortal Emperor Wuji? Shen Junlin shook his head, staring unabashedly at the immobile Chu Yi. You're not Shen Junlin. Who are you? How do you know my secret? Chu Yi's eyes widened in disbelief. The title Boundless Immortal Emperor was the respectful title bestowed upon him by various Dao lineages on the immortal continent 900 years later. Logically speaking, no one should know his true identity. But Shen Junlin not only knew everything about him, Chu Yi, but also set a trap for him in advance, devising such a vicious scheme to destroy his Dao heart. If he is an enemy, then who is he? And how did he end up being reborn into this era with him? Chu Yi stared intently at Shen Junlin, seemingly trying to discern something from him. Chu Yi, you don't need to think about it anymore. I am Shen Junlin. Shen Junlin spoke the truth. Impossible, you could never be Shen Junlin. Shen Junlin doesn't have your strength and cunning. Chu Yi stared intently at Shen Junlin, but he couldn't see through the true nature of this Shen Junlin before him. All right, I won't waste my breath on you. If you don't believe me, go down and think about it slowly. To be honest, your mother's hospitality was indeed excellent. I'm in a good mood right now, so I'll reluctantly forgive you this time, you unfilial son. With that, Shen Junlin threw the iron chain key onto Chu Yi's lower abdomen and swaggered out of the ward under Chu Yi's murderous gaze. Ding, the host has become the stepfather of Chu Yi, the chosen one, causing Chu Yi's Dao heart to collapse in anger. Chu Yi's luck value drops by 1 million, and the host gains 10 million villain points, 10 million. Ding, the host has engaged in a friendly exchange with the birth mother and sister of Chu Yi, the chosen one of destiny, shattering Chu Yi's defenses and breaking his Dao heart. Chu Yi's luck value has plummeted by 1 million, and the host has gained 10 million villain points, 10 million. Ding, the chosen one Chu Yi's mental state has shattered, regret has become a nightmare. Chu Yi's mentality has exploded, his eyes are bloodshot. Chu Yi's luck value has decreased by 500,000, and the host has gained 5 million villain points, 5 million. Ding, the chosen one, Chu Yi, has developed a fear of the host's unknown identity, causing inner demons to fester and his mental state to become flawed. Chu Yi's luck value has been reduced by 200,000, and the host has gained 2 million villain points, 2 million. Ding, the chosen one, Chu Yi, witnessed his loved ones being humiliated but was powerless to do anything about it. His lofty ambitions and vows were shattered. His mental state was severely damaged, and inner demons began to grow. Chu Yi's luck value decreased by 100,000, and the host gained 1 million villain points, 1 million. Chu Yi, the chosen one, has a remaining luck value of 10 million, 10 million. In just a few hours, Chu Yi lost another 2,800,000, 2,800,000 luck points, and his total luck points dropped by half. Shen Junlin estimated that this was probably the limit of the luck that Chuya could squeeze out from his family. The remaining luck, barring any unforeseen circumstances, should be related to Chuya's great opportunities later on. This conclusion was drawn from the fact that no more scattered villain points were credited after Shen Junlin's system broadcast ended. Shen Junlin had already anticipated this. Normally, great cultivators are impeccable in terms of Dao heart and perseverance. If it weren't for Chuya's profound experiences in his previous life, Shen Junlin wouldn't have been able to acquire so many villain points so easily. This approach only works on Chu Qingshuan and Song Shiyu. On Mo Qingwu, it would have negligible effect, and that's only if the Mo family, a major lackey, is involved. If the Mo family weren't useful to Chuya at this time, even if he killed the entire Mo family in front of him, Chuya wouldn't even bat an eye. At most, Chuya will develop his strength and help the Mo family take revenge, and that's it. Just like in the original timeline, when Chuya returned to the Immortal Continent, he found that the time in the Immortal Continent had not changed. Chuya's forces were destroyed, and all his subordinates and followers died. Chuya just made a vow in his heart and then started to play the hero and pick up girls everywhere. It wasn't until he faced his enemies again that Chuya took the opportunity to avenge his subordinates. "Young Master Shen, what about my son?" Chu Buxing asked, his face trembling as soon as he stepped out of the room. "I threw the key on that rebellious son. Go in and open it yourself. I'll cancel the warrant when I get back," Shen Junlin said impatiently. "Young Master Shen, can my wife and daughter leave now?" Chu Buxing asked cautiously. "You mean Miss Song and Miss Chu?" Shen Junlin paused deliberately, then solemnly instructed. "Miss Song and Miss Chu still have a few more treatment sessions. They can go home after the treatment is over. Just wait." "Yes," Chu Buxing lowered his head in humiliation. He has let down his daughter Chu Qingshuan and his wife Song Shiyu, making the two women bear so much for the Chu family. "All right, you can go in now. I have other matters to attend to." Shen Junlin waved his hand impatiently, dismissing Chu Buxing as if he were a beggar. "Yes." Just as Chu Buxing had one foot in his son Chuya's hospital room, Shen Junlin called out to Chu Buxing again. "Brother Chu, there's one more thing." Hearing Shen Junlin's whisper, which sounded like it came from hell, Chu Buxing immediately stopped what he was doing, turned around, and forced a smile onto his face. "Young Master Shen, is there anything else? Miss Song and Miss Chu are in serious condition and need to be available at any time so that I can examine them. Remember to tell them this." "I understand, young Master Shen," Chu Buxing reluctantly agreed. Shen Junlin nodded in satisfaction and smiled. "Brother Chu, you continue with your work. I have other matters to attend to, so I'll be leaving now. Remember to tell Miss Song and Miss Chu to come often." "Yes, young Master Shen." Chu Buxing lowered his head in anguish. Inside the room, Chu Yi, who had overheard the two's conversation, was so angry that his eyes were practically bloodshot. "Shen Junlin, I will kill you, I will kill you." Chu Yi roared inwardly, his voice filled with impotence. Chu Yi dared not shout out, fearing that his mother and sister would be humiliated again because of his impulsiveness. Driven by boundless anger and hatred, the inner demons invisibly invaded Chuya's Dao heart, and a wisp of demonic energy suddenly surged from Chuya's body. Chuya has fallen into demonic possession. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Tylettery 05, symbol 333, symbol 333, Tylettery 05. Chapter 257, I will definitely come back. Night. Chuya sat cross-legged on the hospital bed, his internal energy flowing and circulating in a certain pattern. 1 week, 2 weeks, 44 weeks, 105 weeks, 144 weeks. After Chuya circulated the spirit-devouring technique for 144 weeks, he repaired his Danshin and forcibly fused his 5 elemental spiritual roots into a brand new alternative spiritual root, the pseudo-heaven-devouring spiritual root, which can evolve. The false-devouring heavenly spiritual root is the most evil acquired spiritual root on the Immortal Continent. It is intolerable to heaven and earth and can devour all blood and evil power in the world, turning it into devouring spiritual energy. After the pseudo-heavenly devouring spiritual root successfully evolves, it possesses the heaven-defying ability to devour all the energy in the world and turn it into its own. Due to its powerful and abnormal abilities, any being possessing or pseudo-heavenly spiritual root will inevitably be attacked by all forces in the Immortal Continent. Legend has it that the cultivation technique for obtaining the heavenly spiritual root, known as the Heavenly Devouring Great Method, was created in ancient times by an unparalleled master who wished to remain anonymous. This technique was obtained by Chu Yi from a heretical cultivator in his previous life. At that time, Chu Yi had already become an immortal emperor and was very disdainful of such unorthodox methods. After understanding the reason, he casually threw it into his storage ring to gather dust. Although the storage ring was destroyed under the heavenly tribulation, Chu Yi had already memorized the contents of the cultivation technique. Chu Yi exhaled a breath of stale air, walked to the window, and looked at the flowing river in the distance. A fierce glint flashed in Chu Yi's eyes. "Shen Junlin, you forced me to do this. Shen Junlin, not killing me will be the biggest regret of your life." Looking at the surging river in the distance, Chu Yi silently vowed in his heart, "Jiangbei, I will definitely come back. Mother, sister, please bear with me a little longer. I will definitely avenge you." After saying that, Chu Yi didn't hesitate for a moment, leaping away and easily escaping the private hospital. Taking advantage of the darkness, Chu Yi leaped between houses at top speed, quickly getting away from the private hospital arranged by Shen Junlin and arriving at the banks of the Tiansong River. Chu Yi didn't linger. He walked on water and under the cover of night, successfully escaped from Jiangbei and entered the Jiangnan region. On the other side, Shen Junlin was fast asleep, holding Song Shiyu in his arms, and the night passed without incident. As the sun rose high in the sky, Shen Junlin, exhausted from a long day, opened his sleepy eyes, gave his hands a casual massage, and then began his morning exercise. Half an hour later, Shen Junlin left the room, satisfied. System, view Chu Yi's panel. The second thing I did upon waking up was to check on Chu Yi's condition as usual. Chu Yi, the Chosen One panel. Name Chu Yi. Age 18, actual age 1036. Physical condition, none at present. Spiritual root, pseudo-heavenly spiritual root, alternative spiritual root. Realm, Qi refining level 7. Combat strength, capable of fighting against ordinary grandmasters at their peak. Power, Chu family. Identity, prospective heir of the Chu family. Main cultivation techniques. White Emperor's reverse life technique. Heaven devouring great technique. Body refining and tempering technique. Supplementary cultivation method. Yin-yang Qi swallowing technique. Luck value, 13 million, originally 20 million. Fortune level, pale gold. Current location, Jiangdong Province, Great Xia Kingdom, Blue Star. Ifold. Upon seeing the change in Chu Yi's luck value, Shen Junlin's expression changed. System, will this luck value increase further? Ding host, the saying goes, darkening makes you 10 times stronger, while whitewashing makes you 3 times weaker. The Chosen One, Chu Yi, has been forced into demonic possession and darkness by the host, and has decided to abandon his weakness by cultivating forbidden and evil arts. Therefore, his luck value has skyrocketed. Shen Junlin nodded and murmured, "No weaknesses, that's not a good sign. No, I need to break through quickly, lest that brat Chu Yi sneaks into my base." Having made his decision, Shen Junlin told his secretary that he was going out for a walk, and then quickly left the urban area of Jiangbei City, arriving in a desolate and remote mountain forest. System, exchange for peak golden core cultivation. Ding, host's villain value has been successfully deducted. Congratulations, host, you have obtained the early stage of golden core cultivation. Subsequent cultivation levels will be obtained after the tribulation ends. As the villain's value was successfully deducted, dark clouds suddenly gathered over Jiangbei, with lightning flashing within the clouds. Boom. Start with 0 frames. Before Shen Junlin was ready, he was struck by lightning and his clothes were completely torn to shreds. Cough, cough, Shen Junlin scrambled to his feet in a disheveled state. Boom. Without the slightest hesitation, Chen Zhou launched his attack at 0 frames, with no skill animation delay whatsoever, leaving Shen Junlin speechless. Boom. 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 After the tribulation ended, Shen Junlin successfully competed for the peak of the Golden Core stage, becoming the undisputed #1 powerhouse on Blue Star. Shen Junlin clenched his fist, his eyes filled with excitement. So this is the power of a Golden Core cultivator, truly terrifying. He feels that tearing apart an aircraft carrier with his bare hands is no problem at all now. After getting used to it, Shen Junlin readjusted and used the ability of a peak Golden Core cultivator to fly and escape into the ground. In just a few breaths, he arrived at an altitude of 2,000 meters above the Pacific Ocean. Looking down at the vast ocean, he said in a deep voice, "System, exchange this for a peak nascent soul cultivation level for me." Ding, host's villain value has been successfully deducted. Congratulations on obtaining the early stage of the nascent soul realm. The tribulation is approaching. Please prepare yourself. Subsequent cultivation levels will be gained after the tribulation. Shen Junlin looked up, and in an instant, dark clouds gathered over the Pacific Ocean, plunging the entire Pacific sky into darkness. The expressions of the people on cargo ships and cruise ships sailing in the Pacific Ocean changed drastically in an instant, and they hurriedly adjusted their response measures. "Captain, something's wrong. The satellite radar has lost signal," a crew member shouted anxiously. "What?" the captain exclaimed in shock, immediately issuing orders. "Search for the problem quickly, and at the same time, try to contact the outside world. Activate emergency plan number 1. The captain gave the orders instantly, and the cruise ship sprang into action. "My God, dear God, please forgive your devout believer." An old missionary clasped his hands together and prayed fervently. "Oh my goodness! Holy crap, why did I have to encounter this kind of awful weather on my first time at sea? I only ate a little bit. Why did this weather have to happen? Great sea God, please calm your anger and forgive your poor believer." Boom! A deafening thunderclap resounded over the Pacific Ocean. Shen Junlin was struck by lightning from a height of 2,000 meters to a height of 1,300 meters. Shen Junlin did not back down. Using his experience as a prodigy from the cultivation world, he steadied himself and faced the second, third, and fourth lightning tribulations that arrived in an instant. The sky was covered with dark clouds, the sea was calm, and the lightning tribulation had no effect on others except that the signal could not penetrate the tribulation clouds. The tribulation was controlled by Chen Zhou. Although the ships on the sea and the planes in the sky were in a panic, it was at most a false alarm, and there was no major problem. Not long after, Shen Junlin successfully overcame his tribulation. The tribulation clouds dissipated, and the Pacific Ocean instantly returned to calm. Shen Junlin did not choose to stop. With the cultivation of the peak of the nascent soul stage, Shen Junlin flashed to the far side of the moon and began to undergo the tribulation of the God transformation stage. After successfully surviving the nascent soul tribulation, Shen Junlin checked the prices for subsequent realms. Peak of the returning to void stage, 70 million villain values. Peak of the combined stage, 500 million villain value. Peak tribulation stage, 100 million 10 billion villain value. Peak of Mahayana stage, 999,999,999, 900, and 99,900,999,999,999 villain value. After checking the price, to be on the safe side, Shen Junlin decisively exchanged for the peak cultivation of the returning void stage. Chapter 258, The World is Shocked, and Reactions from All Sides. After Shen Junlin teleported home, major hidden forces around the world emerged one after another. The Zhongbei Mountains, a place for tribulations, are home to Chen Linjian, the #1 expert of the Great Xia dynasty. The Wang family, an ancient martial arts family of the Great Xia dynasty. The Jiang family, an ancient martial arts family of the Great Xia dynasty. The Xuanwu sect, a hidden sect of the Great Xia dynasty. The Tianjian sect, a hidden sect of the Great Xia dynasty. The Medicine King Valley. The Shen family of the capital city. The Song family of the capital city. The Tang family of the capital city. The Gu family of Jiangnan. The Zhang family of the northwest. Dozens of prominent figures from the Great Xia dynasty gathered in Jiangbei. "General Chen, what's your opinion on this matter?" Shen Zhaoqi, the patriarch of the Shen family, asked in a deep voice. "The traces here are very similar to those recorded in ancient books about terrestrial immortals undergoing tribulation. In my judgment, this place should be the result of a powerful person undergoing tribulation," Chen Linjian analyzed solemnly. "What, a terrestrial immortal? How is this possible?" The Wang family patriarch beside him was utterly shocked. The last terrestrial immortal in the history of the Great Xia dynasty was the leader of the Celestial Masters sect 1,000 years ago. After that, no one in the world has ever broken through to become a terrestrial immortal. It seems that an inexplicable layer of confinement has been added to the world, and no matter how amazing or extraordinary you are, you cannot break through that vast layer. Later, even the divine realm disappeared from the world, gradually becoming legendary figures in the martial arts world. Looking across the entire Great Xia dynasty, Chen Linjian is the only publicly known divine realm martial artist, which shows how rare divine realm martial artists are. "Wang Gao, why are you yelling so loudly?" Just because you can't break through doesn't mean everyone else can't. If you're bad, practice more. Stop making a fuss here. You're not ashamed, but I am, the Jiang family patriarch said sarcastically without giving any face. HMPH, Jiang Wen, stop trying to teach me how to do things. If you're not happy, come and have a go at me. Let's see who's the real pushover, the Wang family patriarch shouted. Enough, Chen Linjian shouted sharply. Seeing Chen Linjian's anger, the two patriarchs stopped arguing and turned their faces away simultaneously, refusing to look at each other. Master Mao, you are well versed in Taoist arts and techniques. Can you deduce this person's background from these traces? Chen Linjian approached the current leader of the Celestial Masters sect and humbly inquired. Master Mao shook his head and said, General Chen, this person has long since transcended martial arts and entered the realm of terrestrial immortals. I am ashamed to say that I cannot deduce his existence. Actually, Master Mao wasn't unable to deduce the truth, but he was worried that the person would sense it and come back to cause trouble for him. He couldn't possibly defeat a terrestrial immortal, and he wouldn't dare. Upon hearing Master Mao's answer, a hint of disappointment flashed in Chen Linjian's eyes. If only he could find that powerful figure, pay him a visit, and seek a way to break the shackles of heaven and earth. Over the Pacific Ocean, helicopters and satellites from various countries searched back and forth, trying to pinpoint the exact location of the lightning strike. Unfortunately, the Pacific Ocean is too vast, and the dark clouds covering the entire Pacific were too extensive to pinpoint the exact location of the thunderstorm. Japan. Miyamoto-kun, I've heard that someone in the Great Xia has successfully broken the shackles of heaven and earth and entered the realm of terrestrial immortals. Why don't we unite with the major empires and go to the Great Xia to investigate? A young man suggested with a serious expression. Yamamoto-kun, you don't know this, but the Great Xia dynasty sealed off the tribulation grounds from the very beginning. No one can get close, Miyamoto Musashi explained, shaking his head. Miyamoto-kun, are you still the #1 swordsman of our great Japan? You're actually afraid of a Great Xia warrior. You coward, Hayata Samurai angrily accused. Baka Hayata, don't drag us into your mess. Great Xia now possesses a terrestrial immortal. If you want to die, go ahead and die yourself. I'm not going, Miyamoto Musashi replied sternly. The 12 temples of the West. Apollo, the chief god of the Temple of the Sun. Gentlemen, someone in the Great Xia has broken the shackles of heaven and earth. Are you interested in going to take a look? Apollo, none of us are a match for Chen Linjian. If we act rashly and accidentally offend him, even the Father God might not be able to protect us, Athena calmly analyzed. Athena is right. We 12 Olympians have a deep-seated grudge against the Great Xia. The situation is currently unknown. If we try to sneak in and are discovered by that Great Xia ruler, even 100 lives wouldn't be enough for us, Poseidon chimed in. It's just a rumor about someone possibly breaking through to true godhood, and you're all so terrified. You're supposed to be the chief gods of the 12 temples, yet you're such cowards, Ares said with displeasure. Ares, since you're so confident, then this matter will be left to you to investigate. Hermes looked at Ares expressionlessly. Ares slammed his fist on the table, stood up, and shouted, Go then, you bunch of rats, just wait for my good news. After saying that, Ares left the conference room. The gods looked at each other, none of them stopping them and none of them following them. Father God's breakthrough is imminent. As for the matter of Great Xia, let's wait until Father God emerges from seclusion. After a long pause, Artemis broke the deadlock. The gods all nodded in agreement with Artemis's view. If the warriors of the Great Xia dynasty can break through, then their father, Zeus, can naturally do the same. When Zeus ascends to the level of a true god, a terrestrial immortal, they will naturally learn the secret to breaking the shackles of heaven and earth. On the other side, scientists from the Great Eagle Federation were gathered around the instruments, constantly testing and comparing some of the data they had been lucky enough to collect in the Pacific Ocean. Fuck no, recalculate. No, this is impossible. The lightning energy level is wrong. It's completely beyond the normal range. Impossible. Natural lightning cannot continuously unleash such astonishing energy. This is fake. This is not scientific. Profanity kept escaping from the lab. At the same time, Chu Yi, who was at the 9th level of Qi refining, looked solemnly towards the north of the river. Shen Junlin, Chu Yi clenched his fists. Chu Yi knew the identity of the person undergoing tribulation, Shen Junlin. This mysterious and powerful figure who suddenly appeared was completely beyond Chu Yi's comprehension. He couldn't even discern the cultivation methods and paths the other party used. But Shen Junlin seemed to know her very well, and even knew the secret of her rebirth. This kind of enemy is undoubtedly a very troublesome existence. The only thing Chu Yi was certain of was that the other party should be from the immortal continent like her, and was also a powerful cultivator who knew her. Could it be that time in the cultivation world has not been reversed? Chu Yi suddenly thought of a possibility. If the cultivation world is still in the time after she transcended her tribulation in her previous life, it's not impossible that an enemy might come to Blue Star by chance. If that's the case, how did this person know my identity? A new question arose in Chu Yi's mind. In her previous life, she went to the immortal continent through a soul transmigration, similar to possession. Her appearance was completely different from now, and she hadn't revealed anything about herself yet. Logically speaking, Shen Junlin should not have been able to discover her secret. But the truth is, Shen Junlin not only coerced her sister Chu Qingshuan, but also targeted the Mo family in advance. Chu Yi couldn't be sure if the coercion of Chu Qingshuan had happened at this time in his previous life. But at this time, only Mo Qingwu had died in the Mo family, and there was no news of Mo Qingwu being taken away by Shen Junlin. Chu Yi shook his head and said with a wry smile, "Forget it, things will work themselves out. Let's just take it one step at a time." At worst, she could just stay away from Shen Junlin for the time being. "Mother, sister, please bear with me a little longer. Once I have achieved sufficient cultivation, I will definitely return to save you from this sea of suffering," Chu Yi silently vowed in his heart. Chapter 259, Master Chu of Jiangnan. Chu Wuji wins the 9th round, the referee announced in a high-pitched and impassioned voice. The moment the words were spoken, the entire arena erupted in cheers. "Bravo!" The audience who bet on Chu Wuji's 9th consecutive championship were so excited that they danced with joy, and their cheers resounded through the sky. "I knew this kid would win, ha ha ha!" One of the spectators shouted excitedly, his face beaming with joy. Another spectator cheered, "Ha ha ha, we're rich, we're rich." People around them cast envious glances, while regretting that they hadn't guessed correctly. "Mr. Chu, congratulations on standing out and becoming the first 9-crown king in Jiangnan." A dignified old man calmly stepped onto the stage and bowed to Chu Yi in congratulations. Despite such praise, Chu Yi showed no joy whatsoever. "Enough with the nonsense, take me to see your boss," Chu Yi commanded without a trace of emotion. Chu Yi didn't care at all about such a trivial honor as the #1 boxing champion in Jiangnan. In her eyes, these were nothing but empty titles, utterly useless. Now, Chu Yi just wants to see that mysterious boss as soon as possible and get what she wants. Seeing that Chu Wuji was not giving him face, the old man's face darkened instantly. "Young man, don't think that just because you have some strength, you can be so arrogant. The world is vast, and talented people are as numerous as the stars. Your arrogance and recklessness will likely lead to great trouble in the future. I'll say it again, take me to see your boss," Chu Yi commanded impatiently. Seeing Chu Yi's ungrateful attitude, the old man felt insulted. "Boy, today I'll teach you a lesson and show you what it means to respect your elders," the old man roared. Smack! Chu Yi slapped the old man, sending him flying backward instantly. "I said take me to see your boss." Chu Yi's eyes were devoid of any emotion. Cough, cough. The old man struggled to his feet, the bloody handprint on his face clearly visible. "Come with me." The old man, suddenly struck by a large, forceful blow, became obedient. "Let's go," Chu Yi said expressionlessly, arms crossed. Led by the old man, Chu Yi met the mastermind behind this underground boxing ring. "So you are Chu Wuji, truly a young genius," the behind-the-scenes boss, Liu Guangtu, said with a token of praise. Then Liu Guangtu changed the subject and offered, 7 million a year, you'll keep things under control for me, how about it?" 7 million, Liu Guangtu, do you really think I, Chu Wuji, am a fool? Chu Yi looked at Liu Guangtu with displeasure. Liu Guangtu suddenly felt a chill in his heart, as if he were being stared at by a raging beast. "How about 10 million? Liu Guangtu changed his question, testing the waters. Chu Yi stared at Liu Guangtu expressionlessly. "Then 20 million, Liu Guangtu held up 2 fingers. "Chu Wuji, 20 million is already a lot. Don't try to make an exorbitant demand," the old man who had been beaten earlier shouted angrily. A cold smile flashed across Chu Yi's face. "I want you all to submit to me." After the incident with Shen Junlin, Chu Yi's personality changed drastically. He decided to stop with all the pretense, and instead of getting these people to hand over their resources honestly, he would just rob them by force. Only by quickly integrating resources can she fight against Shen Junlin, who has broken through to the Golden Core stage. "Insolence!" shouted the martial artist beside Liu Guangtu. Liu Guantu slowly raised his hand, signaling to his angry subordinate to calm down. Liu Guantu narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at the composed Chu Wuji opposite him, and a disdainful sneer appeared on his lips. Chu Wuji, it's better to have some self-awareness. Don't think that just because you won the title of Nine-Crown King, you can be on equal footing with us. Chuya didn't refute and immediately took action. Boom! With a simple punch, Chuya shattered Liu Guangtu's pride in his martial arts prowess, leaving him in a miserable state. Ugh! The martial artist's miserable screams echoed throughout the room. Shut up, Chuya sneered, crushing the head of the martial artist who was making the noise with a single stomp. Liu Guangtu was so frightened that he didn't dare to breathe, and a pool of yellow liquid appeared at his feet. Liu Guangtu, do I have that kind of ability? Chuya looked at the terrified Liu Guangtu with a half-smile. Yes, yes. Liu Guangtu nodded frantically like a chicken pecking at rice, afraid that if he hesitated even a second, he would suffer the same fate as the man on the ground. Submit to me, will you? Chuya asked with an air of superiority. I surrender, I surrender. From this day forward, I, Liu Guangqiang, am your dog, Master Chu. If you tell me to go east, I will never go west. Liu Guangqiang knelt down in fear and swore an oath. Chuya nodded in satisfaction. 2 days from now, have all the big shots from Jiangnan come to see me. Yes, Liu Guangqiang didn't dare to refuse. Chu Wuji is terrifying. Facing such a person, Liu Guangqiang dared not be careless at all, for fear that his answer would displease the other party and bring about his death. Prepare well, I expect all the big shots from Jiangnan to be here in 2 days. Chuya patted Liu Guangqiang's shoulder, a pat that nearly cracked his bone. Yes, Master Chu, I will definitely complete the mission. Liu Guangqiang gritted his teeth and agreed to Chuya's request, suppressing his pain. After giving Liu Guangqiang a dressing down, Chuya leisurely left the underground boxing ring. Meanwhile, at Shen Junlin's residence in Jiangbei, Grandson, I heard you encountered an assassin a few days ago. Are you all right? The Shen family patriarch, Shen Zaiaoki, asked with an air of authority despite his lack of anger. Grandpa, I'm fine. I crippled that assassin, Shen Junlin replied triumphantly. Oh, you even killed the assassin. You're not just trying to fool this old man again, are you? Shen Zaiaoki completely disbelieved Shen Junlin's plan. He knows exactly what level his grandson is at. His grandson is all right at managing the family, but when it comes to martial arts, he's not even worth mentioning. He has absolutely no talent for martial arts. For the sake of the Shen family's future, Shen Zaiaoki personally went to the Tang family to arrange a marriage, asking Shen Junlin to marry Tang Mingli of the Tang family, so that Tang Mingli's special physique could give birth to a child with exceptional martial arts talent for the Shen family. Grandpa, don't underestimate me. I'm telling the truth. With that, Shen Jun used one hand to open up space and took out a treasure from Medicine King Valley. Seeing Shen Junlin's ability to tear through the void, Shen Zaiaoki was stunned. You are really my grandson. Shen Zaiaoki looked at Shen Junlin with a wary expression. Apart from being more handsome and fairer than before, he looked exactly like his grandson. Grandpa, I really am your grandson. Shen Junlin was somewhat speechless. At this moment, Shen Junlin finally understood why it was difficult to explain to his parents in the novel. Then where did you get such skills? Shen Zaiaoki was still skeptical. Grandpa, this is a long story. To put it simply, I received a great opportunity, similar to the legendary Enlightenment, and then I gained power that transcended martial arts. Explained earnestly, Shen Zaiaoki nodded as if he understood, but he didn't know why his grandson's cultivation level was given to him by someone else. Shen Zaiaoki was still in a daze. The information his grandson Shen Junlin had given him was far too much, far beyond his comprehension. He needed to process it. For several days in a row, Shen Zaiaoki was processing what his grandson had told him. In the past few days, Chu Yi has also successfully taken over Jiangnan, and the name of Master Chu of Jiangnan has quickly spread throughout the martial arts circles of Jiangdong province. Of course, Chu Yi had disguised himself and changed his name. No one in Jiangnan knew that Chu Wuji was Chu Yi. Most martial artists in the Jiangdong martial arts circle only knew of a person called Master Chu and knew nothing else. Chapter 260, Let Chu Yi Challenge Chu Yi. System, View Chu Yi's panel. Chu Yi, the Chosen One panel. Name, Chu Yi. Age, 18. Actual age, 1036. Physical condition, none at present. Spiritual root, pseudo-heavenly spiritual root, alternative spiritual root. Realm, Qi refining level 13. Combat strength, capable of fighting against ordinary grandmasters at their peak. Power, Chu family. Identity, prospective heir of the Chu family. Main cultivation techniques. White Emperor's reverse life technique. Heaven devouring great technique. Body refining and tempering technique. Supplementary cultivation method. Yin-yang qi swallowing technique. Luck value, 13,500,000, originally 20 million. Fortune level, pale gold. Current location, Jiangdong Province, Great Xia Kingdom, Blue Star. Ifold. My luck value has increased again, Shen Junlin murmured softly. I haven't looked after this kid for a few days, and he's actually grown again. System, do you have any good prank ideas? Beep ordinary substitute doll, 6,000 villain values. It can perfectly simulate any being below the innate realm that the host has ever seen. It possesses high intelligence, is cost-effective, and has a wide range of uses. I love a piece of firewood. 2,000 villain points, a kind of erotic gas, good quality and inexpensive. Everyone who has used it says it's great. Fusion and Ascension device, 3,000 villain points. Can perfectly fuse and ascend 2 low-tier items, quite useful. I like naked runaways. 1,000 villain points, effects as good as their name suggests. Those who know, know. Upon seeing the system's recommendation, a brilliant idea immediately popped into Shen Junlin's mind. System, purchase 3 ordinary substitute dolls, 3 fusion and sublimation devices, 1 I love a piece of firewood, and 1 I like fruit. Ding, host's villain value successfully deducted. Effect gained by host. 3 regular substitute dolls. Fusion sublimation device times 3. I love a piece of firewood times 1. I like running naked x1. The item has been placed in the system space. Please check it yourself. Host's villain value, 11,465,000. Shen Junlin immediately took out the 8 items with excitement. The ordinary substitute doll was a palm-sized rag doll. The fusion and sublimation device was a rectangular box. And I love a piece of firewood. And I like to run naked were transparent liquids contained in bottles the size of nail polish. System, how do I use this substitute doll and fusion sublimation device? Shen Junlin asked, puzzled. Beep, for ordinary substitute dolls, the host can automatically copy anyone they've seen simply by silently thinking of them. Other things can also be copied instantly by silently thinking of them. I see, I understand. Shen Junlin nodded happily. Then, holding a regular substitute doll in his hands, he silently chanted, "Come out, you idiot Chu Yi." In a short while, the ordinary substitute doll rapidly expanded, eventually forming a doll of the same size as Chu Yi. I am Chu Yi, greetings to my master. The puppet Chu Yi bowed respectfully. Shen Junlin nodded in satisfaction, then picked up another doll and silently said to himself, I've decided on you, Chu Qingshuan. In the blink of an eye, a lifelike doll of Chu Qingshuan stood gracefully before Shen Junlin. Hello, master, my name is Chu Qingshuan. The doll Chu Qingshuan introduced herself with a smile. Chu Qingshuan, come here for a moment. I need to examine you. Shen Junlin beckoned Chu Qingshuan over. Yes, master. The puppet Chu Qingshuan obeyed her master's orders perfectly and immediately walked up to Shen Junlin. Shen Junlin circled Chu Qingshuan 3 times to the left and 3 times to the right. Sure enough, they looked exactly alike, as if they were made from the same mold. It seems that as long as I remember it clearly, I can perfectly replicate this doll. Shen Junlin nodded in satisfaction. 3 hours later, Shen Junlin, now in a state of sage-like composure, picked up a fusion and sublimation device and a I love a piece of firewood potion from beside him, walked up to the puppet Chu Yi, and shouted in the fixed terminology of tokusatsu dramas. When faced with trouble, we can't just sit and wait to die. Chu Yi, I love a piece of firewood, fusion and sublimation. I love Chai Chui, fusion successful. Looking at the puppet Chu Yi, whose appearance remained unchanged, Shen Junlin nodded in satisfaction. Chu Yi, go to Jiangnan to challenge Chu Yi. Make a big scene, then seize the opportunity to self-destruct. Shen Junlin carefully explained the battle plan. Yes, master. The puppet Chu Yi knelt respectfully in greeting. Shen Junlin waved his hand and ordered, go. Yes, the puppet Chu Yi respectfully kowtowed to Shen Junlin, then stood up, left the room, and headed towards Jiangnan. The combat power of the puppet Chu Yi was set by Shen Junlin to the half-step innate realm. Although it was not a match for Chu Yi at this time, it was enough. After sending out the puppet Chu Yi, Shen Junlin picked up another fusion and sublimation device and the I like naked running potion. He looked at the puppet Song Shiyu sitting on the bed and thought to himself, Song Shiyu, I like naked running, fusion, and sublimation. I have no limits. I love Song Shiyu running around naked. The fusion was a success. After completing the second fusion, Shen Junlin put the last fusion sublimation device into the system space. Since Shen Junlin had not yet figured out what the third fusion item would be, he would not use it for the time being. With preparations complete and adhering to the principle of not wasting anything, Shen Junlin began a new round of battle. Meanwhile, at Jiangbei University, a stunningly beautiful girl stood by the window. "Mingli, what are you thinking about?" Tang Mingli turned around and saw her roommate. A smile appeared on her face. "It's nothing, I was just thinking about something." Tang Mingli did not reveal her predicament, because these people could not help her. "Don't look so gloomy, smile more. A cheerful disposition will naturally bring good fortune," my roommate said abstractly. Tang Mingli gave a stiff smile. "Kainiu, I may be leaving soon." "Huh?" Hearing Tang Mingli's inexplicable farewell, her roommate showed a hint of shock on her face, and then asked with concern, "Mingli, did something happen at home?" "Mingli, don't do anything foolish. If something happens at home, tell us and we'll figure something out together. Please don't drop out of school." "Yes, Mingli, we're roommates. If you have any difficulties, just say so and we'll figure something out together. I believe we can overcome this," another roommate comforted her. Tang Mingli shook her head and said helplessly, "Thank you everyone, but you really can't help with this, so please don't get involved." "Mingli, what is it? Just tell us. We're not strangers, what can't we say?" another roommate said eagerly. "Mingli, if you really consider us all your friends, then tell us why," the first roommate said, feigning anger. "That's right, Mingli, tell us what's wrong. Even if we can't really help you, we can still be your confidants." Seeing how concerned her roommate was, Tang Mingli sighed and said, "My family has arranged a marriage for me, and my fiancé has come to find me." "Fiancé?" The three roommates all looked at Tang Mingli in surprise. Well, they really can't help with the fiancé's affairs. "Mingli, then why are you so opposed to this engagement?" the second roommate asked earnestly. "I don't know either. I just really dislike that person and resent the family's haphazard arrangements," Tang Mingli said, directly stating her true feelings. "Are you disgusted? If that's all, I suggest you try dating your fiancé. If he's a good person in every way, you can try accepting him," the third roommate rationally advised. After saying that, the third roommate added, "Of course, if you have someone you like, you can try to talk to your elders at home about your true feelings and find a way to break off the engagement. Of course, what I say is just for reference." "Would we get along?" Tang Mingli pondered carefully. Chapter 261, Chuyi Challenges Chuyi. "Is this all the trash you people in Jiangnan are?" The puppet Chuyi crossed his arms and spoke arrogantly and sarcastically. Upon hearing these harsh words, the martial artists from Jiangnan turned pale with anger, clenching their fists so tightly that their nails dug deep into their palms. One of the injured, enduring excruciating pain, raised his head, glared angrily at the puppet Chuyi, and roared through gritted teeth, "Chuyi, with such arrogance, aren't you afraid you won't be able to leave this Jiangnan region today?" To this threat, the puppet Chuyi merely smiled coldly, as if he had heard the biggest joke in the world. The puppet Chuyi's lips curled up slightly, revealing a contemptuous smile, before he stomped his foot hard. Thud, a muffled sound rang out, the concrete floor beneath Chuyi's foot shattering into pieces. "Whether I leave Jiangnan or not is none of your concern, you trash." The puppet Chuyi smiled wickedly, then changed the subject and announced arrogantly, "2.5 million each, or you can all stay here and sleep forever." The martial artists present were instantly enraged by the puppet Chuyi, their faces turning red and their necks bulging. "You little brat, you!" Slap, the puppet Chuyi went up and slapped him. "So noisy." Seeing that Chuyi was completely unreasonable, the martial artist instantly swallowed the curses that were running through his mind. When you're under someone's roof, you have to bow your head. This perfectly illustrates the saying, when you're under someone's roof, you have to bow your head. The martial artists from Jiangnan demonstrated this perfectly at that moment. 2.5 million. What an humiliating figure. But the martial artists from Jiangnan present had no choice but to obediently call and have someone bring it over. The martial artists who had been watching the spectacle were also moved by the puppet Chuyi's reasoned persuasion and handed over their gifts with tears in their eyes. "Chuyi, you will definitely be punished for what you've done," an old man with only a few strands of white hair angrily condemned. The puppet Chuyi glared at him with unfriendly eyes. The old man trembled and said in a shaky voice, "Chuyi, what do you want to do? I've already paid the money and you promised to let us go. You can't go back on your word." The puppet Chuyi smiled faintly. "I did promise to let you go, but I didn't promise to let you leave intact." Upon hearing this, the expressions of all the martial artists present changed, but the puppet Chuyi was even faster. In no time, screams of agony echoed throughout the courtyard. "Ugh! Oh, Tilda!" Oops. Stop, stop, stop. I'll pay more, I'll pay more. One of the martial artists immediately backed down. Upon hearing the offer to pay more, the puppet Chuya stopped punching the size of a sandbag, threw down the pay more layman in his hand, and moved on to the next target. Seeing that adding money was effective, the other martial artists immediately clamored to pay more. Soon, the puppet Chuya subdued these local bullies in the Jiangnan martial arts circle. "Sir, look, we've already paid. Can we leave now?" An old man pleaded pitifully. Hearing that the old man was sincere, the puppet Chuya nodded in satisfaction. The bruised and swollen martial artist burst into tears of joy and scrambled towards the gate of the courtyard. "Wait a minute." Suddenly, the puppet Chuya's authoritative voice rang out. "Sir, is there anything else you need?" The extra, who had just taken half a step out the door, froze, turned around, and asked meekly. The puppet Chuya cleared his throat and laughed. "I heard that some lousy Master Chu has come out of Jiangnan. You can go and find him." "You dare to act like a master in front of me, Chuya? You're asking for trouble," the puppet Chuya roared arrogantly. "Yes, I understand, Lord Chu. We will definitely make sure that Master Chu comes to apologize." The martial arts extra hurriedly bowed and replied. A few days ago, they were tricked by Liu Guangqiang, beaten up by Chu Wuji, and today they were beaten up by Chu Yi. They were hoping these two men surnamed Chu would fight each other. Ideally, these two idiots would fight to the death. "All right, get lost." The puppet Chuyi waved his hand dismissively, as if shooing away some Tom, Dick, or Harry. Seeing Chuyi release them, everyone breathed a sigh of relief and ran away as if they had survived a disaster. A few hours later, Chuyi's infamy spread throughout the upper echelons of Jiangnan. Chu Yi, that hothead from Jiangbei, is known to everyone in the entire martial arts circle of Great Xia. He was ordered by the Mo family, the leader of Jiangbei, to assassinate Shen Junlin, the heir of the Shen family in the capital. But he was beaten to a pulp on the spot. It's said that it was only after Chu Yi's stunningly beautiful older sister and her still attractive mother personally visited him that they managed to beg young Master Shen for forgiveness. For a time, the Jiangnan Martial Arts Forum became lively. Master Chu and the others dared not fabricate stories, but they still talked about the big scandal involving Chu Yi, an unknown nobody, with great interest. The story of Jiangbei's clown Chu Yi versus Jiangnan's Master Chu instantly became a hot topic across the country. Many idle martial artists and young masters rushed to buy plane and high-speed rail tickets to Jiangnan just to watch the drama unfold. "Master Chu, a young man named Chuya wants to challenge you." Liu Guangqiang bowed and reported to the real Chuyi. "What?" Chuyi roared in anger, and the cup in his hand shattered with a bang. Upon seeing Chu Wuji's anger, Liu Guangqiang was so frightened that he immediately knelt down, trembling. "Master Chu, please calm down. I will take some men to break this brat's legs right away." All right. Chu Yi bawled. "Qiang, ignore him, let him handle this." The real Chu Yi sneered. "I want to see what this Chu Yi is all about." "Yes," Liu Guangqiang replied, trembling. He dared not object at all to Chu Wuji calling him bald Qiang. "Master Chu, that clown Chu Yi doesn't need your help at all. Just give the order and I'll capture him for you right now." A clueless old man at the peak of internal energy stepped forward and volunteered. "Insolence, Master Chu," the original Chu Yi roared angrily. The old man, who was at the peak of internal energy, was immediately trembling with fear. He didn't know why Master Chu was suddenly angry. Because both of them share the surname Chu. Is that impossible? Just now, Master Chu was cursing Chu Yi, saying he was nobody. He heard those words clearly. Master Chu could not possibly be related to that Chu Yi. The old man at the peak of internal energy couldn't figure it out, so he simply stopped thinking about it. Interesting, really interesting. Bald Qiang, send someone to inform Chu Yi to wash his neck and wait. I, the master, will personally come to see him in 3 days, the real Chu Yi coldly ordered. Yes, Master Chu. Liu Guangqiang clasped his hands in acceptance of the order. Upon receiving the order, Liu Guangqiang immediately led his men to Chu Yi's current location. After Liu Guangqiang left, Chu Yi looked at the old man who had just talked back to him and coldly ordered, "You, come see me tonight." Upon hearing this, the old man, a peak internal energy cultivator, turned ashen-faced, his eyes vacant, and he kept groaning. "It's over. It's over." None of the people who were summoned by Master Chu individually returned, and there has been no further news of them. Now it's his turn, and his fate is quite obvious. Having established his authority, Chu Yi returned to his room. Chu Yi knew that the reason this impostor Chu Yi was challenging him was most likely because of the mysterious Shen Junlin. Just as she suspected, Shen Junlin was indeed a treacherous person. He had only promised her mother and sister a few days ago, but he had already started to make underhanded moves. Fortunately, she had the foresight to leave in advance, which limited Shen Junlin's methods. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Shen Junlin, you underestimate me far too much with just a puppet, Chuya sneered inwardly. Although she didn't know why Shen Junlin was so confident, since he had made his move, Chuya naturally had to accept it. To think that a mere puppet could ruin her reputation, or kill her, is wishful thinking. Chapter 262, Oh no, this puppet is poisonous. 3 days later, thousands of people from all over the country gathered around the Wu residence where the puppet Chuyi was located. Among them was Chuyi's good friend, Wang Xiaodong. I never expected that clown Chuyi could actually run around in Jiangnan, a martial artist from Jiangbei retorted sarcastically. That's right, this kid offended the Shen family just a few days ago, and now he's causing trouble in Jiangnan again. A man from Jiangbei shook his head repeatedly. Haha, I bet Song Shiyu's butt is going to hurt again. I really envy young Master Shen. He can even enjoy the company of the most beautiful woman in the capital back then. A second-generation gossip from the capital said with great envy. Hey, Brother Cow, wipe your mouth. You're drooling all over the place. You dare insult me, take this. Brother Cow, I was wrong. I was just joking. I'll do it again next time. Brother Cow's friend repeatedly admitted defeat. Look, Chuyi is out. Suddenly, a cry of surprise rang out from the crowd. Hearing the sound, everyone looked up at the roof of the Wu residence and saw a rather plain-looking but somewhat handsome young man standing quietly on the eaves. Everyone present recognized that face. It belonged to Chuyi, the clown, one of today's main characters. Since Chuyi has shown up, it seems Master Chu should be arriving soon as well. A respected old man in the crowd stroked his beard as he listened to the gossip. The next second, a powerful voice rang out. Master Chu from Jiangnan has arrived. Liu Guangqiang and his henchmen shouted. We have come to pay our respects to Master Chu. The Jiangnan martial artists who had arrived ahead of time bowed and greeted him. Chuyi's face showed neither joy nor sorrow, seemingly unconcerned about this kind of formalism. Master Chu, you finally arrived. A martial artist who had been beaten by the puppet Chuyi stepped forward to try and become acquainted with him. Master Chu, you must avenge us all. Master Chu, now everyone knows that we all work for you. But Chuyi came and slapped us across the face, saying that there's only one person in the world with the surname Chu. Master Chu, Chuyi even called you trash, said that all martial artists in Jiangnan are trash, and that you're not even worthy to carry his shoes. Master Chu, it's one thing for Chuyi to insult us, but he also insulted you, saying that you are nothing but a showy figurehead, neither good-looking nor useful. Those who had been hit by the puppet Chuyi were spouting nonsense, venting their dissatisfaction. Hearing the words of these lowly lackeys, Chuyi had no doubts. It's normal for Shen Junlin's puppet to say these things. It's ruining Chuyi's reputation. As the saying goes, good news doesn't travel far, but bad news travels 1,000 miles. Shen Junlin's move is an open scheme, and on this tiny blue planet, it's impossible to guard against. If she wins, she will kill the puppet and sever ties with her family, vowing to fight to the death. If she is defeated, the puppet will cripple her cultivation and subject her to all kinds of humiliation. Regardless of victory or defeat, she is the only one who gets hurt. This plan is truly vicious. Unfortunately, I am now completely unfazed by anything, indifferent to honor and disgrace. Such petty tricks are ineffective against me. Chuyi smiled faintly to himself. Since Shen Junlin wanted to play dirty tricks, she would play along with him and let him know that she, Chuyi, was not a pushover. Chuyi will avenge the insults inflicted on her mother and sister, but not now. Now is not the time. Once she finds out Shen Junlin's true identity, she will make him pay 1,000-fold. Chuyi remained silent. What did it matter to her that these people were beaten? Her domination of Jiangnan was solely for the sake of cultivation resources in the region. Once she had all the medicinal herbs, she would leave Jiangnan and visit the legendary medicine King Valley. Master Chu, that man standing on the roof is Chuyi, one of the masterminds behind the recent turmoil in Jiangbei, Liu Guangqiang introduced with a beaming smile. Chuyi nodded speechlessly. She knew what she looked like better than anyone else. She didn't need anyone to introduce her. However, now that she has disguised herself, she needs to keep a low profile to avoid being targeted by Shen Junlin's lackeys. Chuyi nodded and commanded, All right, I understand. You may all leave. After saying that, Chuyi stepped into the void and, to everyone's astonishment, walked step by step to the same height as the imposter Chuyi. Walking on air, a grandmaster, Master Chu is actually a grandmaster. Liu Guangqiang shouted excitedly. I never imagined there were such outstanding individuals in Jiangnan, exclaimed a martial artist from the capital. Grandmaster, how long has it been since such a figure appeared? Master Chu of Jiangnan has entered the Grandmaster realm at the age of middle age. He will surely be recorded in the history of the martial arts world. This Chu Yi is quite a character. He showed no fear in the face of a Grandmaster. Unfortunately, he was too arrogant and will eventually perish in Jiangnan. Alas, this time, Song Shiyu probably won't be able to protect her precious son. Young Master Cao lamented repeatedly. Because the puppet Chu Yi was fake, none of the onlookers started to mock him. I'm here, the real Chu Yi stared intently at the doll Chu Yi. The puppet Chu Yi slightly raised his head, then left the rooftop, walked on air, and stood arrogantly opposite the real Chu Yi. Holy crap, Chu Yi is actually a Grandmaster too. The Jiangbei martial artist was so shocked his jaw almost dropped. No wonder Chu Yi is so arrogant. It turns out he has also broken through to the Grandmaster level. Achieving the Grandmaster level at the tender age of 18, he certainly has the right to be arrogant. An 18-year-old Grandmaster? Am I dreaming? Slap, young Master Cao slapped him hard across the face. Brother, how was it? If you liked the blow, say thank you. Cao man, you son of a bitch, take this. Cao Gongzi's friend instantly turned red and rushed forward. Young Master Cao was prepared. With a flash, he dodged his best friend's sneak attack and then slipped away. No wonder the Shen family was willing to make peace. It turns out that Chu Yi is a Grandmaster and has a Grandmaster son. If I were in their shoes, I would also like to have another Grandmaster son. Master Chu has truly met his match this time. A middle-aged Grandmaster meets a young Grandmaster. This battle will surely be recorded in history. Master Chu is likely to lose this time. Chu Yi has the Shen family behind him. Master Chu has met his match this time. Whether we win or lose, Jiangnan is finished this time. The onlookers immediately started mocking. Hearing the chorus of comments from the crowd, Zhen Chuyi's face instantly darkened. It was indeed a vicious scheme. No matter who was criticized, it was all directed at her. Damn it! Make your move! The puppet Chu Yi arrogantly gave him the middle finger. Holy crap! Upon seeing this, Zhen Chuyi flew into a rage. Blood demon great handprint. Chu Yi roared and unleashed a massive handprint. Not to be outdone, the puppet Chu Yi unleashed a stunning punch. Shenkun Tongbei fist. With fists and palms clashing, Zhen Chuyi gained the upper hand. So that mere half-step innate realm cultivator is dead. Chu Yi laughed loudly. Heavenly light capture hand. The tyrant's wrath. Tiger's roar heavenly sound. 9 separating fires. Heaven suppressing cone. Having been brutally beaten by Shen Junlin, the real Chu Yi, having tested the strength of the puppet Chu Yi, no longer let his guard down and launched a smooth combo attack. The puppet Chu Yi hadn't learned many skills, so he could only use his fists and hands to quickly approach the real Chu Yi. After withstanding several powerful attacks from the real Chu Yi, the puppet Chu Yi was also on the verge of collapse. If all you've got is ability, you should do it yourself. The real Chu Yi shouted at the puppet Chu Yi, his eyes gleaming with delight. It seems that he found his confidence in the puppet Chu Yi and felt that he could do it again. 9 heavens dividing technique, real Chu Yi roared, and a large blue hand instantly rushed towards the puppet Chu Yi. A strange smile flashed across the puppet Chu Yi's face. It accelerated instantly and exploded into a bloody mist the moment it touched the blue hand. The moment the puppet Chu Yi exploded, the I love a piece of firewood within him transformed into a supernatural attack, instantly striking the real Chu Yi. Chu Yi was careless for a moment and failed to dodge, and was instantly hit. Oh no, this puppet is poisonous. Zhen Chuyi thought to himself, this is bad. The next second, Zhen Chuyi, overcome with lust, couldn't wait to rush towards the mortal crowd watching the spectacle. Chapter 263, Instant Fame. With a loud boom, Chu Yi landed spectacularly. We won. Great Master Chu has won. Just as the Jiangnan martial artists were cheering, Chu Yi strode forward and grabbed Dongzi, who had run over to witness his good friend Chu Yi's prowess. You, what do you want to do? Dongzi looked in horror at Master Chu, who had slapped his good friend to death. Master Chu, what are you doing? Let go, this person is just an ordinary person. An old man stepped forward to persuade him. Chu Yi's face was flushed, his veins were bulging, and his body was trembling. It was clear that Chu Yi was desperately trying to restrain himself. Master Chu, this young man is just an ordinary person. He may not be familiar with the rules of the martial arts world. Please forgive him and don't take offense. A martial arts master stepped forward to persuade him. It is perfectly normal for injuries and deaths to occur in martial arts duels. But if a martial artist attacks or kills the weak without any reason, then that breaks the rules. Chuya shook her head. She tried to stay awake, but she couldn't. In her daze, she could only remember Dongzi's face. The next second, Chuya waved his hand and threw his good friend Dongzi to the ground, then roared and attacked Dongzi irrationally. The martial arts master who witnessed all of this was dumbfounded on the spot. Taking advantage of this opening, Master Chu launched his offensive. Several martial arts masters reacted quickly and ran over immediately. What they saw and heard shocked them so much that they stood there dumbfounded. "Help, help me," Dongzi screamed frantically. Chuya became increasingly frantic. "Oh no, Master Chu has gone mad." Suddenly, a martial artist in the crowd was the first to react. "Quick, save them!" Someone shouted from the crowd watching in the distance. Upon hearing someone's reminder, everyone reacted instantly and rushed towards Master Chu's location. "Make way, we're reporters from the Martial Arts Alliance." Several reporters excitedly squeezed in. Did Master Chu have a penchant for dragon-like prowess? Big news that will shake the martial arts world. Where did these reporters come from? Get lost, stop. Stop taking pictures. Jiangnan Chuyi's martial artists quickly stopped them. Master Chu is the face of Jiangnan, and even more so, the trump card that determines whether Jiangnan can win the championship in the Jiangdong martial arts competition. If the Martial Arts Alliance reporters are allowed to act recklessly, not only will Jiangnan martial artists be unable to hold their heads high in the Great Xia Kingdom in the future, but Master Chu will also not let them off the hook once he comes to his senses. The prominent figures in Jiangnan acted swiftly, surrounding the maddened Master Chu in the crowd and preventing outsiders from approaching. "What do you mean? Are you protecting Master Chu's evil deeds?" A female reporter directly and bluntly confronted her. Even if Master Chu is a grandmaster, he cannot disregard the rules of the martial arts world. Has your Jiangnan martial arts community always been like this, bullying others with your power? "Get out of the way. Don't block our way to rescue people." "Yes, move aside." "Get out of the way. Get out of the way." Hundreds of martial artists, filled with righteous indignation, began to shove and push each other. "Gentlemen, Master Chu has made a mistake in his cultivation and has gone mad. We will definitely subdue Master Chu, so please do not cause trouble." Liu Guangqiang and other Jiangnan bigwigs stepped forward to apologize. Roar, Chu Yi, standing back to back in a circle of martial artists from Jiangnan, let out a dissatisfied roar. In the blink of an eye, Chu Yi struck again, grabbing a lucky martial artist from Jiangnan and successfully selecting him. "Ah, Master Chu, no, save me." Upon hearing their companion Jai's cry for help, the Jiangnan martial artists who were blocking Chu Yi felt a chill run down their spines. Their formation instantly crumbled, and all the martial artists ran over as fast as they could. With the troublemakers gone, the Martial Arts Alliance reporter finally saw the truth. The moment he saw the truth, all the martial artists were shattered. Nonsense. Water without roots. Everyone was stunned. Everyone considered countless possibilities, and even prepared themselves for Master Chu to have a fondness for Long Yang. In the end, Master Chu turned out to be a master of yin and yang. Everyone was stunned by what they saw. The martial artists from Jiangnan were so shocked they couldn't speak. Just now, in order to maintain the unity of the Jiangnan martial arts community, everyone deliberately avoided looking at the specific battle situation. Now we see that they have broken apart. At this moment, the hearts of the Jiangnan martial artists, which had been hanging in suspense, completely collapsed. Liu Guangqiang and the other Master Chu felt a sense of relief and lingering fear, as if they had survived a disaster. No wonder Master Chu would send people to see her at night from time to time. It turns out he had that kind of fetish. Those who were summoned were probably silenced by Master Chu because they knew the truth. Indecent, indecent. It's indecent, it's absolutely indecent. I can't look. The martial arts masters from various prestigious sects all voiced their complaints, but none dared to step forward, fearing they would become the next victim. "Ow!" Chuya's dissatisfied scream rang out once again. Upon hearing Master Chu's ghostly cries, everyone's smiles vanished instantly, and they retreated hastily. "Run!" a shout rang out from the crowd. Everyone immediately realized the seriousness of the situation, abandoned their plans to watch the drama unfold, and ran as fast as they could in the distance. At this moment, everyone's competitive spirit reached its peak. They didn't need to outrun everyone else, but they had to outrun the last person behind them. If he can't outrun him, then he'll have to have a one-on-one duel with Master Chu from Jiangnan, who has lost his mind due to a qi deviation. Grandpa's grandma's grandpa, slow down, don't run so fast, wait for me. I don't want it, brother, you'd better pray for yourself. Help me. In the distance, hidden among the bushes, two low-level martial arts private detectives trembled with fear. Brother Li, shall we continue filming? Brother, it's tough being here, but money's hard to earn, so go ahead and take the picture, Brother Li said with a serious expression, trying to comfort him. It wasn't that they didn't want to run, but that they didn't have time to catch up with the main group, fell behind, and had no chance. Going out at this time is worse than hiding well and praying to God to protect you from being discovered by the demonic Chu who has gone mad. Sigh, Brother Li sighed. Then continue to hold the high-precision compact camera firmly to record this once-in-a-century wonderful moment. This explosive farce of randomly grabbing onlookers for one-on-one duels continued until late at night, only ending when Master Chu had no one left to grab and shifted his target to a pet pig. The next morning, the entire martial arts forum was buzzing with excitement, with countless explosive videos uploaded and many righteous people condemning the attacks. With just this one battle, Master Chu's name resounded throughout the Great Xia, and even many powerful figures on the foreign internet were stunned by this amazing event. It can be said that he became famous overnight. The martial arts practitioners of Jiangnan have also lost all face because of Master Chu. Even in the Jiangdong martial arts community, they couldn't hold their heads up in front of martial artists of other statuses and were speechless in front of the elders of Jiangdong. A martial artist from Jiangdong said, "This is the first time I've ever missed the title, Jiangdong Rat, so much." However, the name of Master Chu, the madman of Jiangdong, still soared to the top of the martial arts forum. Even ordinary people knew that Jiangdong had produced a Master Chu with a bad reputation. When Chuye woke up, the sky had fallen. Shen Junlin, I will kill you. I will kill you. Chuye angrily tore apart the pet pig beside him, letting out a deafening roar. Ding, the chosen one, Chuye, has fallen into a trap. He's been relentlessly challenging others to duels in broad daylight, causing his mental state to crumble and his Dao heart to collapse. His luck value has plummeted by 1 million. The host has gained 10 million villain points, 10 million. Ding, the chosen one, Chuye, has fallen into a trap, his reputation ruined, and he can no longer face the elders of Jiangdong. His spirit has collapsed, his Dao heart has exploded, and Chuye's luck value has plummeted by 1 million. The host has gained 10 million villain points, 10 million. Ding, thanks to the host's shrewd calculations, the plan of the chosen one Chuye to form factions in Jiangnan against the host has completely failed. Chuye has lost face and become a black mark on the martial arts world, hated and despised by everyone. Chuye's luck value has plummeted by 1,500,000, and the host has gained 15 million villain points, 15 million. Chuye, the chosen one, has a luck value of 10 million, 10 million. In the blink of an eye, Shen Junlin gained another 35 million villain points, while Chuye's hard-earned luck points plummeted back to 10 million. Chapter 264, Master Chu, stunned by the explosion. 3 days later, news of Chuye's death at the hands of Master Chu in Jiangnan reached Song Shiyu and Chu Qingshuan. The two fainted from shock. They finally managed to get Shen Junlin's forgiveness, but less than a week later, Chuye went to Jiangnan to fight someone and was killed on the spot by the infamous Master Chu. Shen Junlin ignored the two who had fainted from anger, casually arranged for 2 servants to look after them, and then went to find Tang Mingli. Having been in Jiangbei for so long, I still have to do the pretense. Anyway, I'm just idling around, so I might as well take the time. Meanwhile, the doll Song Shiyu also secretly arrived in Jiangnan. Master Chu, you haven't eaten for 3 days. A young maid stood at the door. Get out, I'm not in the mood, Chuye roared. After such a big thing happened, how could she still have the appetite to eat? Hearing Chuye's angry outburst, the maid quietly took the food back. She had been delivering meals for 3 days and had gotten used to it. She would come to check on him every 6 hours. If Master Chu wanted to eat, she would bring the food in. If he didn't, she would leave. Her job was easy. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the maid asked again from outside the door, as always. Master Chu replied that he didn't want to eat. The maid took the food back to the dining hall and then went home. In the room, Chuye sat there blankly, her heart filled with endless sorrow. In the past 3 days, Chuye had thought about many things, including her family, the various experiences she had gone through in this life, and her greatest enemy in this life, Shen Junlin. Every time he thought about it, Chuye felt worse than if he had eaten shit. He had finally been reborn, but it was even more humiliating than his previous life. Chuya didn't know what the point of his rebirth was. Suddenly, a figure burst out of the room. Chuya snapped out of his thoughts and looked closely. It turned out to be Song Shiyu, her mother. "Mom, what brings you here?" Chuya was somewhat surprised and at a loss for words. After all this happened, Chuya didn't know how to face his mother. "You scoundrel, you murdered my son. Don't think I'll forgive you just because you called me Mom." The puppet Song Shiyu glared at Master Chu with eyes full of rage. Chuya gave a wry smile and quickly explained. "Mom, what are you talking about? I am Chuyi, I am your son." "Master Chu, do you think I'm blind? Or do you think I'm easy to fool? Do you think I, as his mother, don't know what my son looks like?" The puppet Song Shiyu stared coldly at Master Chu. "Mom, what are you saying? I am your son Chu Yi." Just as she mentioned her identity, Chu Yi suddenly remembered that she had changed her appearance after arriving in Jiangnan, and her current appearance was completely different from before, so her mother did not recognize her. Thinking of this, Chu Yi quickly fiddled with his face to restore his original appearance. "Mom, look, I am your son, no doubt about it. I disguised myself to avoid being hunted down by Shen Junlin," Chu Yi explained to the doll Song Shiyu with a wry smile. "HMPH," Song Shiyu snorted coldly and said, "Master Chu, although you also have the surname Chu, I think you should stop playing these little tricks. You killed my son in public. So many people saw it clearly. You think I, Song Shiyu, am a fool to play such a despicable trick?" The doll Song Shiyu glared at Chu Yi with murderous intent, wishing she could immediately grind him to dust. Seeing how much his mother hated him, Chu Yi gave a bitter smile and helplessly continued to explain. "Mom, I really am your son. You brat, how dare you mock me? Take this." With that, the puppet Song Shiyu attacked Chu Yi directly. Chu Yi had no choice but to dodge. This was her mother. Although she was surprised that her mother was a martial artist, her mother was clearly angry, so she dared not fight back. Chu Yi dared not retaliate, but the puppet Song Shiyu was not a real person, much less Chu Yi's real mother, so naturally she would not show Chu Yi any mercy. The puppet Song Shiyu launched a ruthless attack, each move deadly. Chu Yi dodged left and right, passively taking the blows. The noise from the battle woke up the Jiangnan bigwigs who were left behind. But because they were worried about being dragged into playing games by Master Chu, the Jiangnan bigwigs all stood outside, looking at each other, and none of them dared to go in. "Mom, it really is Chu Yi. Please don't hit me, let me explain." Chu Yi smiled bitterly. Chu Yi didn't expect that her mother was also a grandmaster, and a grandmaster with rich practical experience. Although she wasn't as troublesome as other cultivators of the same level, she still suffered a lot of hidden injuries due to her restraint. Fortunately, after 3 days of rest, my legs stopped shaking so badly. Otherwise, things would be much worse now. "Mom, it really is me, Chu Yi. It really is your son. Please stop and let me explain." Chu Yi continued to beg for mercy with a bitter smile. No matter how useless she was in her past life, she was never beaten by her mother. In this life, she was finally reborn and gained abilities, but she never expected to suffer the legendary wonderful childhood. Life is truly unpredictable. The large intestine wraps around the small intestine. "You surnamed Chu, shut your nonsense and give me back my son's life," the puppet Song Shiyu roared angrily. The bigwigs outside the room exchanged bewildered glances, their expressions strange. Could it be that their Master Chu is playing a new trick, playing with the plot? The powerful figures from Jiangnan quickly approached the door, strained their ears, and carefully investigated the situation. "Master Chu, are you toying with me? If you don't show your true skills, you'll be going to hell to keep my son company today." The puppet Song Shiyu deliberately put on an angry and exasperated look. His attacks grew increasingly fierce, each move deadly. "No, Mom, stop. Don't hit me anymore. I really am your son. I'm 100% your son," Chu Yi said with a bitter smile. If she had known it would be this troublesome, she wouldn't have used any magic back then, so as to avoid falling into Shen Junlin's trap and getting beaten up by her own mother. Chu Yi was suffering in his heart, a suffering he couldn't express. "You surnamed Chu, still spouting nonsense. Die!" the puppet Song Shiyu roared. He rushed in front of Chu Yi and with a loud boom, it exploded. Chu Yi was careless and failed to dodge, and was directly blasted away, suffering severe injuries. Chu Yi was stunned. Her mother, a grown woman, was furious. The next second, Chu Yi felt something strange in his body again. "Oh no, I've fallen for their trap again." Chu Yi's expression changed drastically. Chu Yi tried to resist, but to no avail. He found his body completely out of his control, yet his mind remained perfectly clear. A bad premonition welled up inside him. "Shen Junlin, you'll die a horrible death. You'll die a horrible death." Chu Yi's conscious mind continued to curse. Shen Junlin, you. Chu Yi, in a state of lucidity, cursed loudly, his uncontrollable body running wildly, completely naked. The moment Chu Yi rushed out of the room, the bigwigs from Jiangnan turned pale and scattered in all directions, fearing that if they were even a step too slow, they would become Chu Yi's sparring partners. Chu Yi, still fully conscious, don't run away, stop me, I don't want to go out. The group fired a burst of bullets and disappeared in a flash. Chu Yi's clear consciousness, trash, they're all fucking trash. However, these prominent figures from Jiangnan had long since disappeared and were completely indifferent to Chu Yi's life or death. Chu Yi rushed out of the villa, ran out of the villa area, and ran wildly in the Jiangnan area, sometimes jumping off rooftops, sometimes running into the river, sometimes crossing the road, and sometimes smashing through the green belt. This provoked endless protests and fierce demands from the people of Jiangnan. This farce lasted for 3 whole days before it finally stopped. These 3 days were a time of suffering for the people of Jiangnan, and even more so, a time of humiliation for Chu Yi himself. Because of Chu Yi, Jiangnan became a trending topic, and its popularity remains high. When Chu Yi was finally able to stop, a familiar figure stood in front of him. Elder Sister, Chapter 265, Murder Using Emotional Knife, Part 1. Little Yi. The puppet Chu Qingshuan, suppressing her nausea, helped the naked Chu Yi up. Sister, Chu Yi's voice choked with emotion. Sister, is it really you? Chu Yi, with snot and tears streaming down her face, was finally able to pour out her heart to her sister after seeing her sister. Xiao Yi, this isn't the place to talk. Let me take you to buy some clothes first. The puppet Chu Qingshuan couldn't stand Chu Yi's emperor's new clothes any longer, so she had to back down and change the clothes for the person her master had assigned her. Okay, I'll do whatever my sister says, Chu Yi cried, tears of joy. After suffering so much injustice, Chu Yi finally felt the warmth from his family, and his heart was filled with warmth. The suffering of 1,000 years in the past life, and the grievances endured in this life, seemed to have become unimportant at this moment. It's so nice to have my sister's care. Chu Yi was overjoyed. Come on, what are you standing there for? I'll take you to buy clothes, the doll Chu Qingshuan said in a slightly reproachful tone. Seeing his sister willing to endure the gossip and criticism of those around them for his sake, Chu Yi felt tears of guilt welling up in his eyes. Sister, please go buy it for me, I'm worried. Chu Yi hesitated, then stopped herself from speaking. Chu Yi didn't want to see his sister being pointed at and gossiped about because of him, nor did he want to be pointed at and gossiped about because of his appearance. For a moment, Chu Yi didn't know what to do. The doll Chu Qingshuan rubbed her head and said helplessly, All right, Xiao Yi, you wait here for me. I'll go to the nearest store to buy it for you. Seeing how considerate her sister was of her feelings, Chu Yi was deeply moved. 1,000 words escaped her lips, but ultimately she could only say, Yes, sister. The doll Chu Qingshuan shook her head, turned around and walked gracefully toward the women's clothing store not far away, wanting to pick out 2 cute little dresses for Chu Yi. Watching his sister Chu Qingshuan's retreating figure, Chu Yi secretly vowed in his heart, Don't worry, sister, I won't despise you. After I kill Shen Junlin, I will definitely bring you to my side and take good care of you for the rest of my life. After making the vow, Chu Yi straightened her back a bit more and looked around at the pedestrians who were making their way around her. At this moment, Chu Yi was completely unconcerned about how outsiders viewed her. Chu Yi surveyed his surroundings and noticed a clear stream nearby. Looking at the stains on his clothes, Chu Yi smiled calmly and confidently walked towards the stream. Her sister went to buy her clothes, and she couldn't just sit idly by. There happened to be a clear stream where she could take a bath and cherish the clothes her sister bought her in a brand new way. Mommy, how can that girl be so shameless? A little girl passing by shouted, pointing at Chu Yi. The little girl's mother quickly covered her daughter's mouth, forced a smile, and apologized to Chu Yi, saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, the child is still young and doesn't understand. I hope you won't mind. After apologizing, the little girl's mother immediately looked at her daughter seriously and sternly reprimanded her. Yinian, how have I taught you? You're not allowed to point at others and talk nonsense. Apologize to that older sister now. I'm sorry, Mom. The little girl lowered her head in disappointment. What's the use of apologizing to me? You said the wrong thing. You should apologize to the girl in the river, the little girl's mother said sternly. Hearing her mother's words, the little girl turned around timidly, looked earnestly at Chu Yi, who was standing in the river with little strength, and apologized sincerely. I'm sorry, sister with no strength. Yinian just said the wrong thing. Hearing the little girl's sarcastic words, Chu Yiyuan's already gloomy face darkened even more. Upon hearing her daughter's words, the girl's mother immediately criticized her sternly. Yinian, why are you talking nonsense again? Quickly apologized to that older sister again. The little girl glanced at her mother's firm breasts, then at Chu Yi's unremarkable chest, and against her conscience apologized again. I'm sorry, you're not so pretty, unremarkable older sister. Yinian will never say anything out of line again. A young woman passing by couldn't help but burst out laughing. The others lowered their heads or turned away. But Chu Yi, a cultivator at the 15th level of Qi refining, could still hear the suppressed laughter clearly. Chu Yi's face was now terrifyingly dark. If she weren't worried about scaring her sister, she would have already taught these ants a lesson. Yinian, why are you talking nonsense again? Who taught you to talk like that? You'll have double the homework tonight. The little girl sternly slapped her daughter's hand. Then turning to Chu Yi, whose face was grim in the river, she apologized profusely. Madam, my child is still young and doesn't understand. He watched too many inappropriate short videos. I apologize to you. I'm sorry. As she spoke, the little girl's mother bowed deeply to Chu Yi in the river, offering her apology. It's nothing, you can go. Chu Yi waved his hand impatiently. Out of respect for his sister, Chu Yi reluctantly pardoned the two little girls for their great disrespect. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'll definitely give my child a good talking to when I get home and make sure she understands what she did wrong. The little girl's mother apologized to Chu Yi again. Then the little girl's mother quickly fled with her daughter, leaving this dangerous place inhabited by a mentally ill person. After the mother and daughter left, Chu Yi slowly squatted down and began to wash away the stains on his body using a cleansing technique. A few minutes later, Chu Qingshuan, the doll who had bought the clothes, hurriedly returned to the agreed place. Zio Yi, the river is cold, don't get frostbite, come up quickly. Hearing his sister's familiar voice, Chu Yi looked in the direction of the sound and saw a tall and beautiful woman standing gracefully not far from the shore. Her skin was fair and delicate, her face was elegant and beautiful, and she had a pair of long legs wearing black stockings and a pair of red high heels. She was full of charm and had an arrogant temperament. Chu Yi was completely mesmerized. Silly little brother, what are you still doing in the river? Hurry up and come up to try on your clothes. Stop doing this. The doll Chu Qingshuan called out, holding a bath towel in her left hand and a black bag in her right, suppressing her nausea. Hearing his sister's concern, Chu Yi, who had been lost in thought for a long time, came back to his senses and quickly walked towards the shore. Sister, you're back so soon? Chu Yi smiled and touched his nose. The doll Chu Qingshuan glared at Chu Yi with feigned reproach. All you know how to do is make your sister worry. Take a towel and dry yourself off. Thank you, sister. Chu Yi happily took the towel from his sister and began to dry himself carefully. The doll Chu Qingshuan deliberately shook her head, took out a pair of pink fur slippers from another bag, and placed them in front of Chu Yi's feet. Quickly put on your shoes, they're hurting your feet. Okay, sister. Chu Yi laughed happily, looking like a fool. What's wrong with this person? Is he suffering from intermittent mental illness? A passerby commented. Probably, running around naked in broad daylight these past few days. What else could it be but mental problems? Another passerby shook his head repeatedly. Alas, what a pity. Such a beautiful young woman, though not particularly pretty, I never expected her to get this kind of disease. Who can argue with that? Look at how skilled her older sister is. She's probably had her hands full with worry because of her awful little sister. It's true what they say, misfortune always seems to strike at the weakest point, and bad luck always seems to target the unfortunate. I hope things will get better in the future. The surrounding elderly people expressed their regret. Wait, I feel like I've seen this person somewhere before, a male college student said, seemingly remembering something. Idiot, this girl was on the news the other day. I told you so. All you do is play games, of course it didn't affect you. The male college student's girlfriend scolded playfully. Given this woman's stunning looks and figure, she didn't mind her boyfriend watching the drama unfold. The man scratched his head, then suddenly a thought struck him. I remember. Don't be so startled, you scared me. The college girl gently pinched the soft flesh on her boyfriend's waist. Ouch, the man cried out in pain. Baby, I really didn't lie to you. This person looks a lot like the culprit in the Jiangbei assassination incident a little over a week ago, only the gender is different. So that's it. No wonder it felt so familiar. I thought it was because I'd been watching too many short videos lately, but it turns out I've seen it before. A die-hard fan, always eager for gossip, nodded with hindsight. Those powerful families are ruthless. A perfectly good person was ruined like this. Serves you right for not learning the good stuff, and instead trying to be an assassin. Exactly. If I were young Master Shen, I would have thought that this kid's whole family deserved to be killed. He was assassinated for no reason, and he got what he deserved. This kind of person doesn't deserve pity. Everyone be careful not to be mistaken for a mentally ill person. Mentally ill people can kill without being punished. Upon hearing the young man's words, everyone stepped back and kept their distance, wary of being onlookers. Xiaoye, let's go, the puppet Chu Qinghan called out, feigning concern. Yes, Chuya nodded happily. With his sister's concern, what did mere gossip matter? Chapter 266, Murder with the Knife of Emotion, Part 2. After leaving the place where they met, the puppet Chu Qingshuan opened a room for the mission her master had given her. Xiaoye, here are your clothes, go inside and change. I'll wait for you outside, the doll Chu Qingshuan gently instructed. Okay, sister, I'll go right away. With his sister's gentle care, Chuya was full of energy. Taking the clothes, Chuya rushed into the room with great enthusiasm, not even closing the door, eager for his sister to see her heroic figure as soon as possible. When Chuya opened the bag, he was dumbfounded. It contained a lace inner layer, a pink mini skirt, 2 pink bows, and a wig. This. Chuya was so shocked that he couldn't speak for a moment. At this moment, silence speaks louder than words. After pondering for a long time, Chuya suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Could it be that her sister was telling her not to dwell on the past, but to let go of it, embrace the future, and start a new life with a fresh mindset? Sister, I understand. Chuya's eyes welled up with tears. Even though her sister was humiliated by that bastard Shen Junlin, he still cares about her so much, telling her not to dwell on the past and to start a new life. Such a good sister, how could she possibly let her down? Don't worry, sister. After I kill Shen Junlin, I will definitely take you, mother and father, away from the world. Our whole family will go to that place where no one knows us, the immortal continent, and start a new life, Chuya secretly vowed in his heart. After making the vow, Chuya exhaled a breath of stale air, picked up the clothes her sister had bought for her, and awkwardly began to change. Half an hour later, Chuya, dressed in pink, suddenly appeared in front of Chu Qingshuan. Sister, wait a moment, let me disguise myself. Chuya, thinking himself very gentlemanly, gave his sister Chu Qingshuan a few instructions, then turned around and fiddled with his ordinary-looking face. Then Chuya, who had grown up to be a completely different girl, appeared in front of the doll Chu Qingshuan in a brand new form. Thanks to Chuya's incredible disguise skills, Chuya's appearance was surprisingly enhanced, though still not quite as good as the naturally beautiful puppet Chu Qingshuan, but not by much. His biggest weakness is his unremarkable character. There's no way around it. This is Chuya's Achilles heel and also his last stand. So, sister, what do you think? Chuya revealed what he considered a very handsome, wicked smile. But in the eyes of the doll Chu Qingshuan, Chuya's face was abnormally distorted, and his mouth was crooked to the roots of his ears. The doll Chu Qingshuan smiled speechlessly. It's all right, Xiaoye, being small is cute too. Hearing his sister comfort him, Chuya was overjoyed. With a sister like this, what more could a husband ask for? Xiaoye, now that you've changed, why don't you come for a walk with your sister? The doll Chu Qingshuan dutifully flashed a charming smile. There's no way around it. The master's orders must be obeyed. Xiaoye, young Master Shen is busy these days and won't be coming to see me. Let's have some fun together. As she spoke, a bitter look flashed in the eyes of the puppet Chu Qingshuan. This hint of bitterness, of course, did not escape the eyes of the boundless, immortal Emperor Chuya. Thinking of his sister being humiliated day and night by that bastard Shen Junlin, Chuya felt extremely uncomfortable. Chuya clenched his fists and solemnly swore, "Don't worry, sister. I will definitely find a way to help you get rid of that bastard Shen Junlin." Hearing the mission target's ridiculous and outlandish statement, the puppet Chu Qingshuan smiled with satisfaction. All right, I believe in you, Xiaoye." Halfway through her sentence, the doll Chu Qingshuan deliberately revealed 3 parts bitterness, 3 parts helplessness, and 4 parts nonchalance. Chuya saw all of this, and he felt helpless. It was obvious that his sister didn't believe him, but there was nothing she could do. Shen Junlin, who had suddenly intervened in this life, was too powerful, so powerful that even the Wuji immortal emperor felt powerless. The Golden Core True Monarch, an old friend from the immortal continent, is now invincible on Blue Star. As Shen Junlin's bedmate and canary, Chu Qingshuan's fear of him is probably deeply ingrained. With my sister's delicate body, how could she possibly be a match for Shen Junlin? Falling into that scoundrel's hands, my sister must have suffered a lot of torment. Chuya was well aware of all this, but she was helpless now. She couldn't defeat Shen Junlin, and all her promises were meaningless. If Shen Junlin hadn't been busy, perhaps her sister wouldn't have been able to come out to find her. Zio, you stop daydreaming, let's go. My mother is handling young Master Shen, and with Tang Mingli around, young Master Shen definitely won't find out I snuck out these next few days, the puppet Chu Qingshuan urged, feigning reproach. In reality, Shen Junlin was playing the role of the Four Talents War God Dragon, and having a great time. Upon hearing his mother's voice, Chu Yi clenched his fists and silently vowed, "Mother, don't worry, I will definitely get you out. Zio, ye don't think about it anymore. Young Master Shen is a very strange person. We'd better not provoke him." The puppet Chu Qingshuan comforted her resignedly. All of this was merely the master's order. The puppet Chu Qingshuan completed her mission very well and performed very well. She seemed to be caring for and comforting Chu Yi, but in reality, she was rubbing salt into Chu Yi's wounds after the fact. "Sister, don't worry. I will definitely rescue Mother and you from this hellhole," Chu Yi solemnly assured her with unwavering eyes. The doll Chu Qingshuan deliberately feigned a joyful smile and said, pretending to be moved, "I didn't expect you to have grown up so much, Zio Yi. Sister, don't cry. You'll look ugly if you cry." Chu Yi pretended to wipe away his sister Chu Qingshuan's tears. The doll Chu Qingshuan deftly dodged Chu Yi's movement with ease. Chu Yi stood there, feeling endless bitterness in his heart. It seems that his sister has developed an instinctive aversion to men because of Shen Junlin. Thinking of all this, Chu Yi's hatred for Shen Junlin deepened. "Zio Yi, your sister is happy." The doll Chu Qingshuan wiped away her crocodile-like tears and smiled. "Zio Yi, let's not talk about those unpleasant things anymore. Come on, let's go for a walk outside with your sister. I've heard that the scenery in Jiangnan is beautiful. We've never had the chance to come before, so this time we're definitely going to explore it thoroughly." With that, the doll Chu Qingshuan turned gracefully and took cheerful little steps. Every frown and smile captivated Chu Yi. "Zio Yi, what are you still standing there for? If you don't come over, I'm leaving." Hearing his sister's captivating voice approaching from afar, Chu Yi snapped out of his reverie and immediately called out, "Sister, I'm here." As he spoke, Chu Yi happily chased after him. In the following days, the doll Chu Qingshuan took her target Chu Yi around, watching fireworks, admiring the moonlight, and tasting delicious food. The two traveled through the beautiful scenery of Jiangnan and had a wonderful time. In the past few days, Shen Junlin has not taken any action. Although Chu Yi had a bad feeling, he didn't think much of it. After all, it had only been a few days since the last time they were messed with. Given the time interval between Shen Junlin's two previous underhanded tactics, his dirty tricks were probably on their way. However, considering that Shen Junlin is busy enjoying himself with Tang Mingli, it's normal for him to be a little lax. In short, we'll deal with whatever comes our way. Since we can't predict Shen Junlin's methods, we'll just wait and see. Little did they know, the real danger was already close to Chu Yi. The new thing Shen Junlin has incorporated is known as the most psychologically damaging method of killing, using emotions as a weapon to kill. Amidst Chu Qingshuan's tender care and affection, which allowed her to kill with her own emotions, Chu Yi had unknowingly become deeply poisoned. Chu Yi failed to notice Chu Qingshuan's abnormality, partly due to the influence of this killing with the knife of emotion. Even when killing, one can use the knife of emotion. It is colorless and formless, capable of interfering with the target's emotions invisibly, planting the seeds of cause without the need for tangible results. It can influence both groups and individuals, and is worth 100,000 villain points. P.S. I'll update in the morning instead. That's it, I'm begging for more updates and for your support. Symbol 335. Omega equals. Chapter 267 Murder with the Knife of Emotion, Part 2. "Sister, this flower is for you," Chu Yi said with a smile, as if by magic, handing the rose in his hand to Chu Qingshuan. The doll Chu Qingshuan slightly raised her jade hand, gently covered her lips, and let out a melodious laugh like a silver bell. Then, with elegance and nobility, she extended her slender hand and gently accepted the rose offered by the target, Chu Yi. Chu Qingshuan held it in her hands, examining it carefully, as if it were not an ordinary flower but a rare treasure. Seeing how much his sister liked the gift he gave her, Chu Yi was very excited. The doll Chu Qingshuan looked at the rose in her hand, then at the bright Big Dipper in the north, a hint of loneliness flashing in her eyes. "Zio Yi, I'm leaving." The doll Chu Qingshuan sighed, feigning melancholy. "Sis, did that bastard Shen Junlin force you?" Chu Yi blushed instantly. Shen Junlin was a huge boulder weighing on Chu Yi's heart, making it hard for him to breathe. In the past few days, in order to get along well with his sister, Chu Yi tried his best to forget Shen Junlin's existence. just so that his sister would not recall those painful memories. The doll Chu Qingshuan nodded sadly, forcing a smile as she comforted her target, Chu Yi, saying, "Zio Yi, it's nothing serious. I'm used to it. As long as you're all right, your mother and I are content." "No, sister, don't go, don't leave me, don't go to that demon." Chu Yi looked at Chu Qingshuan with bloodshot eyes. The doll Chu Qingshuan gave a miserable smile. "Zio Yi, if I don't go back, the Chu family and you will be crushed by that person. My parents saved me and raised me with great care. Now that the Chu family is in crisis, how can I just watch you and the Chu family disappear before my eyes? Zio Yi, listen to me, take this money and go abroad to start a new life." The doll Chu Qingshuan, her eyes red, took out an ordinary-looking card and handed it to her target, Chu Yi. Looking at the heavy overseas white card in front of him, Chu Yi cried, "Sister, but what about you?" Chu Yi looked at the best sister in the world in front of him with red eyes. The doll Chu Qingshuan shook her head, gazing into the distance, and murmured, "Me. A withered flower, what difference does it make whether I leave or stay?" His words were filled with helplessness and resignation. Chu Yi's heart was breaking. Sister, could you stay with me tonight?" Chu Yi asked through gritted teeth, posing a question that seemed impossible. The doll Chu Qingshuan glanced at Chu Yi and silently nodded. "All right. Thank you, sister." Chu Yi nodded with a wry smile. The two found a secluded spot and quietly watched the full moon.